The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey, what? Let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for. Ah! The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pig!
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Sport!
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Coach Saban Thursday, November 9th, 2023. This program starts now.
Football
is happening tonight. Week 10 of the NFL season kicks off in a barn burner. The Carolina Panthers, who have one win on the season, will take on the Chicago Bears, who stink at football, on prime time on Amazon with Kirk Herbstreit, Al Michaels, and Kaylee Hartung on the call. The Bears are currently at -3, -3.5, which is amazing. Congrats to Chicago being favored.
Good win.
In a game. The Carolina Panthers are obviously trying to figure it out with a rookie quarterback and a brand new head coach down there in Frank Reich, who has to meet with the owner after every single game and basically explain why his team stinks. It seems as if he is a bit miserable, but tonight could change it all. A nice primetime game with anywhere from 11 million to maybe 4 million, depending upon how this game goes, on Amazon. You can really put it all together. Maybe Bryce Young showcases to the world that, yes, all the Steph Curry talk before the season started is accurate. He's able to make plays against a Chicago Bears defense that has sold some pieces and has been gottable throughout the season. And how about the agent who's starting over Justin Fields? That whole situation in Chicago is fascinating.
Yep.
You know, because head coach Nate Eberflus, who was a phenomenal defense coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts and then the Dallas Cowboys before then, becomes the head coach of the Bears. They draft Justin Fields. Is he a guy? Is he not a guy? Last year had some spark plays, but the roster sucked.
Yep.
Let's stick with him. Let's trade out of the number 1 overall pick, which we earned.
Yep.
As we suck more than everybody else.
Big time.
They trade out of there to the Carolina Panthers, obviously, and now they each have each other's pick. So there's first-round implications on the line tonight as well. It's a banana story for two franchises that are nowhere near where they want to be at this exact moment. Coach Eberflus actually chit-chatted a little bit about Justin Fields, who has a dislocated thumb. Remember, a couple weeks ago, had a little bit of a thumb injury. He's listed as doubtful. Listen to Coach Eberflus have to talk around what's going on with Justin Fields potentially.
Like you said, he's not medically cleared to go right now, and he's getting better though. I mean, he's
Okay.
accuracy's improving. He's throwing it better, and he's starting to do more and more and more. So we'll see where it goes. And right now we're listing him as doubtful, and we'll see where it goes from there.
If he's not medically cleared, well, how come doubtful versus out?
Yeah, just to see. We got to give him one more day.
Sure.
Give him one more day, but
Smart.
he's working hard, and it's getting better every day. So we'll see where it goes.
He's not playing.
Yeah, he's not playing.
Hasn't the medical staff seen the clearance yet? What are they telling you?
What's that?
What is the medical staff
again?
telling you in terms of why they haven't given him the clearance?
Yeah, it's really just the clearance is just obviously he's got to be cleared to play within the medical staff, and so it's really about him feeling good about it and the medical staff saying that he can go in there and function, and he's just not there at this time.
Is it an issue of grip strength or?
It's everything. It's all improving. The grip strength, the accuracy, the ability to function as a quarterback. It's just
Get more accurate.
The medical,
right there.
they got an accuracy test he's got to pass.
I'm having trouble understanding. He's not playing, but he's doubtful. Is he out or doubtful?
Well,
now he's listed as doubtful.
okay.
But you're saying that he's out. He's not going to play.
We'll see where it goes. The chances are doubtful, 51% that he's in or out, and it's going to be. We'll see where it is.
Oh,
We got
so
a little time
49%
left,
that would be
again,
the doubtful.
We'll declare him out when
Probable.
he's out. Right now, we're still listing him as doubtful.
But will he go through any sort of pregame work tomorrow?
He may. Yeah.
All right, so that's Matt Eberflus living his best life up there. Be the head coach, they say. It'll be fun, they say. In Chicago, it should be an absolute blast with not only their media, great questions too. They're just as flustered as all of us because he's basically saying the medical people have to clear him. Well, if the medical people had to clear him, he would be still listed as out, which everybody in the history of football understands that. Doubtful is a decision like, he might be there, he might not be there, we shall see. Then he starts talking about accuracy issues in the same answer. It's like, wait a minute. So I understand it's his thumb, so he's got to get more healthy to get more accurate. And then we see this video from practice of Justin Fields throwing the ball. He has the same color jersey as everybody else, okay? So it's not like he's a red jersey guy. Let's stay away from him. Slick, looks very comfortable there. Yeah. Then look, throw me the ball. I'm okay catching it. Only uses his left hand, though. So that is something to think about with the thumb.
He's slinging
he's slinging it, though. And he is wearing the same thing as Trace McSorley there, same jersey. So it's not like, hey, a little bit of alarm here. Let's this guy's still injured or not. So whenever you think about what's going on in Chicago, and you think about Eberflus, what's the future look like for him? What's the future look like for Justin Fields? What's the future look like for the agent, Tyler Bagent? Well, the talks at tables here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. Ty, obviously, you're in the NFC North. The Chicago Bears have not been somebody you feared for a very long time, but it feels like they're in a perpetual cycle of just what the hell's going on there. Their fans don't deserve it. We see Zito. Victory steaks.
I know.
Think about this guy's only ate 4 steaks in the last 2 years.
I'm basically a vegetarian right now.
Bingo, this guy's a vegan because
it saved his life.
We haven't heard any gout talk, have we, at all?
No, none.
Because the Chicago Bears haven't earned a steak for Zito to eat one time. Then we meet a bunch of other Chicago Bears fans whenever we're hanging out with Zito for his wedding stuff. And it's like they love the Bears.
Live and die with them.
And they're just about to do it again. They're about to do it again. And they have the first round pick of the Carolina Panthers, so they could potentially hit again. But I assume the Bears fans are getting to the point where the Jets fans get, and it's just like, something's going to go wrong. It's going to be terrible. The Bears are a good franchise. I don't know how we got to this point, Ty.
It's just crazy that when you look, like, they haven't had, like, an actual franchise quarterback my entire life. Like, they haven't had one.
Oh, Cuddy was down there.
Yeah.
It's true, though.
And he wasn't. I mean, he wasn't that good. You know, he could throw the football for sure. And when you look at who they've had since him, it's like the Bears fans would be killing to have Jay Cutler back. But, like, since Jim McMahon...
The NFL would be killing to have Jay Cutler back.
Absolutely. But it just, like, Chicago being one of the biggest cities, like, it's not hard to get free agents there. Like, guys would want to go play in Chicago. For whatever reason, every coach they've gotten in the... I mean, you know, they hire Mark Trestman... It's the same thing.
Over Bruce Arians.
Over Bruce Arians. And then they cut bait on these guys so quick because it goes so bad. It's not like they've been getting guys in there who, you know, win 7 games and miss the playoffs. But it's like, hey, this guy's kind of starting to get his culture in place. Like, they're getting guys who they win 3 games one year and then they win 3 or like 2 games the next year. It's like, all right, this doesn't work. Blow the whole thing up. And they've been doing that almost for what seems like the last 10 years. Like, it's insane.
So Zito drops a minor. He's a Bears fan, Bear Dahn from the group. He said, I think it's 18 quarterbacks since 2001 or something.
Damn. That's crazy.
And you go through the list. Jim Miller, Shane Matthews, Jim Miller, Chris Chandler, Henry Burris, Cordell Stewart. I didn't know Slash was playing over there.
Oh, yeah.
The Chicago Bears. I didn't know he was ever. Chris Chandler, Rex Grossman, Craig Krenzel, Chad Hutchinson, Jonathan Quinn, Rex Grossman, Kyle Orton, Rex Grossman. Hey. Maybe a little bit more respect for the Rex Grossman era.
He did take him to a Super Bowl.
Brian Greasy, Kyle Orton, Rex Grossman, Jay Cutler. Now we're talking.
Here we go.
Jay Cutler, Todd Collins, Jay Cutler, Caleb Haney, Josh McCown. Dude, that guy's been around forever. Jay Cutler, Jason Campbell, Jay Cutler, Josh McCown, Jay Cutler, Jimmy Clausen, Matt Barkley, Trubisky. Remember Trubisky was supposed to be.
Went to the playoffs.
What he loved what? I forget. We're not allowed to say.
Yeah, kissing titties.
There it was.
Yep.
There it was.
I think that is the big one too. Is like if you're a Bears fan, like they'll circle that for the next 50 years because that's the Mahomes draft, and it's like they could have had him, and I think a lot of people,
I'm sure Mahomes would be Mahomes if he was in the Bears organization.
he might be.
Yeah, I'm sure Andy Reid
that certainly helps, but Mahomes is a lot better than Nick Trubisky is.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I understand.
That's from Reid's tree.
I agree with that statement completely. Okay, completely agree with that. Great players can certainly do things, but boy, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes together is a tag team.
For sure.
So if it was Nagy and Patrick Mahomes, maybe, maybe they're able to do what they're doing now with the Andy Reid oversight of it all. But it just feels like the Bears are an organization where it's going to go bad.
Yes.
And that sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Like, that sucks for Chicago Bears fans. You don't deserve it. But maybe tonight, prime time, favored by 3.5. Right. Across the sports books. Speaking of sports books, one half of the Hammer, Dahn, Cowboys Tone Diggs is here. What's the bet here tonight? You know, over under 38.5. You start doing some math. Are they each going to get 20?
Don't think so.
Bears favored by 3.5. That's a fascinating
3.5,
one.
yep.
How do you think this game's going to go, and how do you think people are betting this thing, Tone?
There's not a lot to sometimes when there's bad games between like a 1-17 versus a 2-17, at least you'll have things to look forward to tonight.
Yeah.
There's not much. Like, I like watching the Bagman play because he will get loose. He's a little frisky. He's got some moxie, but like
Bagman.
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do when he comes for you?
Bagman.
Bagman.
Or like people would be excited to watch the number 1 overall pick in Bryce Young, but you can't be excited because everything around him stinks. So what do you even take away from that? The total's 38, so you're not going to see a lot of scoring probably. There's not a lot to watch tonight.
Tone, we're selling a game.
Good Lord.
Are we? My bad. I
Tone,
realized
we
I
can.
was doing that.
Because remember, this could be a big night for the Bears.
But you could still win money on this game, okay?
Yes, you can.
I actually like the Bears tonight because they can run the ball and they can stop the run, and so that at least they do things well. Carolina doesn't do anything well.
Well, let's look at the tail of the tape. We actually had this thing made for, you talk about what are the matchups. Against the spread, they're both pretty bad. Okay, nobody wants to bet on either of these teams because nobody wants to have to care about watching these teams if you're not necessarily a diehard fan of both of these teams. And we apologize to both fan bases for talking the way we're talking about your teams, but you lived it, so you should understand where we're coming from. Points per game, not great. Okay, 20.9 though for the Bears. That'll make you think they're going to be a team that can only score 17.5. Opponents' points per game, 27 they're giving up. 28 the Panthers are giving up. Turnover margin, -4. That's good for 23rd for the Carolina Panthers. -9.
Yeesh.
32nd in the NFL. The Chicago Bears, they give the ball to the other team. They don't get the ball that much. Passing yards allowed, 256.9, baby. Bryce Young says, how you doing?
Okay.
To the NFL, the Steph Curry comes in there. And then for the Panthers, 178.3 yards. Okay, I mean, Bagman's a different animal, though. We'll see what the Panthers defense does against him. And then rushing yards allowed, only 80 for the Chicago Bears versus 131, which is the stat that you were talking about, I believe.
They are 4th in rushing yards allowed, and they are 4th in rushing yards per game on offense. So at least they do some things good there. Yeah, their pass defense is 28th. So but the Panthers' passing offense is also 28th. So kind of, good matchup there. But yeah, I think if the Panthers do have a chance tonight, it's on Bryce Young's arm.
What, Connor? What's all the G's and the signs?
It's just.
What, you looking at that ring video? Is that what you're looking?
I'm not.
Is that what you're making these sounds for?
No,
go ahead, Foxy.
I'm
Why
not
don't you go
talking
put this
about
up? Is that what you're making these
Not
sounds
at
about?
all.
As a New England Patriot fan, go, this guy's checked out. This is from Babsall and Mike. He found this. We don't think this is his house, but maybe. Ring camera of the greatest coach of all time, greatest GM of all time. Take a nice deep breath. What morning.
Yeah.
And he's going out. This guy's just going on vacation. This guy's on vacation.
Let him live.
His house in Nantucket.
Okay.
Is that Nantucket?
Not sure. Can't really confirm on the Nantucket. I will say the houses have the beach feel. However, if you look on the right side, the way the street is, Nantucket streets are kind of very old. A lot of cobblestones. There's not many areas in Nantucket that look like this.
Was it Southeast?
Coach, I want to let you know, we apologize that this video hit the internet just yesterday, but we don't think this is from today, yesterday, this week.
No.
Now, it could have been earlier this week, though, because you start doing your investigative work here. You can't see his breath.
No, you can't.
Okay, right now in New England, it is
not nice weather.
It is cold, so probably breath seeing. Probably seeing the breath there. Also, it's light out. If this is Bill getting up, I don't think during football season he's just getting up when the light's already out.
No. Probably not. Is it possible that this is him waking up in some sort of German hostel?
Oh, this is him in Germany,
Yeah.
potentially. I didn't even think about the ring mic because are you guys already over there?
I don't know. I don't think we are.
What if you guys delayed going over there because he had to handle business and whatever this is?
Could be.
There's a chance, yeah. I mean, this could be McDaniel's house.
What if Bill Belichick actually just finally said, I want to live my life? You know what? The hell with it.
Yeah.
He's been living.
Colts can wait.
Colts can wait. Team stinks.
Yeah.
You heard the ownership say, we're not good enough. This is... What's going on? Why is these videos have never been released before? Remember, there was something that happened with Julian Edelman, and the whole city was like, "Hey, we ain't doing that. That ain't what Patriots fans are doing." There was a selfie taken with Julian Edelman, and all of New England and Boston was like, that ain't how this whole thing goes. Bill Belichick's been protected by New England forever, pretty much.
Yeah.
And now we got ring cameras being released about him. We got people questioning whether or not he's going to get fired after this German game this weekend, after week 10 of the NFL season. It's a much different time up there in New England. Is that what you're going all about while we're trying to talk about a Thursday night football game?
No, I'm going bye. Because if the Patriots were playing, at least we'd give up 25 points. It wouldn't just be some terrible game where we're not even scoring 40. But, Yeah, sue the guy. So what? Old guys have sex. Breaking news.
Whoa, that's what's happening?
If that's what that was, guess what, people? If your parents are old, when you were growing up, they were having sex
I don't
together.
think so.
And that's what people do. So sorry that Bill Belichick maybe had to go, drain the main vein just one time because of the fact that it's been a pretty stressful season. Yeah. That happens, and sometimes that's what you need to do. Personally, if I had $1 billion, I would bet it on the Patriots if this video is from this week. Now, I don't think it was. I assume that is more of a summer, maybe a Rhode Island, kind of a Newport almost, based on the buildings that we were seeing. But no, I'm not groaning because of the Patriots. The Patriots suck, okay? They suck. And for the record, I'm excited for tonight's game because this is a win-win for New England, baby. We got 2 teams in the top 5 for draft picks. One of them's getting a win.
Hell yeah.
So whether it's the Panthers and they're 2-7 and they move up, one notch and the Patriots move down one, or it's the Bears and they're 3-6. Guess what happens? New England inching closer to that top 3 spot where we want to be. I don't give a damn about what Bill Belichick is doing, okay? What I care about is losing every game until 2024. So
you hope he's out there. Maybe that is this week. You should hope he's traveling to Rhode Island middle of football season.
I hope he left that shirt, or excuse me, I hope he left that house with no shirt because he's going into a different house to, maybe help out someone else's needs as well. I don't think Bill is just some schlub going, house to house. But I think when he needs to do that, he can. So he probably went.
Whoever let this video out, though, I want to let you know. That's the greatest coach of all time.
Yeah, right. Respect
Have
him.
a little respect.
Please.
We need that.
Damn it.
Unbelievable.
That
is
Him trying to slowly close that door.
Uh-huh.
Most relatable thing I've seen from Bill, maybe ever.
I need the truth.
What's that about? Where he's leaving from there? Yeah. What he's doing?
You want the truth?
He's going to work out. He's getting under a squat rack.
Yeah. You guys trying to push that squat narrative. After seeing that video, there's no way Bill lifted anything on that rack.
What are you talking about? You
upper
he
body,
took a barrel. How old is he?
Working out his legs.
Staged
Photo.
Whenever he's facing one way.
back muscles
He's facing one. Yeah, look at his back, first of all. You're right, Gump. You're right, Gump. Pause it right.
Look at that
keep going.
tricep there.
No.
Boom, right there.
Boom.
Look at
Yeah.
that fucking barrel.
Oh, no.
That dude's a barrel.
No.
What?
Look at the what? What did you say?
He's a barrel.
Oh, okay.
What did you?
What are you looking at, Connor?
What are you talking about?
You might have said something J.J. Watt said yesterday there.
No.
I didn't hear that.
Look at this guy. Are you kidding
Look at the tries, dude.
This dude's a fucking How old is he?
71 turning 72.
You don't want any of that.
No. Kidding me?
You don't want any of it. Nick, that Bill Belichick right there.
Yeah.
However dazed and confused he is, whatever time this is, we have no idea. Ragdoll you.
Listen,
Just
I don't
pick
doubt-
you up, ragdoll
I don't doubt
you.
the senior old man strength that he's got, but he's not stepping under that squat rack every day with that bod.
You don't
that
even-
pound of flesh
Oh,
right
You
there.
don't even know.
The guy, what are you talking about? Look at his belt. He's ready to go and
He
drop
looks
that
like
thing
a bag
below.
of milk.
No,
But
Nick.
he's 70 years
72
old.
years old. He's a
Look at his
dog.
neck. Look at his neck. He's not fake chowing anybody, okay? He's locked in at all times. I assume that you probably can't
He's
right now,
definitely not
but
fake
the
chowing.
veins out of his neck are popping out.
If people think he's just trying to gather himself here,
Yeah.
on the internet, see like gather himself. Somebody's trying him over here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
This, you, boom.
Yep.
Up and on the other side.
You don't got it anymore, old man.
Yeah, he was about to.
Yeah.
What?
That might be where he was going. Kick someone's ass for saying some bullshit like Nick back there. Oh, you're just some fat schlub coach now, aren't you, Bill? Oh, is that right? I just got done doing a deed. Okay, and now I'm coming over to your house, and I'm going to do it to you, my friend.
He could have just been with the boys.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, like
You know
Sean
what I mean?
Payton doing
Just
the
been
dope.
with the boys out there. You know, maybe Steve's inside. This is a fishing
Could
trip.
be.
Yeah.
Could be.
This
Yeah.
is a fishing trip.
Exactly.
Maybe he's just being a
Fishing.
dad.
Going to get some bait.
Going outside to have a cig
Yeah.
in the
What's
morning.
everybody's
Exactly.
deal? Why is
So-
everybody on the
He
internet on
doesn't-
you more specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you hear what you said? Go back to the beginning of this thing and heard what you definitely said he was doing.
What did I
They
say?
could have been dadding here.
Yeah.
They were surfing. Look, that's his surf pants.
You know, he
Yeah.
respects the Airbnb rental. He's not smoking a cig inside the house. He's going outside to have one outside.
What if he did just go to that stoop right over there and just start smoking a cig?
I don't know.
Can we get the rest of this?
That would be, yeah. That is what we actually need is the rest of this video. Because how do we know too? Maybe there's DoorDash. pulling up, and
Could
he's
be.
just getting a Dunkin'
He's
Ice
getting
coffee.
food for his kids.
Yeah, he's getting donuts for the grandchildren.
I've heard there's actually Make-A-Wish children inside.
Could be.
Is that right?
That he is going to get food for
See?
right now.
Why doesn't that
Gave
get
the
talked
kids
about?
his shirt.
Off his back.
Yeah,
Gave
good guy.
his shirt off his back.
Kid was cold.
He wanted tarps off. Yeah.
Bill, we love you, buddy.
Love you, Bill. Thanks, Bill. Keep going.
And I would like to reiterate the fact, Bill would beat the shit out of Nick at that stage,
no
this
doubt.
stage, and forever stage. Just like Nick, I think you beat up a lot of people. But when we're talking coaches Royal Rumble, I'm throwing this guy into every single one.
Top five
yeah.
easily.
You don't think he'd figure it out? You don't think he'd figure out how to beat you up? He would.
That low man wins, my friend, in a Royal Rumble. Everybody knows that. You got to be lower than that third rope. And Bill probably crab walking around the ring just because he knows he wouldn't get thrown out.
Hey, congrats to Bill.
Congrats, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Happier living.
Yeah.
We saw him at the Minnesota Super Bowl. He went to the Timberwolves
Yeah,
game.
yep. Sweet
He had a
hat.
sweet top hat on.
Great
he was
outfit.
smiling. I was like so happy for him. I'm
Yep.
like, good for you, man. You've just committed your entire being pretty much to being great at one thing, football. And it's like, at some point, he's got to live. It's great to see that he's living.
It is great.
We're happy for you, Bill. Now let's get back to this game
Good.
tonight.
Good news.
do we have-
Go ahead.
Reports are that Dick Good got both of those
Did I say it?
twice.
Wow. I was real loose.
You're off mic the second time.
second one you were up,
so
yeah,
that
second
doesn't count.
Oh, geez. Sorry about it, Richard. That was, how could you not?
He saw what we saw.
You got Bill Belichick on a
passionate.
ring camera.
Yeah.
I apologize. That's on me.
Dick Good knew.
Because you did say, I'm like, what is this guy
I didn't
talking
hear the
about?
first one. The
I was
second
so
one was
flustered by, I got a new leaderboard now.
Yeah.
I was like, I just
Update
took
that
We got to update that.
that was going into today.
Whoa. I do not have one. I don't have one.
Man, I don't know. I'm not the one keeping score.
That is a false leaderboard. I one time said "fa" and that's it, and it didn't get bleep.
Well, you have great control. There's people saying stuff on other shows I've heard.
Really?
really.
What kind of words are we talking about?
Whoa, I didn't know we were allowed to say those.
F-bombs?
Charles Woodson is on in about 9 minutes. He has NFL Icons episode on MGM Plus, which we learned is the artist formerly known as
TV Plus?
MGM Plus is formerly
Roku?
Epics.
Epic. Of course.
Boys,
That was a big duh.
we should have known that
Should've
one.
known
tighten
for
it up,
us.
okay?
Should've known.
We downloaded it because Bill Cowher.
Yeah, that was
Right.
sweet.
Charles Woodson has one coming out Saturday, 10 o'clock. Assume it's going to be very good. You're obviously talking about a Heisman winner, Super Bowl champion, Defensive Player of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, 9-time Pro Bowler, 4-time First Team All-Pro, 1-time Second Team. I mean, guy was good. A.J. Hawk called him smartest football players ever played football.
Yeah,
Can't wait to chat with him in about 8 minutes. Also does a lot of good work. This is something like $77 million Children's Hospital.
Wow.
In the teaser we saw of the Icons episode. NFL Films does an incredible job with that. Nick Saban will be joining us in the second hour, fresh off a massive win against the LSU, which was basically for the SEC West. What Alabama has left, Auburn at the end of the year, at Auburn, I guess, is a massive conversation. Kentucky this weekend. If they were able to get past LSU, and with how they've been playing, Alabama back in the convo SEC title game. And if they're able to get a win there, full convo about what the college football playoff looks like with Georgia. Ole Miss this weekend.
Huge.
Game day's going to be there. We're going to be there. Kirby Smart's going to be joining us live.
Yes. Let's go.
Coach Kirby Smart will be joining us live tomorrow. I believe that'll be at roughly 12:15 Eastern time. We'll be live down there. Can't wait to get down there.
So
Cannot
pumped.
wait.
Because the
Between the
Georgia
hedges?
people have said the worst things about me this college game day season.
Sure.
For sure. Some Georgia fans. But also, I think we have some Georgia fans as well. So it's a nice little conflict. Hopefully I can get down there and let the people know that, hey, I've been on dogs since the beginning.
That's
right.
I've been on since I seen billionaires on their hands and knees barking. I've been like, all right, I respect this team. I've had them at 1 for every single ranking. That gets lost in the entire. This guy took David Pollock's spot.
Yeah.
This guy's the worst.
Come on.
I agree. Comparing me to David Pollock is that's a tough thing. He's so big, handsome,
Huge.
fast, strong, smart.
Bud.
They're calling him like the greatest bulldog of all time, Georgia Bulldog of all time. Whenever we were down there, I love David Pollock.
Man.
So this year has certainly been tough when everybody's like, "Yeah, give us David Pollock back instead of this big dumb dipshit." It's like, yo, I understand. But I don't think I'm here replacing David Pollock. I think that is another conversation to be had. But Kirby Smart has always been good to this program. I appreciate him joining us. I think there's going to be Nolan Smith is going to be joining us tomorrow as well. And I think there's another surprise guest that's potentially popping off there. Very excited.
Whoa. Let's go.
Very excited about it all. And then in the third hour today, we'll have Jeff Monken, coach of Army.
Nice.
Obviously got Veterans Day coming up fresh off a massive win over the Air Force. And I think it's a good chat just about like not only his cousin, I believe, is offense coordinator for the Ravens right now. It's crushing it and being in a football family. But like these military teams that we're seeing, Air Force was in the top 25. They were undefeated, one of the last undefeated teams. Army just signed to join
AAC,
the American Athletic Conference. They're getting into it. It's like the military football teams are getting back into a little bit different spot. What they used to be way back, I think. Then there was an era of like not being able to compete. They're getting good.
Yeah.
I think we'll talk to Monken about that third hour. Should be a great day. Coach Chuck Pagano will be joining us in the third hour. He continues to be hot on Thursday night, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think he hit last week.
He had a Steelers.
Yeah? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he had a Steelers.
Yeah, me too, right?
Yeah.
I did?
Definitely.
Yeah, I was with him. We both won, and then I lost every other bet.
I believe so.
So we just need to ride with him whenever he gets here on the third hour. Let's talk about some things happening around the NFL world. So there was a lot of chatter yesterday on the internet because Robert Saleh makes a stop on the Michael Kay show, which is sports radio in New York, and obviously sports radio in New York, granddaddy of them all.
Yep.
Granddaddy of them all.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of talent over there. A lot of people that aren't talented, though.
Sure.
That have bigger numbers because there is a lot of humans in that area.
That's right.
But there's a lot of talent over there. Michael Kay, we are massive fans of the program. There's been a lot of great things that have come out of there. Coach Bob Saleh joins them every single week. And there was one clip, I think, that got taken a little bit out of context whenever he basically said he pleads the fifth whenever they asked him, how come he didn't put Trevor Siemian in over Zach Wilson with all Zach Wilson's failures? Obviously, anytime something like that is said, it's like, oh, Saleh's burying Zach Wilson, doing this whole thing. But I think what is getting taken out of context on the internet, which the internet is very good at. I've fallen victim to this a couple times. We all have with certain statements is he had basically talked about the entire thing for like 3 minutes beforehand. Then he got a follow-up question pretty much about Trevor Siemian taking, and then he pled the fifth, kind of reiterating what he had said. Now, this is a 3-minute clip. It's a long one, but I think it needs to be heard to fully understand that Bob Saleh wasn't throwing Zach Wilson under the bus. Bob Saleh just understands why they're questioning what they're questioning, and he was just trying to get to the next one. Here's Robert Saleh talking about the condition of the quarterbacks for the New York Jets.
I ask you this with total respect. You come on the show, you don't have to, so I hope you don't take this in a bad vein. I personally don't think Zach can play at this level for a team that has a defense like this. And you just said a couple of questions ago, our offense has been troubling for 3 years. Well, I mean, that's the one constant. Why are you guys so dead set on sticking with Zach Wilson when he has not been able to do it? What are you seeing that a neophyte like me is not seeing, Coach? I don't get it.
No, that's a fair question. A very fair question. But, it's easy. The three people who get drilled in losses is the quarterback, the play caller, and the head coach. That's natural territory. It's our job to go back and look at the tape and to figure out the actual reasons why. The all-22 that says everything. And that's why I think you see some analysts turn on the tape and like, well, geez, the kid really didn't play that bad, and it's and you turn on the tape and are there things that Zach needed to do better yesterday? 100%. He knows it. We know it. Everyone knows it. But are there areas of the field where we could have been better for him as a play caller? Sure. Are there areas on the field where we could have been better as position coaches, putting our players in position? Yes. Could the players have been better from an execution standpoint, catching the ball, blocking, running the right routes, being more efficient in the run game? Absolutely. So if this was, and sometimes it's very obvious when you turn on the all-22 that the quarterback is just incapable, but it's not the case here, there are so many things that everybody needs to get better at, including the quarterback. And I think that's, it's what, I don't know, hopefully I'm answering your question, but it's not always as easy as, like I said, the three heads that get rocked the most in the losses, starting with me. than the play caller, than the quarterback. It's just, that's all natural.
But things have changed over 3 years, Robert. You've had different offensive coordinators before the change to Hackett this year, and you've had different weapons around him, and the one constant is Zach, and the one constant is last year he couldn't start over Mike White. So, first of all, this shouldn't be litigated now. I never understood with a 39-year-old quarterback why a guy who couldn't start last year was the first line of defense if he went down. You've got Trevor Siemian in your building. Why not give him a try?
And here's
I got you. No, it's again a fair question. And it's like I said, he I don't know. You got me. I'm gonna plead the fifth on all this one in terms of just. I've kind of explained it, respectfully, obviously, but they're valid questions. But I know from a passionate fan, from fans who are passionate, all having the same questions, I respect it greatly. But I've got to look at it from a global standpoint and just see where we are and look at the all 22 the best I can and make the decisions best as possible.
So obviously he didn't necessarily sing the praises of Zach Wilson, but a few times in there he did. And I think he went to bat for his quarterback. Mm-hmm. But I do appreciate that Michael K. show was like, why aren't we trying anything else? And I think what he was trying to say from a global standpoint is like, I think we know what Trevor Siemian's max is. Yeah. We don't know what Zach's is. Now, 3 years into this thing, I think people were about sick of hearing about what his potential is, what his capability is. But I do appreciate the fact that the internet kind of said he pleaded the fifth in this entire thing, which is good. And then I assume the Jets had to answer questions about it. But he stuck up for him a little bit in there. And he said, he missed a couple throws. Everybody could have done things differently. He said, guys running the wrong routes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What missed throw potentially was a wrong route that we could have never guessed that we throw on Zach Wilson as opposed to everybody else. I appreciate Bob Saleh kind of going to bat, but also understanding the self-awareness of the whole situation.
Yeah, and they had a bunch of drops too, but it's tough because they're really in like a no-win situation. Because you mentioned with like Siemian, like they know what he can do. Like I don't think if you put Siemian in, all of a sudden this team's going to start scoring 35 points a week. Like it could happen, I suppose, but probably not. But like if they bench Zach Wilson at this point, over, and they've already, like his career in New York is absolutely over, and they are still in that window where it's like, hey, we just can't have him be the worst guy on the field. He just needs to do whatever he can to. And I don't necessarily think he was against the Chargers. It just, they lost a couple fumbles early and things kind of started to steamroll. But if they are playing to get Rodgers back potentially at the end of the year with, the playoffs still on the line, maybe, I don't know if going to Trevor Siemian over Zach Wilson is like the Band-Aid that's kind of going to get them to that point.
I mean, I think fans are saying, why not? Why not just give it a try? We had Streveler last year. We had Zach, we had Mike White. We had Flacco, I think, at points in the last couple of years. Yeah. It's like, can we just try something different? And I think whenever he says global view, he's bringing up the point that you're bringing up. Like, if you pull Zach Wilson right now, it's over forever. Yeah. Now, Jets fans probably at that point. Like, we're okay with it being over forever. But are the Jets organization, maybe not Saleh, who drafted him, what, two?
Yep.
Number 2 overall in this entire thing. And he was supposed to learn from Aaron. Then Aaron was supposed to pass the torch. So then the draft pick was still good. It's just, I don't know how they figure it out. But I do know if that Achilles comes back to health by the end of this season and they're still in it, what an absurd story that'll be talked about. But if they end up not being able to remain in it enough, and Zach Wilson is the reason why. Yeah. So not only do you steal the Aaron Rodgers comment, you steal the year and you waste another trying to figure out with Zach Wilson. It's only going to get louder. I hope they figure it out. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is obviously a man who's one of the greatest football players to ever play football. Yep. Dude from Ohio, but went to Michigan.
Whoa.
Which was a decision he said was made a long time before he had to make his actual commitment. Ladies and gentlemen, the new topic, our feature of NFL icons on MGM Plus, Saturday night at 10 p.m. Former Defensive Player of the Year, All-Pro, you get it, GOAT, Charles Woodson.
What's up, guys? Hey, man. Good to be on the show, man.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us. I look over your shoulder. I see the tuck rule literally very prominent, and I saw the Tom Brady piece in the NFL icons. That was a bunch of bullshit, Charles, wasn't it? Just a bunch of bullshit out there.
Hey, a bullshit times 10. That's why I got this right. Hey, I'm in my son's room right now, so this is just a constant reminder to him, man, that his daddy got screwed. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter what happens in life, man. You just got to keep on going.
Hey, still won a Super Bowl, which is good. Still have a ring at the end of the day, so they'll always call you a world champion, as they should, with how you played. I want to kind of dive into this because you're obviously a legend at the Raiders and a legend at the Packers. And we asked A.J. Hawk, who was got very fortunate to play alongside you, is how he described it. We said, why was Charles Woodson so good? He said you were the smartest football player he's ever played on a field with. Was it always like that when you grew up in Fremont, Ohio? Did it develop at Michigan? When did you become the guy you think where your teammates say, that football IQ is better than any human I've ever shared the field with?
Man, I would love to say that it's always been that way, but I think just as a young athlete, man, I was just very athletic, man. I had some God-given stuff, man, that was given to me. And so I could either, outrun everybody, out-quick everybody. And then just over time, man, you know how it is, man, this experience. You go through all of the experiences of the game. You gain the knowledge of it. You learn how to study an opponent. You learn how to break down the opponent's, offense. You understand who's out there in terms of personnel. You start gaining all this knowledge of situational football, and then you apply it to the field. And so I was able to do that. I was able to what I call have great play recall. You know what I mean? So if I saw something, I could apply it to the next play, or from the first half to the second half, or just bring it from the film room to the field. I was always able to do that, man. So I think just over time, man, and the experience of the game and being out there and playing so much football, you become better and become better at recognizing what's happening to you.
Yeah, the ability to recall it, I think, is what would separate you being the smartest player somebody's ever played with than just being another player, being able to realize what's probably going to happen and act upon it before everybody else. Showcases you got a big-ass brain, okay? You got a big-ass brain. What was your major? What was your major at Michigan?
Football. That's why my brain is so big when it comes to the game, man. That's what I majored in, man. I majored in it, undergrad, post-grad, my master's, my doctorate, football, baby.
Well, Dr. Charles, I'm pumped that you are having
That's
an
right.
NFL Icons on Saturday night at 10 p.m. Have you been paying attention to this Michigan stuff? It's crazy, Charles. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of hard not to. I'm 3 years at the University of Michigan. I was a fan before I went there. I played there, of course. I'm a fan now. And, it's to me, I look at the situation and I just really have to say, first of all, it's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. Two, I got to congratulate Jim Harbaugh for building this team into a position where it seems like people are envious of what he has going on in this program. If you think about it, man, 5-6 years ago, did nobody care about what Michigan was doing? Harbaugh was a couple of years in. We were winning some games, but we couldn't beat Ohio State. And now here we are. We've been able to beat those guys 2 times in a row. And so now everybody's looking at Michigan and saying, okay, these guys can't be that good. What are they doing wrong? That's the way I look at it, man. And so just congratulations to Michigan for building the program up, getting the type of recruits in there. That, like I said, people are looking at and saying, wow, where did this come from? And saying they must be cheaters if they're this good. So I'm proud today to be a Michigan Wolverine and have everybody looking at us as a team to beat.
I love it. I love it so much. Desmond Howard, same exact type, as it was all kind of developing over the last few weeks. And at the beginning, it was all like so muddled. And it is still, I think, until we see some actual evidence, I don't think any of us are going to fully comprehend what's going on. But all the stuff that's been alleged and alluded to is like so absurd. Desmond through the whole thing was like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
The thing is, everything that I hear on every outlet is that everybody steals. But it seems like when it comes to Michigan, they're saying, oh, Michigan is stealing. You know what I mean? So,
well, it's because of that team over your shoulder, I think. I think it's because one of those teams over your shoulder there with Spygate, how that thing became they were filming and recording, which is different than what everybody else was doing. So there's a little bit of like a precedent in the football world of what is good and what is not good. But then it's like, did Harbaugh have any idea that it was happening? Was this guy there's just so many question marks about it all. It really is. And this team's good this year. The team is great this year.
The team is a great thing, but in terms of me saying, that everyone is coming on saying that, every team steals. You get these Big Ten coaches together, they have a Zoom call, and the focus is Michigan and what they've done wrong. It's almost as if everyone's got together and said, hey, the Michigan Wolverines, they were in the bank, they held the guns, they had the ski mask. Hey, we were just the drivers. We were outside, so we didn't terrorize anybody. We didn't put the gun to anybody's head. We were just the getaway car. No, man. Everybody's going to jail. You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter what part you played in it. If you're stealing, you're stealing. And so that means if we're going to have some type of sanctions put on, Harbaugh, then there's got to be some sanctions on other coaches as well. And does Harbaugh get more because he was more a part of the plot? Maybe so. But everybody's hands are dirty in this situation.
That was one part of the 10-page letter response that Michigan sent back. That was basically like, if we want to open this can of worms, what did it basically say there, Pete?
Yeah, basically they said, hey, listen, the conference needs to be very, very careful with setting precedent here, because if they open this can of worms, there's going to be a lot of schools that are going to be, coming under the crosshairs here.
Yeah, it's crazy because Pete Thamel's been reporting what he's been hearing, and then the AP gets news, and then the rest of the Big Ten. Then we asked some other college coaches, we're like, what are your thoughts on it? They're like, well, the signals, like, but we need headphones. We need speakers in the helmet. And it's like the NCAA is like, you got it. We'll do that playoffs going forward. So hopefully this will be something that we never have to talk about ever again, but allegedly a ruling's coming. Let's go back to the NFL. It feels like defenses are having a better year this year than they had in the past. I think scoring's down. I think offenses are looking less efficient than they had in the past with the transition of the new rules pretty much that kind of put defense at a hindrance on every single play. Did you see the evolution of football as something that made defense much harder? And why do you think defenses are maybe playing better now than they had ever in years past?
Well, I think, in terms of the defense playing a little bit better, it's because now, they're seeing, what offenses are doing, now for the past few years. What offenses are doing is they're getting their playmakers on the field. There was a time when you didn't have as many, wide receivers on the field at one time, as many times as you do now during the game. I mean, teams are coming out now, it's 3 wide receivers, 4 wide receivers. Back when, I first came in the league, we played, it was 21 personnel, and then on third down, maybe you put 11 personnel in there. So now we're just kind of getting used to seeing it. And those guys are getting a better look at the concepts, that you get out of having so many, wide receivers on the field. But the game has definitely, transitioned over time. Looking at the receivers, man, and looking at all of the yards that they put up. Of course, we've had great receivers over the years, but I think when you watch receivers in the way in which they go across the middle of the field, it's like the confidence that they run across that field, man, and knowing that linebacker under 5 yards can't just take his head off before the ball comes, man. They just run across there so freely. And I think that's the way the game has headed. It's an offensive league. They want to see points on the board. They want to see guys throw the ball up and down the field. And so they like to tie their hands behind, the defensive backs. Like I watched Stephen Gilmore get a pass interference the other night against Philly. And he's in front of the receiver, this little hand-to-hand combat, and the referees threw the flag, and it's like, dude, he had great position on the wide receiver. His footwork was impeccable, and he still gets the flag. You get past 5 yards, and all of a sudden they say the defensive back can't touch the receiver, but that receiver can push off of you. He can tug your jersey and do all of these certain things. But as soon as you touch that guy,
it's not fair, Charles.
Come out, so
it's not fair.
It's definitely not fair. And so that's the problem, for us guys. And then of course the quarterbacks. Come on, man. These guys eventually, the quarterbacks, I think, will have 2 flags on, and, you'll have to get one of those flags off. You can't touch them, can't tackle them, can't throw them down to the ground. So that part of the game, man, to me is ridiculous. I think roughing the passer definitely needs to be a reviewable play.
Buddy, I mean, we can start reviewing the reviews, too. Like, there's levels to this thing. Like, make it reviewable, and then let's figure out the review system, too,
So sometimes, man, you should just review it and then just go to somebody in the stands and say, hey, what do you see? Just give me another pair of eyes on this thing, man, because I think you're right, because sometimes we see these reviews and we can clearly see what the call should be, and then the referee comes back on the field and says the opposite, and we're like, what are you looking at? The review is there to get the call right.
Charles, the world is so divided, seemingly, especially on the internet, with everything, literally everything. And then there'll be something that brings the entire world together. Oh, that's definitely not. Like everybody on the internet. Right. And then a ref will come in and say, yes, it was. Yeah, and it's just like, how are you seeing it so differently? And then they give us a glimpse into the review room, and it's just like three dipshits staring at like a computer. It's like, why is my setup at my house better than what the NFL is using to review this entire thing? We need to review the reviews, but whenever you're talking about the quarterback pass interference and Stephon Gilmore, did he get fined for that pass interference? They're fining everybody right now, Charles. I don't know if you've seen this. We're talking like $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 fines for standard football plays. Charles, standard football plays.
I don't think he would get fined for the pass interference, but I think anytime it's a hands to the face or face mask or something like that, you do get that letter. And I think, man, the league, man, they need to make the fines relative to what a guy gets paid. Like everybody can't just get fined $48,000, man. That is ridiculous. So depending on, what a player makes, man, you got to scale it. You know what I mean? You can't just, come on, man. Guy making the league minimum, you can't be fining them, $48,000, $50,000. That's crazy.
Hey, you're paying us $13,000 this week to play. You get to be here.
Sir.
You get to be here.
Right,
Tone has a question for you, Charles.
Yeah, Charles. I was looking at, I saw earlier this week, you had your defensive MVP that you were giving out. And I believe it was 3 edge guys with the winner going to Max Crosby. And I think since you and then Troy won it, only Steph Gilmore has been the only other guy to not be a D lineman or edge guy to win the defensive MVP. Do you think it's just an edge D-line award now, or do you just have to be incredibly special to win defensive MVP if you're in the secondary these days?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to do. I mean, there's been a couple myself. Stephen, Dahn was a guy who won it. I think Bob Sanders won it with Indianapolis, I believe. So there's been a few of us, but it's one of those things. It's kind of like the quarterback position. Like the quarterback, in terms of offensive MVP or MVP, it's all about those numbers. And so on the defensive side, the sack guys, they get 18, 19, 20 sacks. That's a huge number. So that's what people look at. And those guys are definitely disruptive. Our game is built on, being able to get to the quarterback. So there's a lot of attention put on those edge rush guys and those guys that can get into the backfield and disrupt. So they get that attention. Those guys, back there sometimes we don't get to put up those numbers. If you're one of the best, a lot of times, you're not getting a lot of action. They don't talk about you a whole lot. So it's harder to win it. But every now and then we put up one of those years, man, with the defensive backs. We look pretty good doing what we do, baby.
Hey, Trevon Diggs, just a couple years ago, he had like 11 picks going into like week 15. It was like, wait a minute, is this guy? And, it goes the other way. But hey, with the way offenses are right now, like with all this shit, D lineman, you know what I mean? D lineman can just blow that up.
Yeah.
You get a good D, like Chris Jones, obviously, Aaron Donald. The list goes on. You get one of those big guys in the middle, they can ruin an entire offense, like every single week after week. Because DBs, you guys got to rely upon ball getting out too to get there.
Yeah, you're relying on opportunities, and there's so many, different places a quarterback can put the ball, and they're looking at matchups. They're throwing the ball at the best matchup and trying to, for their offense, move the chains, get first downs and that sort of thing. But when you think about guys like Aaron Donald, who you mentioned, who to me I think should have been an MVP of the entire league and not just Defensive Player of the Year, to do what he did from the interior line, for so many years, the dominance in which he played at, like, I can see why he wins it. You know what I mean? Like that it's evident that he was the best player on the field every time, regardless of being defense, quarterback, or whatever it is. He was the best guy on the field. And I think he's a guy that they miss out on as being an NFL MVP and not just a Defensive Player of the Year.
So all the old school quarterbacks talk about how the game's getting easier because there's only a read off of a player as opposed to an entire defense. Who are some of the quarterbacks that are obviously remembered from your era Peyton and Tom, and then I guess Ben Roethlisberger will be in there a little bit. Phil Rivers obviously had a hell of a run during. Joe Flacco won himself a $100 million contract whenever he's on his final year of his contract and wins a Super Bowl. But whenever you talk about those guys at the top, what made them different? And is there any stories from when you were playing one of those guys where it was a good mental joust taking place throughout all 4 quarters?
Yeah, I think, all of the guys you mentioned, are great players. Hall of Famers. When you think about what made those guys special, we talked earlier about, the way you see the game, that mental aspect. And I think with all of those guys, it was, their ability to, break that huddle, scan that defense and kind of know what was about to happen, what you were in as a defense, where that pressure was coming from. Again, understanding the matchups and always seemingly being able to make the right throw. That's what made those guys the best. And I think in terms of, those chess matchups, playing against, Peyton Manning, when I was, a player who was moving around, playing outside, playing nickel and those different things and being able to, line up in the slot and move around and watch Peyton and watch his eyes and see how he scanned the defense and me trying to stand, in a way that he doesn't think I'm coming, but I'm actually coming, or vice versa. Those are the great games that you're able to play with one of those guys, because if you give them the tip, it's a wrap. And there's going to be no question about it. You get the tip, they get the tip, it's over. It's going to be either a touchdown, it's going to be a big play, or they're going to get the ball to the running back and run to the give him the ball so he can run to the open space. So those guys were tough, man. It was always great, going up against them guys. And like you said, trying to play that little chess match with them.
Peyton was looking for, hey, this guy's left foot is 6 inches. You see that? It's even with his heel.
Yeah.
You see that? It's even on film. He's watching on film.
Yeah.
Give me another one. I need another 3rd and 7 with this guy sitting on it. Yup, his left foot when it's even with his heel. Am I going to be able to see that? Yeah, I'll be able to see that. And then it's like, boom.
Yep.
That's all he needs. You said just the tip. It's like literally he finds one thing, and now it's his job to let you know, not let you know that he knows that as well. It's crazy, the level of shit that's happening out there.
No, exactly. I mean, we're looking at quarterbacks. We're looking at, how they stand. You know what I'm saying? If their feet are even, it's a good chance they're going to hand that ball off. If one foot is back, then they're trying to get out of there, get to their 3-step, get to their 5-step, or whatever it is. Or if they're under center and the feet are even, then they're probably going to throw the ball to the left. So there's, a lot of different things that you're checking out, that you're trying to get a key on. And, when you get into a game, and you start seeing these certain things and they start happening the way you see it, that's when you get your jump. So yeah, the game ain't just about putting the pads on, putting the helmet out and running around and making tackles or, trying to get off blocks. No. We the guys who from my position who have over 50 interceptions, we ain't just out there just playing football, man. You know what I'm saying? We're out there trying to get an edge, and we're watching every little thing, where that split is at. Who's in the game? Is it a stack? Is it? Yeah. Do you have guys lined up or lined up on each side of the formation? Are they both on the numbers? It's a lot of stuff you're looking at, man. Where it's like, hey, if I see this and you throw it, I'm out of there, bro.
I'm gone, and I am.
I'm gone.
I am
I'm gone.
taking it to the paint as well, and all. That's a lot. That's awesome, by the way. I don't want the ball. I'm gonna leave it here. This is as long as I need it. I get an inch into the end zone. But all those you're talking about these guys, from my perspective, with 50 picks and stuff, it's like all gold jackets too.
Yeah.
So it's like the brains. I don't think ever get talked about enough. Not only brains though, got to be a damn dog out there. Speaking of, Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Charles, you're probably the perfect person to ask this, but there's been a lot of talk over the past few weeks, especially with the Raiders, about what it means to be a Raider. I think Max Crosby said on his podcast, The Rush, I felt like I was born to be a Raider because they are kind of the outlaws of the NFL, if you will. But from your perspective, what does it really mean to be a Raider? And does it involve drinking tequila with Mark Davis in his suite?
Or whiskey?
What?
Hey, a little Woodson bourbon whiskey, a little cigar. That's what it means, man. And Man, when you watch those guys after the game, and the joy that they had after winning the game at home, in front of their home crowd, and then after the game, the cigars and all of that stuff, man, that was just kind of, to me, it was a little bit of an old school feeling. And I think Max mentioned it, when he was able to talk to George Atkinson and some of the guys who are around that organization who played back in those days. I had those same conversations with George and Willie Brown and Cliff Branch, and all of those old school guys that, and I see Howie every week, and a lot of times we're in despair, on our days at work when we're looking at the Raiders. But it was just a tough, hard-nosed kind of outlaw feeling that you get when you're a Raiders. And Willie Brown used to always tell us, man, when I first met Willie Brown, he said, hey, there's 31 teams in the NFL, and then there are the Raiders. And that's the way we went into it thinking each and every year. And I think Max definitely feels that way. He feels like he sort of, fits that mold, as a Raider, as a guy that not other people want, many people didn't want. He's got the tattoos. And like I said, you saw him smoking the cigar in the locker room. Like that's Raiders, man. But what the Raiders they were winners as well. And so, we want to get back to, being those tough Raiders, but also winning, getting to Super Bowls. This is a Super Bowl winning organization, and we got to get back to that. Not just the attitude, but the winning to go along with it.
Yeah, it feels like they want to know. Hey, want to know since Antonio.
Want to know. That's all we can ask.
Hey, only coach that has stud earrings too. So count me in with Antonio Pierce. We appreciate you so much. Saturday night, 10 p.m. MGM Plus. We can't wait for the world to see more about your story. And shout out to you doing so much work with that children's hospital. The lady on the thing that I saw said like $73 million he's helped raise for that. You're helping the world, Charles.
Hell yeah.
You're helping the world.
Man, appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. CS Mott Children's Hospital, University of Michigan. We have the Charles Woodson Fund. We've raised, like you said, countless amounts of money for that hospital to get it built, to maintain it, and to be able to treat young families, really, not just the children, but families as a whole, because everybody goes through it together. So I appreciate the shout out on that.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you doing it. Also, the whiskey.
Bye.
Hey, let's keep it going. You're the man.
Hey. The official bourbon of the Las Vegas Raiders, baby.
What's the name?
Woodson Bourbon Whiskey.
Oh, so it's a bourbon. What's that mean? It means it's...
Oh, it's bourbon. That means it's made here. It's made here. To be a bourbon, it's just got to be made here in the States, but it does come from Kentucky. It has to be 100% new oak.
Oh.
It has to be 51% corn, baby.
That's
what makes it.
Wow. Hey, we appreciate the hell out of you. You're the man. Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Woodson.
Yeah,
He's a great football player.
Good.
Great football player.
Those highlights are absurd.
He never gave us an answer on what he majored at Michigan either.
No.
You know how normally
Football,
people
baby.
say, I major in football. But seriously, communication. Like normally you get to an answer. No, football.
Yeah.
Undergrad, doctorate, PhD, did the whole thing. 154 games, I think, for the Raiders, 100 for the Packers or something like that. 18 seasons in the NFL.
In the secondary, yeah.
Got to be so athletic.
Yeah.
From Ohio, went to Michigan.
Love that.
Just like Desmond Howard, same exact thing. Went from Ohio, went to Michigan. This 1997 Heisman Trophy winner, still the only primarily defensive player to have won college football's highest individual award, which is bananas. You talk about the Defensive Player of the Year award being a D-line award. I didn't even think about that. Because then you just think about all the other awards as quarterback award, offense player award. Defense is kind of getting shooed away unless you're a dog.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald for MVP sounds like it hurts all defense players, though.
It does.
Yeah,
for sure.
Still think he's not going to have one on his record? Bullshit is what Charles Woodson said. But who knows? AJ Hawk will join us on the other side. Can't wait to get his takes on that convo as a former teammate. And Coach Nick Saban. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change your life. Take 3.
In an abandoned warehouse, Arthur Isaac Fischel, the world's AI authority, has summoned the Earth's most influential doofuses for an emergency meeting about the terrifying powers of artificial intelligence. Antonio Margarita, influencer from Italy. Vladimir Borobashnakowski. Chad Speed. gym. We catch up with them mid-dinner as Artie Fish tries his damnedest to get the influencer's attention.
Yes, that'll work. Thank you. Scram. Let's get down to brass tacks, boys. The real reason we're here. AI is it's a problem. It's going to kill us all.
It's hard to take you serious with the way your face looks right now.
I mean, you look like a fucking asshole. What are you talking about?
Oh, the only thing artificial is those fucking balls you call balls.
You look absolutely absurd.
You guys don't understand. You're not listening to me, okay? I'm wearing this because AI can hear your thoughts. It can get into your brain, guys.
You ain't got no fucking brain. Once again, struggling to take anything you say serious. My team told me I should come to this. You look like he looks like a joke.
Like an absolute jerk off.
Does this look like a joke? Huh? That's a nuclear bomb.
Nah, that's fake.
Just fucking bad man puts marbles in plastic
You need a guma, my friend.
You guys aren't listening. This right here, AI gave to me a nuclear freaking bomb. Told me the only way to save this screwed up world is to blow it up. This guy awake? Idiot.
Wake up, asswipe.
You wouldn't hit somebody with a
No, yeah, fuck.
No, don't you worry. This one is foolproof.
I doubt it.
I brought it here, boys. Not just for show.
What?
But because I'm gonna blow up the world right now!
Holy shit! That's Jack Carr!
Turns out, that was an actual nuclear bomb. Arthur Isaac Fischel was going to blow the entire world up, and Jack Carr saved us all. It was his actual first shot. And Artie Fish is actually dead. Forever. Thank the Lord that Jack Carr sensed trouble. Hell yeah, Jack Carr. Hell yeah.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey, what? Let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for. The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, you pig! Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Sport! Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome. On this Coach Saban Thursday, November 9th, 2023. Hour 2 of this program starts now. Football! It's happening tonight, and we are pumped up about it.
Oh, yeah.
Panthers and the Bears on Thursday Night Football. The Toxic Table is here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys Tone Diggs is here. And joining us live from an attic in Ohio is a college football national champion, a Super Bowl champion, a Ryder Cup winner, and a man who has not only defeated COVID 14 times, but he's also currently the reigning defending president of Ohio during this election season. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk. AJ, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing great. A little upset that someone would release that footage of Coach Bill Belichick, but, we're going to try to get it.
Thank you.
We are not happy.
What are we doing, man? Come on, just let the guy live a little bit.
Yes.
This guy has given his entire being, to that area to play football. So we are not happy about it either. Let's talk about Charles Woodson, though. We'll revisit Bill Belichick in that ring video where he looks...
Jocked.
Jocked.
Absolutely jacked.
Really?
Looks like he can bench 225 probably 29 times.
All right. Agreed. Thank you. That's not what Nick thought in the back. A little bit of a hating ass hoe back there.
True.
But let's talk. Charles Woodson. Hey, I enjoyed chit-chatting about him. Now, obviously, he's very tied in with Michigan. He loves Michigan. He said, congrats to Michigan for this entire thing to even happen. You got to be on top. But you said he was like the smartest football player you ever played with. And then we started listening to him break some stuff down. What an impressive dude. 18 years in the secondary in the NFL, AJ.
Yeah, he's an absolute freak. And I know I've mentioned on here before, there was times where he had like this toe injury and he wouldn't even be able to practice. He would just lay on the training table and watch his iPad all day long and then come out there and get like 2 picks and return 1 for a touchdown. Like that was kind of his career, and he did it for 18 years. So yeah, absolute ball hawk. Best ball skills I've ever seen from a DB for sure.
Knows that football was his major at college, he said. Didn't even get to a major. Didn't even get to a major. Just majored in football. Thanks for asking. Let's keep it moving. It ended up working out. Super Bowl champion, and now a legend who has an NFL Icons debuting Saturday, 10 p.m. on MGM Plus.
That's right.
Joining us now is a man whose team is a wagon.
Yeah.
Don't look now playing their best football.
Yep.
Don't look now being kind of underachievers, they're saying.
What?
Don't look now, they're out of the conversation. Don't look now, greatest coach of all time, has a lot to pull from to continue to galvanize the boys who have a setup left that might see them again in the college football playoff. Ladies and gentlemen, head coach of Alabama, Nick Saban.
How are we doing today, guys?
Not as good as you, huh? 14-point win at home over LSU. Quarterback rushes for 100 touchdowns. Let's go, Coach. It's great to be an Alabama football fan.
Yeah, it is. But, one of the things you got to avoid is, the mental trap that what happened last Saturday and the Saturday before that. Where does that put you from a mindset standpoint for this game? I call it a mental trap in terms of relief syndrome, which kind of affects your ability to stay focused, to pay attention to detail, do the things you need to do to get ready to play the next game. Because relief syndrome does not work very well in competitive sports. Because it doesn't matter who's more physical, it matters who's more physical in the game. It doesn't matter who's more disciplined, it matters who's more disciplined in the game. So to prepare right for that, to do that, to be better in the game, all comes to how you prepare and practice. So you got to have the right mindset, and that's what we're working on here as we speak. So you say I'm happy, but I'm also very focused on what we got to get done.
Yeah, you call it rat poison, I think is what you've called it in the past. And relief syndrome is a great way to describe it. And we've been feeding enough rat poison to your team all year that I think maybe they've gotten enough callus to block it out. Let's talk about Milroe. I mentioned it there. He'd been using his arm a lot. We've been going deep. We got weapons. How you doing? Keep it moving. Then all of a sudden against LSU, we see him on the ground. We see that electric and explosive run game out of him that we saw earlier. Obviously, that was game plan going in. And now are we just picking and choosing what our best offense is every single week? We have that much confidence in Milroe being able to execute through the sky and on the ground. Is that where we're at this season?
Well, I think that what we're trying to do with Jalen and where he's really improved is, having a singular focus on the next play. And, what I consistently talk about him is, focus on the next play. The next play might be the one that makes a difference in the game. So don't worry about what happened on the last play. And, we want to take what the defense gives. So, in certain cases, his running ability is going to be a factor for us, and we want to utilize that the best we can. And in other cases, the skill guys that we have and the arm talent that he has is something that we can take advantage of. So it's kind of a combination of both, moving forward.
Yeah, it's looking good. Go ahead, AJ.
Coach, you mentioned obviously you have to have a good week of prep. Is there any, is it ever weird where it's almost like golf where, say, someone goes to the range and they're just striping the ball and then they go out there and they play awful, and then obviously the other way around too, where they feel terrible on the range and then they go out and play great? Does that ever happen in football sometimes? I know I've been out at warm-ups at times when coaches are losing their mind and saying there's no energy, and we ended up doing Oklahoma drill in warm-ups to try to get us going. Is there any, carryover, and do you feel that at all?
Well, I have experienced, some of that in the past, where, things aren't going too well. But most of the time, something happens to turn that around. You maybe get behind in the game that you shouldn't be getting behind in. And everybody sort of recenters and refocuses, and they manage hard. When things get hard and difficult, they have a way to overcome it. But I still would prefer, guys having the right mindset because it's easier to go play when you've done things, you've adjusted quickly, you reacted quickly, and then it's a lot easier when the game comes to make the right choices and decisions, make the right adjustments. Don't make mental errors that, sort of help the other team. So because these teams are challenging now. Everybody that we play is challenging. They got great offensive, schemes. They got great defensive schemes. So execution becomes so critical in being able to have success.
Okay, so you talk about the teams that are talented, and you guys are Bama. So anytime Bama comes, you're going to get the team's best shot. It's a big deal. This is a noon game in Kentucky. They have a tough team, hard-nosed team. What are you telling the team? Do you do anything differently whenever it's a noon game, away game versus home game, prime time? How do you handle the week, and how do you handle being the target? Everybody at the top of the mountain is obviously the one that everybody's looking at, but every noon game in Kentucky, it's a Super Bowl for Kentucky. How do you manage those expectations for your team?
Well, I think one of the things that I try to emphasize to our guys right from the beginning so that they understand the circumstance that they're going to be in when they play games, whoever we play against, you said it right. When you climb the mountain successfully and you get to the top, which is very challenging and a lot of fun, but when you do it a couple times, you can sort of become the mountain. So then everybody's looking at you as the team that we want to beat. That's the team they have circled, on their schedule that we want to play our best. And this could be something that can be really a positive mark on our program, on our team, be successful for the season. So our guys need to understand that. So we have to have the kind of people that want to play to a standard. In other words, I'm not worried about all these external factors. My standard is I want to be the best player I can be. I want to go out every day and prove to be the best player I can be. And then I want to put it on tape when I play in the games. So I'm creating value for myself and my future, as well as creating value for my team. So that's kind of how we try to approach it. I mean, whether we play in the parking lot, on the field, in Kentucky, at home, I think that mindset has to be the same whether you're playing at 12 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 2 in the afternoon. You just got to be able to adapt to all those circumstances and situations and be ready to go whenever the whistle blows.
I think your team would be good in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
Milrow feels like a guy who would dominate on it. I think if you guys had to, like if we get to a point where it's only parking lot football, I think this team you have would be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be great. You talk about how other teams, it's a program builder. You beat Bama. That's in a highlight reel.
Oh, yeah.
For recruits, for everything going forward. Congrats on that being the case, though. That's earned. That type of stuff's earned, obviously. Ty has a question for you, Coach.
Coach, when you look at this team, now I know every year you've mentioned it, every team is so much different, so it's kind of hard to compare, team to team and all that kind of stuff. But when you look at your current team and how well you guys have played over the last several weeks, does this remind you of any other team you've had in terms of like, okay, we are really peaking at the right time here as kind of everything that we still want to achieve is out ahead in front of us? Or again, is that something where you can't even think about that and it doesn't apply because this team is so much different than any other team you've had?
Well, they're all different. All teams are different, and you want to try to feature the players that you have on offense and defense. You got to be able to adjust your system to whatever you want to see. But I think the talent on every team is a little different. But if you're talking about competitive character, I think it was 2015. We had quarterback issues early on. Jay Coker became the quarterback. We had a really, tough physical team that had to overcome a lot of adversity, had great perseverance, and they played that way. And they managed, I always say, how do you manage hard? We had a really good team last year, but, in a couple games that we lost, we didn't manage hard at the end of the game very well. We made some mistakes that helped the other team and had to live with the consequences. This team so far has been able to manage hard really, really well and make some of the best plays in critical situations in the game, which when you have great competitive character, that's what you have an ability to do. And I think that's really, really important if you're going to be successful.
Hey, you like this team, feels like. Every time, not that you don't like all your teams, but the birthday video, how they've developed, you talk about managing hard. I feel like that's a big part of your program and everything. Like, you really enjoy this group of dudes you got right now, it feels like.
I do, because, we don't have a lot of energy vampires. I don't know if you know what that means.
Oh,
but,
yeah, we know. Yeah.
I don't think anybody on this show would ever be accused of being an energy vampire when they played.
We did it. Hell yeah. That's good. We got a scholarship to Bama, too.
Bingo.
That's good news.
You don't have to spend all your time with a few guys who are never doing what they're supposed to do. Guys are bought in. They're trying to do what they're supposed to do. They respect their teammates. They enjoy each other, and they play well together. So that's always fun when you have a team like that.
Yeah, that's us, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, team on me. Team on three. 1, 2, 3.
Team.
We did it. That's awesome. Connor has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach. Obviously, it was mentioned last week, and you and AJ both reiterated, nothing really matters till that last college football playoff ranking. But after you do get a massive win against LSU, are you thinking on Sunday or on Tuesday just a little party of like, hey, we just beat a damn good LSU team. Maybe we will move up a couple spots. And also to kind of piggyback off that, are you kind of a Texas fan now? Because a lot of the times that one loss gets better if they continue to do really well versus the team kind of falling off a little?
Well, I don't really think a lot about that kind of stuff because if we don't do what we're supposed to do, if we don't take care of business in terms of the next 3 games that we play, if we're fortunate enough to get in the SEC championship game, try to take care of business in that game, none of it really matters. So to focus on each day, each hour that you have and have gratitude for the fact that you have an opportunity to do it and be in this situation, and that's how our players should look at it as well. I think that's what we try to stay focused on. I actually, I don't know if I told you guys this, but on Friday I put a circle on the board, and then I put a smaller circle inside that circle, and then I put a rectangle inside the second circle, and I said, and I colored it in red, and I said, this is what matters, what happens on the field. All this gray area between these 2 circles, that's all the external noise and external things that you can focus on and think about that's not going to help you play better. It's not going to help us get where we want to get. So let's focus on what we do on the field. So if I'm telling the players that, I'm telling you the same thing.
How's your draw? You pretty good? Freehand that circle, pretty good? You feel like you're a pretty good little artist out there?
Not much of an artist, I can promise you. Miss Terry's pretty good at all that.
Hey, Reese Davis said Miss Terry deserves a statue there at the University of Alabama whenever you're done with this entire thing. That was something he was pushing this weekend. Bama fans love Miss Terry. The amount of messages I've got since you've joined the program, it's like, I wonder what Miss Terry thinks. I wonder what Miss Terry thinks. She's a legend. I can't wait to meet her someday, Coach.
I had to straighten her out this week with relief syndrome, too. I wake up on Sunday morning and she looks at me and says, man, it's going to be hard playing at Auburn. I said, what are you talking about? Are you kidding me? We got to play Kentucky this week, and we got Chattanooga the next week. I will worry about that when we get to that. I said, what do you think about that? I said, you got relief syndrome like everybody else. It's pervasive. The fans have it. Everybody has it. We can't have it. You got to get focused on what's in front of us right now.
Was that a breakfast? What was that? Was that a breakfast?
I just said to my chair watch, I watched my film on the computer.
You're part of the problem, mister. That's amazing. You two are a beautiful love story. High school sweethearts all the way through. Now both you're probably going to have a statue. That's phenomenal. Go ahead, AJ.
Coach, I want to talk about like evolving as a program and an offense and a team. I know I don't know how many years ago you've mentioned it. There's some great footage of you talking about like you have to evolve. You can't just sit there and say, no, this is the way we do things because we've always done it that way. And I think as a player, that's one of the toughest things to hear from a coach. Like, Coach, why are we doing it this way? Well, stop asking questions. That's what we've always done. And I know you've talked about like evolving as a team, which is awesome because you could easily sit back and say, no, this is what I do. Like, can you talk a little bit about evolving and what you always have to kind of try to see, hey, I need to do what's best for my team?
Yeah, I think that's really, really true. I think that if you're going to have the respect of your team, of your players, you have to be doing things as a coach that's helping them play better. So whatever the situation and circumstance is, and maybe it's different than something that you've seen before, you have to change and adapt and adjust, to that. And then you put them in the best position where they have a chance to be successful. That creates a respect factor, player to coach, coach to player. And then the players don't want to let you down. So I don't think you can just say, this is the way we've always done it, so this is what we're going to do. I think that when you say that, you're not talking about technical aspects of the game. There's some things that you always want to build psychologically on your team, whether it's being physical, playing with discipline, staying focused. Those kinds of things I think are like, foundation of competitive spirit that, and I don't think they change much, but technically the game changes quite a bit. And it has dramatically in the last 10 years.
How do you feel about Tommy Rees? This far into the season, you guys have been around each other now a long time. We've seen your offense do a lot of different stuff. We've seen it do a lot of different stuff and become very good.
I think what he's done is a great job of taking the players that we have and implementing what they can do best. And I think we've had to make adaptations to be able to do that. I mean, we can't do what we did last year all the time, but the things that we're doing now can be just as effective or more effective and create more problems for the defense. And I think he's done a really good job of that.
Big win over LSU, man. Massive. That was awesome. We were following along. It was on CBS. We almost got sued. I don't know if you know that. The whole thing happened. We're on ESPN2. We're cutting to your guys' game a little bit too soon in CBS's eyes, but it was electrifying. College football is batting 1,000 right now. Tone has a question for you.
Yeah, Coach. After the game, the cameras caught an interaction between you and Aaron Anderson, who transferred from Bama to LSU, and it seemed like the relationship between you two was awesome, and I think that caught some people by surprise just because he was a transfer. How often is it that you have a good relationship with someone who transfers out of the program? Because I think people think that it's always they're transferring because the relationship wasn't good or they were upset about playing time and stuff like that. How often is it that you keep in touch with players that have transferred out of your program and have a good relationship?
Yeah, well, I think it's a way of life now that almost all the players have somebody externally sort of affecting how they think. And I think you have to accept that as a coach. You try to do the best you can to tell guys how they can create value, for their future. And I think, Aaron would have been playing a lot of football for us this year. He's an outstanding player. He's a fine young man. We were happy to get him in recruiting. We hated to see him go, but, these things aren't personal to me. And I want to support the player. I want to see him do well. I want to see all players be more successful in life because of the experience they had in college football. So having resentment, toward guys that do it, I don't do that. And, the guy's from Louisiana. So I get it, but it's just not personal to me.
Well, it's personal to us? The fact that you take time out of your life to chat with a bunch of doofuses every single Thursday. Personally, that's awesome. I want to let you know that, Coach.
Hey, I love it. I love you guys. You guys are football guys. I've said this before, so it makes it fun for me, and I enjoy it. So I thank you for having me.
Hey, Coach, not only are you the greatest college football coach of all time, like bar none, this dude's an entrepreneur. Hey, congrats on the big, I don't know how much you're a part of that during season, but your business just bought I think $700 million worth of Mercedes-Benz dealerships. Let's go, dude.
Wow.
Just a guy from West Virginia, a West Virginia man, the greatest college football coach of all time, also building a car dealership empire. Let's go, Coach.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I have a great partner, Joe Agressi, who is in the car business. So it's everything is in good hands all the time. We got a great team of people. A lot of the things that we try to do in our business is the same kind of things that we do to have success, in football. But I'm not involved in that. I think I've been in our stores maybe one time this year. So I don't dabble in it much. And I have a lot of confidence in the people who do a great job in the business for us.
Well, congratulations on picking the right guy to run a business. A lot of people try to dabble in businesses and be hands-off, and that money usually goes right into a burning pit of fire. I don't think that is happening for you with Joe Agressi. Go ahead.
Coach, just so you know, there's 12 of us here that would drive a Mercedes or Ferrari.
If we had to. If we had to. It's on you, though. Obviously, take your time.
We can take care of it if you need it.
Okay. See, he doesn't have to be in the showroom.
Nope.
You heard that sale right there. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Nick Saban. Congrats, Coach.
Yeah, Coach.
Miss Terry. Miss Terry's thinking about Auburn.
Yeah.
Part of the problem.
You think they're sitting at breakfast and she's like, I can't wait for dinner tonight. And he's like, Terry, we have breakfast,
Terry.
we have lunch. I mean, what
Have we even thought about lunch today?
What are we doing thinking about dinner?
Do we even have a plan for what we're going to do for lunch? We doing deli sandwich? I love it. She said Auburn's going to be tough. That's what Reese Davis said too.
Yeah,
because Reese Davis is that's right where Stoops in Kentucky wants to be. And they, by the way, they're going to try to, which is a style of football, I guess, that you can ground it out and take away the other team's offense if you're able to move. Now, I don't think they're going to be able to do that against Alabama's defense, but ain't given Saturday in college football.
That's right.
Or Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday.
Right.
I think even Friday nights.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, Sunday.
Yeah, college
Everyone
football,
but Monday.
basically any. Are they playing Sundays?
No, sorry, Sunday and Monday.
Early
Bowl season, they
that
get
first
it.
week.
Yeah, never. NFL will travel into Saturday.
Yes,
they will.
Yes.
But I do, like, as soon as I mention, I'm like, Reese, they beat LSU. It's like SEC title game. Congratulations. Now we're gearing up for basically college football playoff play-in game, pretty much, is what we're looking for. He goes, Auburn at Auburn, there's some black magic down there that happens against Alabama. And I'm like, okay, all right, I'll remember that. And then Miss Terry saying, remember, down in Auburn, it ain't an easy thing. Miss Terry, we are in Kentucky this week.
Jeez Louise.
That's phenomenal. That's when you know, like, Miss Terry and Nick, they've been high school sweethearts, dude. Isn't that sweet? That's
Long time.
That's all. That's out of a movie, AJ.
She's like, I've heard, like, yeah, she's a huge part of every team that he's coaching. Like, she's like the rock always. It feels like, and I love how the fan base kind of takes it on and absolutely loves her, and they love everything she does because it looks like she has a great relationship with all the coaches and players too. Like, it's cool to see.
Reese said, build her a statue. Build Miss Terry a
They
statue.
will.
They should.
They will.
All right, let's roll through some things that we haven't got a chance to cover. For instance, the middies. Holy hell.
Here we go.
Holy hell. Woo! So we're going to do this on Tuesday maybe, but we said, why don't we do it on Tuesday?
Midweek.
It's not the middle of the week of the midseason week of the full NFL season. So then we said we'll do it Wednesday, which is the middle of the week of the midseason of the NFL season. But we had to finish the middle of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
So now it's on Thursday perfectly. It is time for an award that I think players will certainly yearn for going forward. It is something that, although they describe like maybe marijuana, congrats, Ohio.
Good work, Ohio.
Yeah, I made it.
Congrats, Ohio. Shout out, Ohio.
Yeah.
A lot of tax money. A lot of tax money going to come help, that's for sure.
Yep. Also, shout out.
A lot of other good stuff, too.
Yep. Shout out our friends that live in Ohio. And maybe make trips to Indiana. You know.
All the time.
Shout out them.
In a red truck.
You know, that's big back.
Oh, yeah.
Put a lot of stuff.
That's right. Couple duffel bags worth.
Yep.
Trash bags.
Let's do it. I'll be a drug trafficker for you across state lines. That's what we're saying right now.
Thank you.
Gotta
He'll be
do
on
it.
70.
Is that what you're setting up here live on TV?
No,
Okay,
we clipped it.
Now, listen, we'll mute that. Richard Good, mute that whole thing.
Get rid of it.
Say the F word, AJ. Quick.
But here in Indiana, it is only like an hour and a half left to Illinois, I think hour and a half north to Michigan, and an hour east to Ohio. So Indiana, you know, if you would just like to maybe
join in.
Come on, what do we do? We are surrounded right now. And everywhere is maybe more conservative than us has it okayed around the entire thing. We just got cold beer on Sundays like 4 years ago.
True.
So it's going to be difficult, I think, to potentially get marijuana to pass. But nonetheless, don't want to be described as mid in that.
No.
Don't ever want to be. Nobody's trying to win the midi whenever it comes to marijuana. There is a company called Par that we learned about where they're shooting par. They're weed, but nobody wants mid. This is a mid award that you want. You want to win a midi. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the first ever PMS middies. Let's go. Defensive Rookie of the Year. These three men have certainly taken the adult league by storm. They were good enough to make the graphic. Were they good enough to win it? Nope. Congrats to Witherspoon, Branch, and Will Anderson for having phenomenal starts to their NFL careers. But the winner of the first ever midi, the Defensive Rookie of the Year, through 9.5 weeks and 1 day is... Boom, the Rhino, Jalen Carter of the Philadelphia Eagles. Congrats, Jalen, you did it. Woo! I don't know what all you really have on the mantle at home, Jalen. A couple national championships and everything that, and you're going to have some defensive MVPs. You are the first ever Midi Award winner, and I'll tell you what, AJ, this is just the first award of many for this particular fella.
Oh, yeah. How many sacks do you think he ends the season with? I'll say 9.
It's not just sacks either. It's also pressures.
Disruption. He disrupts the whole thing. Everything.
And the way adults that have been in the NFL for 10 years are talking about him is like, this dude doesn't even know yet, really, what he's doing. And he's just better than everybody. So congrats to all 4 young men on this graphic. But more specifically, congrats to the Georgia Bulldog, Jalen Carter, on winning the first ever Midi.
Wow. Well done. Congrats.
Hey, you can take an NFT photo of this if you want to hang it on fridge, Jalen.
That's right.
Right now. All right. 1-on-1, though.
That's right.
Nobody else taking any.
Lucky.
Now it is time for the second ever midseason PMS Midi Offensive Rookie of the Year. Is it Puka Nacua?
Ooh.
Is it Jahmyr Gibbs?
Maybe.
Hell yeah.
Bijan Robinson's got the people talking.
Yes, he
Because
does.
he's been able to play. There's been some Skycam footage. These 3 men were good enough to be finalists, but they were not the winner. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Offensive Rookie of the Year Midi, just 9.5 weeks into the season, is CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Woo! This is one of the easiest ones of all time.
Yeah.
Yep.
This dude's unconscious.
Yes.
It makes no sense how he is this good at the football. He's dapping up LeBron James, obviously. Just a couple Ohio Staters doing their thing. 14 tuds, 1 interception, 2,270 pass yards. And what he has been able to do so quickly is absurd whenever you think about the state of the Houston Texans before he started playing for him. Now, the second pick and the third pick, Will Anderson on the defensive side, also up for a midi.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
So Casario's hitting on these draft picks early. But what CJ has done through these 9 games, not only is it Offensive Rookie of the Year worthy, it should be maybe on another midi graphic, but we're just going to give this award here, AJ.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I think the 1 interception is the most impressive of all this. Obviously, everything CJ has done this year has been great, but yeah, only turning the ball over 1 time through the air is crazy.
Yeah, but remember that 0-2 7000 test that he was dumb.
Yeah, he's still real dumb.
They said
That
don't
test
put.
still happening?
We'll see. We will see. They told us don't put him on the midi.
No.
Because his brain is below midi.
Sure.
That's what they were saying going into the third.
They were saying, and no one's talking about it. The pick he threw, I believe the Texans forced a fumble and got the ball back on the interception as well. So, is it really even a pick? I mean, they
did it on purpose.
They didn't actually lose the ball. So,
congrats on second ever midi being distributed. CJ Stroud, take a photo, hang it in a locker. You don't just hand these out
ever.
You got to earn these, AJ. You got to earn the midi.
Screenshot your NFT, CJ. Have at it.
Yeah, right now. That's different than the last one. Last one was thumbs up. Make sure we have a different face over there, AJ. Now it's time to get past the rookies and go into the vets of the game.
Okay. Elder statesman.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the third midi, the Defensive Player of the Year. Thus far into it. Myles Garrett, friend of the program all of a sudden. Okay, he certainly made the graphic because he has been a terror.
Yes, he has.
He's causing delay of games with double teams floating back and forth on the line of scrimmage, saying, we got to block this guy, we got to block this guy. Well, we can't snap the ball, we don't have to block him. You're right. Maybe delay a game all the way out of here before we can just punt it back there. TJ White. He's on the way to breaking the single season sack record now. He only got 1 this past week.
Yikes.
And we thought maybe he'd get more. But we assume he's going to continue to wreck games. He's on the midi graphic. He's playing great football. And then Micah Parsons, this dude is an actual lion.
Yes.
He's barking and roaring at people.
That's right.
Celebrating. Seems like Dallas Cowboys are all the way back. These 3 guys are incredible.
So good.
They were nominated for a midi. Didn't win it, though. Who's Defense Player of the Year midi? Boom! Max Crosby, the Condor. Wow. Whew. Look how many tackles he has. Look at how many Micah has.
Absurd.
Look how many TJ has. Look how many Miles has. And then look how many tackles Max Crosby has. 56 tackles, obviously 9.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble. Everything he's got popping off is impressive. He plays every single snap. Now, I'm not saying Miles wouldn't. Miles is in good enough shape to do that. TJ wouldn't, he would. I think Mike is not happy. We actually asked him about the rotation on defensive line. This dude plays every single snap. So that might be why his stats are where they are, but who cares? 56 tackles. This guy's a game record, game winner. Congrats to Max Crosby with 2 X's. AJ Hawk winning the Defensive Player of the Year. Midi. Wow.
I mean, the more I watch Max, the more impressed I am with him. Also, we don't even have on there pressures and QB hits. You add that into the equation. I mean, this dude is affecting every single play, it seems like.
The issue with the pressures is that is really a judgment call.
Yes, it
You
is.
look at one
Very
particular-
subjective.
You look at one stat company, you're like, this guy has 172 pressures. And you look at the other place, and they're like, 41. He has 41 pressures. It's like, all right, well, who's giving credit to who then? Have to really take it into account. Congrats to all 4 men being nominated for the Defensive Player of the Mid-Year with a midi here, but only one could take it. Now let's go to Offensive Player of the Mid-Year.
NFT.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Max.
Go
Sorry.
Max.
Go back to the Max. You give away the offense. Screenshot, Max.
That's the coolest one yet.
Boom. I want that one. Dibs.
Want to what? Nobody else
you
has
can't
it.
have Dibs. I'm gonna buy it.
I respect that.
I'm buying it.
I respect that we all get very quiet when they're screenshotting, just in case some sound slips through on their
Well,
screenshot.
because some NFTs have sound, right? A little
That's
sound
right.
effect.
A lot of them. Seriously?
Yep. That's only 101. Congratulations,
Yeah,
Max. Let's go to the offensive players of the year. Christian McCaffrey. Wow.
Jeez.
A.J. Brown. Holy hell.
Stud.
Chase. Whoa.
Whoa.
These guys are players. You put a ball in their hand, good things happen.
Yep.
They've proven that.
Yep.
Not good enough to be a mini winner. Maybe end of year, boys, but not the middle of the season, because the midi award winner for Offensive Player of the Year goes to Tyreek Hill. Throw the deuces. Now, the Miami Dolphins haven't been able to beat anybody that's good.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Haven't been able to beat anybody with a winning record. That is certainly a narrative. But whenever the deuces are flying and he's jumping up into the crowd, it's some of the most electrifying, awesome football to watch. And he has clearly been a full organization changer for the Miami Dolphins whenever he got signed to a massive contract. Congrats to Tyreek Hill. How about a midi, Gumpy? Huh? How about a midi for the Dolphins?
Here we go, Cheetah.
Are you guys going to get it back, or what's going on?
No, everything's fine. I mean, we're top of the AFC East. Let's relax.
Yeah,
but
happy.
What people are saying about Tua right now.
Yeah,
people are saying
not
it.
good. Saying he chokes in the big games.
Why is that?
I don't know.
I mean, he didn't choke when
Ty,
he
why are you saying that?
came
The way
back
you-
against Baltimore last year. Didn't choke then.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done
Won
it
national
before.
championship.
That's
then.
pre-jiu-jitsu, too.
I agree. I'm not saying it. I've said that ever since Tua got the sweet-ass tribal arm sleeve that he is a completely different guy. But a lot of people are saying that.
Okay, we're just reporting the news.
That's right.
And what we can report is that Cheetah has won a midi. What were you going to say, Gump?
Just all the bad teams that we've been beating have beat good teams too. That is also a narrative no one's talking about.
It is true. Okay. Patriots beat the Bills.
You can only beat who's in front of you, and we're top of the AFC East.
True.
Damn right.
Third favorite to win the AFC East at the start of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
And?
Now we're at the top.
And?
Still at the top with a midi for Cheetah.
Boom! Got a midi in the locker room.
Yeah.
Screenshot Tyreek for NFT. 1 of 1, please. That's the award. That's
Good
all
sound
we
effect.
got.
Thank you.
Let's go to Coach of the Year, shall we?
Ooh, okay.
These
Yeah.
3 coaches certainly have done incredible. MCDC, wow.
Hell
D'Amico, what he's been able to do with the Houston Texans,
Oh.
holy hell.
Stud.
Kevin O'Connell, just within the last week or so, he got a quarterback 4 days before the game, had to explain the plays to the quarterback on there, beat a very good football team.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin O'Connell is obviously phenomenal on this particular program, as is D'Amico, and we've had MCDC on in years past. We're big fans of all these guys.
Love it.
We would love for them to coach our team anytime.
Yes.
Now, I have Shane Steichen, and he was almost up here just because he is so good.
Yeah, sure.
Artie.
But none of these guys were able to win Coach of the Mid-Year because the winner of the Coach of the Mid-Year, the winner of the Midi is... Obviously, they're 8-1.
Duh.
Okay? They're at the top of the NFC, and he is phenomenal. Now, Coach, I didn't know if you knew that you were up for a midi, but you have won a midi. You're on a bye week. How's the Chick-fil-A? How's the world's sexiest man, Jason Kelsey? And how's the midi feel going into your office?
Well, the midi feels unbelievable because, like you mentioned, if I could dunk the midi in Chick-fil-A sauce with my daughter, I would absolutely do that. I love that Jason is, people's sexiest man. Patrick Dempsey is not the sexiest man, okay? He's not sexier than me. He's definitely not sexier than Jason. I should have won Coach of the Year last year. I kind of said that to you guys last year and before the season. It's bullshit. I didn't win. I don't know if people just love to hate me, maybe because, I was dogging people and doing that face right in front of the camera whenever we were beating the hell out of somebody in the playoffs. But, yeah, I'll gladly accept the midi, and maybe, come end of the year, I will finally get that Coach of the Year that I have so rightfully deserved for the last couple of years.
AJ, how about how humble Coach Sirianni is in accepting a midi? I thought this might be the one that really makes him get real arrogant because you win a midi, you're the first ever coach to win a midi. That could do something for a guy like Sirianni.
Resume.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear Coach today, being humble and kind of putting it back on his players and really, I don't know. I feel like he needs to start feeling himself a little bit and really publicly start letting us know exactly what he feels like inside.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could have said that we lost our OC and DC. Both those guys got jobs, and a lot of guys are saying that our current OC basically is like a 5-year-old playing Madden. That's what people on the internet are saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's why he's our OC. But, yeah, you could say that I'm maybe, I don't know, got my hands in a few more things, maybe doing a little bit more around the facility this year. But, again, it's not about me.
You taping ankles, Coach?
If I need to. If I need to, I will. I mean, do I love to do that on game days? Not exactly, but if I notice our trainer maybe doesn't have the right technique, right form, yeah, I will absolutely go in and say that's my ankle now. Okay, I'm doing this one.
Coach, I don't know if you saw, there's video going around in coaching circles, around the internet circles of Bill Belichick walking out of a house shirtless. We don't know what he was doing in that house.
We do know he's jacked, though.
Taking the trash out.
I don't know if you had any inside information, if coaches are talking about this or not.
No, I mean, we would not disrespect Coach Belichick like that. He can do whatever the hell he wants to do in his off time. And what, you can sue the guy because he's maybe crushing box on a weekend? I mean, that's neither here nor there. That's not really any of my business per se.
He was on a dad and son's trip.
It's about time.
Well, and again, I see a couple of these, kind of cars down here. Who says Bill's not going over there, popping the hood up and change out a spark plug for Steve or something like that, so he can get back into
Do you
town.
have a farmer stand to that?
I got a text from Paul Paps that said, that video's from the summer. Look at the green trees in the background. Investigative journalism at an all-time high.
Yeah.
He's from Vermont, I believe. He's up in the New England area. But anyways, if that's from this past summer, I'm happy to hear Bill's doing his thing. And I'm happy him and the kids are having a nice Airbnb.
Yeah. That's right. And we definitely know what was going on during the summer, so it probably was the case. But one of his close friends, Matt Patricia, he's coaching for the Eagles. And I don't know if you heard, Coach, but Jalen Carter, another Eagle, also won a midi. Pretty big deal. You guys have 2 in one season. Has Patricia contributed to Jalen Carter and the midi success?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Coach Patricia, very good at kind of setting the, like the buffet schedule for what we're going to eat. He's very good about, picking certain meals. He always brings me my coffee early in the morning, which I absolutely love. Coach Patricia, he's a hell of a football coach.
AJ, what the hell's going on?
He's an even better assistant.
I mean,
thought he got locked out of the facility a couple times because he forgot his keys. And wallet.
He loses his wallet, loses his key fob once a bit, but that's just Matt. We understand that's going to be. I leave a little doorstop next to the door he usually comes in so that he can slide in when he needs to.
Perfect.
Thank you, Coach.
A rock with a key in it.
Congrats.
Yep. The hide keys. I got a couple hide keys.
Good to know. Good to know.
Hey, congrats, Todd.
Thank you.
And now for Coach, for you to take home, we're going to do a NFT. Coach, screenshot this, Coach. All these have been different.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
All these have been different. 101, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And now it all
That's how it
comes down to this.
Wow.
Just like Lainey Wilson won Entertainer of the Year last night.
Congrats,
She
Doc.
said, I love you, Doc.
Love you, Duck.
Love you, Doc.
Great
Miss you,
fit, Doc.
Make sure everyone registers to vote.
Yeah, she said for 9 years she's been grinding it out. She did 186 shows in the last year, she said.
That is a lot.
Hell of a super Southern accent when I heard her.
Great draw.
Very.
Great, very, very Southern accent. She told a whole story about when she was 9 years old. That's whenever she got her first guitar, and that's the first time she took a trip to Nashville with her dad, and how it's been 9 years that she's been working for this, and she got this, and it was like really emotional. And then she dropped a love you, Duck. And I was like, hell yeah, Duck.
Unreal.
Did you see how cool Duck looked last night at this entire thing?
They were matching, right? I believe they had a kind of a matching situation.
Hell yeah, Duck. Now listen, Duck. Just like Travis Kelce, you're representing the entire NFL.
That's right.
You treat her right, Duck.
That's right, Duck.
I think Duck has been.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce's going down to Argentina.
Yes, he is.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he's going to her game.
On,
What?
On a Friday before the game or?
No.
Bye week, Tony.
Tony.
Just making sure.
Yeah. Hold on, too, Doug.
She's going to his game?
Not in Germany. She didn't travel.
What is your problem?
She didn't travel internationally.
Well, that's talking to Tony.
She put together a party to watch the game.
Oh, but did she travel internationally? No. Is Travis traveling internationally? Yes. Who loves who more?
Well, he's a gentleman, just like we're saying with Duck.
Yes. Exactly.
Football is representing wonderfully out there in pop culture. Getting shout-outs at Entertainer of the Year, CMA.
Right.
Obviously a part of a greatest tour in the history of businessing tours. $4.1 billion.
That's right.
Hey, football's doing it.
Keep going, football.
But just like Entertainer of the Year was the last award last night, and that's the one that really matters. This one right here is the one that really matters. Who is the Midi award-winning MVP?
Wow.
Is it Patrick Mahomes? It's not. He was a finalist. He would deserve an award for everything that he does, though, I must say.
Of course.
Lamar Jackson, holy hell. Wait until you see some stats we have here later in the hour about how Lamar's playing right now. He's already won an MVP. He's playing better. Tua, listen. What happened in Germany, we need to not remember.
That's right.
In Germany.
Ball was slick. Things happen. Okay, that's just the way it goes. Tua will bounce back. He's seen adversity before. He's been playing incredible football. That's the quarterback of the greatest show on turf 2.0.
Absolutely.
Not good enough to win the Midi, though.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, the MVP, Midi Award winner is...
Oh!
It pays to be 8-1. Coach of the Year and MVP. Jalen Hurts has won like 25 of 27 regular season games or something like that. They're 8-1 right now. Has he been playing the greatest football every single snap to start the season? No. Has he played like he has played? He played in the playoffs every single game to start this year? No. Has their offense looked the same? No. But are they 8-1? And is he Yes.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts wins our Midi MVP, even though he might not necessarily have played the best football every single snap out of the 4 finalists. He is a leader, and since he has become the guy for the Philadelphia Eagles, all they've done is seemingly win. I love watching him continue to grow, especially after getting a massive contract. And congrats on winning a Midi, Jalen. Hey, Jay, how about Jalen getting a hang of Midi on the kitchen? On the
Yeah, how
fridge?
about it? I'm curious to see how this plays out the rest of the year, to see if he can hold on to this thing and actually get the MVP at the end of the season.
Well, I don't know how the middies are going to do at the end of the year because it will 2 middies, I guess we'll say.
Yeah. What do we call it? What do we call them then? If you win the midi and you don't win the final, what happens?
It's the Foley's. It's Foley's.
Yep. Headies.
Well, yeah, because we start the Dankies.
Dankies, yeah.
The Dankies.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a marijuana.
Fire.
Once again, congrats to Ohio doing everything. Anyways, Jalen, that's your NFT. Screenshot it.
You did it.
Put it on the fridge. Congratulations to you. Boys, did we get anything wrong there, Connor, or what?
No, I don't think we got anything wrong. Probably just some guys that are making a push right now, like Burrow. Like Burrow's making a pretty strong push.
Burrow's
now.
never going to be up for the middies, I don't think.
I don't think he's a midi guy.
No, he's not.
And some guys aren't going to be. Like some horses in horse racing, they're terrible at the beginning.
Closers. Exactly.
But then they go on to become closers, which is, I guess, what you would want for the Super Bowl and playoffs and everything. We're talking about the middies here, more specifically, because that's what we're debuting today. A lot of people slow starters. That's just kind of how it doesn't mean you're a slow finisher, though.
He is not a slow finisher, and I became a huge fan of Joe Burrow this week. I think I saw or heard on the Sunday night game that he goes to bed at 7 p.m. during the season, which I love. I respect the hell out of that. And then he told Ohio State, hey, quit trying to claim me. I'm not yours. You guys stink. I'm an LSU guy. Stay out of my life. That was awesome.
Great transition, Tone. Let's talk about Joe Burrow talking about how Ohio State should view him. And I think this revolves around like C.J. Stroud, greatest Ohio State quarterback in the NFL conversation that's taking place. And then there's a little bit of a asterisk because remember, Joey B was there in Columbus for a bit. Here's Joe Burrow talking about it.
Does Ohio State claim you as a quarterback in the NFL? Should they consider you that?
No, you have to ask them.
Do you feel like they should?
I always say I went to school at Ohio State and I played football at LSU. That's how I think about it.
AJ, as Ohio State legend, is he viewing it accurately? And should Ohio State alum claim him? Is that what's taking place?
I think both schools can and will claim him, but he's right. He went to school at Ohio State and he played football at LSU, so he can't. Either way, if he wants to say, "Oh yeah, no, Ohio State can claim me," that's where I'm at. Then all the LSU people are gonna be pissed. Like, what? He's answering it the right way, I believe.
Okay, but how about Ohio State people? You think them claiming Joey B is the right move?
Oh yeah, I mean they can say, "Hey, he was here for a couple years. We had him. He didn't really get on the field too much." But yeah, they'll say he's an Ohio State guy.
So do you say, "Hey, that's Ohio State"?
Yeah, he played football at LSU and he went to Ohio State for a little bit. Okay. I don't really get caught up in all the minutia and the garbage of this situation.
Okay, all the minutia.
I don't think anyone should sit there. No Ohio State people should be like, oh, no, Joey needs to claim Ohio State only. That's it. Like, no, I would never do that.
Yeah, he's saving the city of Cincinnati, so he's doing enough for Ohio already, even though Ohio State refused to put the white kid on the field. That's what I heard. I heard it said because he's so stupid and white, they wouldn't play him.
Thanks a lot, Urban.
They said, we're never going to play an Ohio kid who's stupid and white like this guy. Look at his stupid hair. That's what they said.
It did.
Is that what was being said? That's why he didn't get on the field?
Ooh. This is the first time hearing anything like that, but I'll keep my ears open.
All right, let us know. Let us know.
Allegedly, Herbs asked him to go to the Chop House one night, and Joe went with him, but he said, all right, Joe, time for the dance floor. And Joe said, whoa, you can't be going on the dance.
That year that he had at LSU, so stupid. Played the year before, though, wasn't as great. Then he
Coach O, too. Coach O's there, now he's gone. Like, boom. Like, it was quick.
And then Brian Kelly's bringing it back.
Yeah,
that's right.
Brian Kelly's bringing it back.
Family.
Now, it is about the family. And I will say, I would have a Southern accent quicker than Brian Kelly. You drop me in.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with how the Louisianans speak down there.
Sweet.
They have a very Southern accent. It is phenomenal to hear, especially whenever they get very excited. But yeah, Joey B being on that Ohio State team is wild. It's wild. But that entire quarterback room is just
also
like boom, 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 boom. And that's what happens when you're Ohio State, I guess. You know, West Virginia, we got Garrett Green and Nico.
You guys killed BYU.
Killed.
Say it again, AJ. We did.
You guys annihilated BYU. You must have got the bunk bed set up the night before.
Well, I would like to say we are being told that might not be true.
Yeah. What?
From who?
So I think the people that are being accused of doing the soaking are potentially saying that ain't real.
Yeah, dude,
that
they're
ain't real.
embarrassed.
But it is a thing. It's not real, but they know what we're talking about.
They certainly know what we're talking about, but I do believe their angle, what's the angle? Their angle is that this might be somebody else trying to make them look bad for doing this because it's something that is believable, and they're saying, yeah, I could see how that would make sense with the way we live, but it's not true. Like, they're just making it up. Now, with that being said, we've heard from a couple soakers themselves. Whenever we're out there in Utah, this might be a new generation thing.
Why would they deny it? You know how cool soaking is? You know how much less work that is? That'd be awesome.
Sounds like I've been soaking my whole life.
Yeah, that's all I do is soak.
Movement. What
I didn't even know you're allowed to use your hips.
Excuse me?
So they got people underneath? That's smart. I need to start doing that. Hey, Mikey Diggs. Start kicking this entire thing. Ryan Smith was awesome yesterday, AJ. I wish you were here to experience him. He's 44 years old. He should not be the way he is.
Weapon. And you mentioned it, too. Like, when we went to the Pacers, no one has a clue who he is.
Yeah, so I was he basically set us up to go to the Pacers game last night. Pacers are awesome.
Really good at basketball.
I have not seen the Pacers play basketball in a long time. This dude, Tyrese Halliburton, is like the guy for the Pacers. He's a showman.
Stud.
He's not only
How many did they score? I know Ryan was worried they're going to score a bunch.
I think 135 to like 115.
We've been scoring. The Pacers have been scoring over 120 like all the time.
Yeah, I think it's a good brand of basketball. It's a fun brand to watch. I agree with that.
And Halliburton, the guy, he is a showman.
Stud.
We're talking like no look passes. And then like this number here, while the guy like in the middle of the court, there was a time where these refs were chit-chatting about making a review or changing a call, and it was during a free throw, and an outcome happened from the refs that nobody in the building thought was going to happen, which was another jump ball, and it definitely benefited the Pacers. And as soon as Halliburton heard the ref say that real loud, great call, great, he did not expect, it was like, they were a fun team to watch. And on the flip side, sitting directly next to the owner of the Utah Jazz, while the Utah Jazz are kind of going through it right now.
Big time.
They have not had a lot of success since maybe the time we were out in Utah watching him play against the Clippers. Like watching him live and die pretty much with every series because all he wants is the Jazz to be good.
Yeah. Are they rebuilding? I don't know where they're at. Are they like in a rebuild mode or what is it?
I think they're really trying to figure it out. Yeah. I think they're in the middle of trying to figure it all out. But then also, because he said it yesterday, like we're a media company, and he feels whenever they're hosting a game there in Salt Lake, it's like his duty to basically put on a show for all the Salt Lake people that come. So all we were talking about, a lot of it was like what was happening in the arena during the entire thing, which I can't help. That's immediately what I do. Just like, oh, okay, I like that we chose to do this. I like that we chose to do this. Who's benefiting from this? Like that, watching him like kind of break down stuff, and then the team was really cool. We're very thankful for him and everything. He was cool on the show yesterday.
Very awesome.
Dude's a multi-billionaire.
Great golfer, too.
Great golfer.
Peppered those greens back there.
Didn't hit one in, though. Didn't put one in.
Yeah, it's tough to put one in there. You got to bounce it just right, I feel like.
Also, the Indiana winds were howling.
Was that a real shot you guys popped up of the wind?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have like a live streaming camera out there. You should, though, like a weather station.
Well, we actually did yesterday because there was potentially a thought of him going out there and hitting it live, but didn't want to do a dance monkey thing to a billionaire.
Yeah. Right, makes sense.
So we just chose it. Yeah, he hit let's say he hit 50 balls. He was within 4 or 5 feet a bunch of times. It's only the width of the entire green, 10 feet there.
Mm-hmm.
So if
tiny,
you gotta be pretty close.
He was so consistent too,
and he was.
You can see all these other ones.
He said
just
he's a
sitting in the
2,
rock,
right?
too.
Yeah, it was a very funny thing because with the way the jet stream was, if you hit it high, it was probably a 40-yard draw, like right to left. If you hit it high, it was going to move a lot. If you hit it low, it was only like a 10-yard thing. So he started peppering like stingers in there, started flopping them up high. He was like, oh, this guy, actual golfer.
Yeah.
Couldn't hit a hole in one, though. Ain't that right, Foxy?
That's right. Even though he went for the 100-yarder, which is much tougher than the 75-yarder.
You can leave that stat out. Hey, Ryan, thank you for the hospitality. And congrats to the Pacers. Hour 3 of this program will continue on YouTube and ESPN+. Big shout out to Saban. Big shout out to Charles Woodson. Jeff Monken joins us in the next hour. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. We'll see you tomorrow. Whoa. Boom.
Yeah.
Came out of nowhere.
So you when you knock it out of the park here, you're swinging left-handed. When you took BP a couple weeks ago, it was right-handed, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it feels better here.
Mm-hmm. You're switch hitter, but your power side is the right side, I guess.
Yeah, my body reacts better though here.
Sure.
You know, body reacts better. A lot more wood on it when I'm going this way. You know, this way it's a lot of slapping.
More of a contact guy.
A lot of slapping. I'm like Ichiro. Even though I saw him pull one 462 the other day.
Oh yeah, Ichiro used to say he could hit a homer every time if he wanted to, but he's fucking hitting for average out there.
Wouldn't a home run count as a hit?
Well, it would, but, solo dingers, like, if you got big bats behind you, we need to get on base.
So isn't he the big bat then if he hits a home run every time?
No, because he's batting leadoff. So his job isn't to hit a homer every time, it's to get on base.
But if you had a guy who can hit
They
a home
wouldn't
run,
be upset, though. They wouldn't be upset with a homer.
No, they wouldn't. Ichiro never said that. That's what people who played with him said. Like, hey, if Ichiro wanted to hit a homer every time, he probably could.
I don't understand baseball.
What are we doing?
I don't.
Man,
I just don't get it.
Just let the guy hit fourth if he's gonna hit 50 dingers.
He's
a
the
year.
big bat.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
Nothing wrong with slapping the ball the other way.
Boom.
What do you want? Bunts, Grandpa?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, you're not getting enough singles.
800 on base percentage will do, my friends.
Is that Ichiro?
Oh yeah,
800.
Guy was unbelievable.
Did they ever come close to win the World Series when he was there?
No.
They won 116 games and lost in the first round to the Yankees.
Jeez.
Sorry for letting you know, AJ.
Yeah,
relax.
Oh, no,
Let
I'm
me
saying
finish.
regular season means nothing. We know that.
No, he was adding on to your stat. He wasn't bullshitting your stat.
I wasn't knocking you down, Goop. You know that.
Yeah. He'll pick you back up.
Like a real hawk.
Hey,
We know you lowered the standards for your Dolphins squad, too, and you're going to be happy with just a playoff berth, it sounds like.
That's right. Look at you.
Just worry about the Packers, AJ. How they doing?
Whoa.
I don't know. Not that great right now, Goop.
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
not sitting here. I didn't lower my standard like you did for your squad.
When did I ever lower my standards?
When he said, we're pretty happy, though, at 5-3 or whatever they were.
I said I was happy at the top of the AFC East. I don't see a problem with
He
that.
said, I got a lot of relief syndrome over here, guys.
Jeez, Miss Terry. Miss Terry, part of the problem. Gumpy, another one.
Hawk and Gump going at it today was not on my bingo card.
I'm a Gump and JJ.
Oh, my God. That's a nice little rivalry we got.
That is starting to bud a little
Budding
bit.
rivalry.
That's good. We got to send you guys to a game.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yes.
Q and JJ, and you just going, what do we do?
Yeah,
They got a tough schedule coming up.
We got Arsenal this weekend.
Then they got international break, and then they got West Ham.
International break. None of their players are playing international, right?
No chance.
No, they should be fresh.
That's good. They got 2 bye weeks.
Yeah.
Right in the international break, 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they got 2 bye weeks coming up. Let's figure out how to play soccer.
Come on, Vince.
I mean, Burnley couldn't beat Toronto FC right now. Like, I think they might be a mid-tier MLS team. So I don't know why we have these great expectations of grandeur. Like they're gonna go win the Premier League.
We're trying to up
Yeah, we just
doing, man.
the Clarets just got to get out of the bottom 3. I mean, that's all you have to do. You just have to stay in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Chariots?
Clarets.
Well, until they win, who cares?
Like the jug.
Clarets. Clarets. Clarets.
His name's Clarence. Got some real nice parents.
Who won the Care About Cup?
Still going on.
Still happening.
Who gives a fuck? Are you kidding me?
Oh, you want to talk a little soccer real quick?
Sure.
New England Revolution, dead.
Yeah.
Not alive.
I mean, just say, what a season by the boys. I mean, no one had us going to the playoffs. Everyone thought the Revs can't run it back and go to the MLS Cup. There's no way. And here we were, just doing what we do.
You lost to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And the Philly team. We talk about tough barns sometimes. You go play soccer in Philly, you think that they get rowdy for Eagles games. Oh, you should see what Philly FC's fans do because they get wild.
The Union, the Philadelphia Union.
I said it to you in the answer.
So I know I forgot what you said.
Oh, because you were just getting so ramped up about how rumpus of an atmosphere it is.
Exactly, and how proud of the boys I am.
Well, and Tony Miola was on the call, too, so the refs probably got a little nervous.
Yeah, well, absolutely. How could you not? When Tony Miola is speaking for your game, it's kind of like playing in front of Al Michael and God himself, because that's who Tony Miola is in the MLS world.
Well, speaking of Thursday Night Football, when you say Al Michael and God, because anytime Al Michael's on the mic, we assume God isn't far away.
Amen.
True.
You know, that's kind of...
And a great tie.
Do you believe in miracle? Well, no tie last week.
Boy, if he doesn't this week, Lombardi might jump off the boardwalk in Jersey.
There's a nice pier there. You could probably find him.
Beautiful pier.
Couple shocks.
Yeah, a couple shocks.
They got shocks out there.
Scary shacks.
Northeast shocks live in the cold water, so they're a little bit more mean.
Yeah, true.
That's what they say.
Colder blood, too.
You know what I'm saying, AJ?
Are they more mean, or is it? I know the water is less clear, right? So it's tough.
It's foggy, it's colder.
Yeah.
So they just start attacking surfers and different people all the time, right?
Yeah, I was in North Carolina one time. Atlantic Beach, North Carolina, I think was the name. There's Atlantic beaches everywhere because it's Atlantic Ocean, obviously. But it was in North Carolina, small little town.
Yeah.
And we go out into the water, and all of a sudden you see everybody like on the thing, like doing one of these numbers. That's a weird feeling.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
I bet.
You know, when you see the
Terrifying.
rolling right by you there, it's like, holy. I was out there. I was in shark-infested waters. And
So what'd you do? Run in so I could just get out of there quick?
Full, we're talking.
Were you pulling old ladies back behind you so they were behind you and you were in front?
I was no hero that day, but there was not a lot of people in the water, I will say. There was not a lot of people in the water. We were one of the only people out there because we were doofuses. My friend Angelo, used to stay out there and try to swim with him. I'm like, you're
bold move.
Was he going to punch it in the nose and stab his eyeball? Isn't that what people try to do?
I assume that was the mindset, but you can't see. It's the water's foggy, so you have no idea what you're punching. You could be punching
only clear water.
Yeah, you got to drag that shark. Drag him on the beach and get him where you have the advantage. Don't go in deep waters with him.
Yeah, that's where I was heading back. You want a piece of me? I'm going back.
Come get it.
But as I was running to the place to fight the shark, not from the shark.
Sure.
I was trying to be as big as possible.
The meetup spot, yeah.
That's how you gotta do
hey,
it.
meet me at the woods at 3. We're gonna fight like back in the day. Yeah, hey, meet me on the beach, bud.
Thrashing around wildly in the water.
Yeah, I was trying to be as loud as
That's
big as.
exactly what you want to do when a shark is
If you're
near
getting
you.
out,
I didn't know if it was a brown bear or a black bear. Soon,
True,
right?
true.
Because if it's a brown,
hammerhead.
you're supposed to stay away, act dead, and then other ones you're supposed to. I didn't know if I was supposed to. That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to rar them. You know what I mean?
Which shark species do I play dead for in the water?
Tiger sharks. They are notoriously mean and very aggressive.
Who?
Tiger sharks.
Are they in North Carolina potentially?
You might have seen one or two out there. Yeah.
They only like humans that are alive.
They like fat ones, I think. I don't know why.
So just float face down.
That was so dumb. Jesus.
Speaking of not fat, that Bill Belichick video is disgusting.
He did push-ups on the bottom of that stoop I saw in the extended video. I don't know why people are saying this.
Did you see the dips he did at the top of the steps too? When he
was
came
doing an
back up?
outdoor workout.
I do not like that this was released, but since it was, we have to talk about.
He's just looking for the paper. That's all he's doing.
He's got the back of the Rock.
Yeah, he's a unit. This dude's 70+ years old. He just eyeballed a guy on the deck
When he
next
turns
door.
his back there, why do you smell his fingers?
You know
John
why?
Hamm? Come on.
You know why?
So what? Where does it go from there?
He's about to pick that car up, I think.
Exactly.
He's about to save some babies from a burning fire.
Well, it's a
100%.
Make-A-Wish event.
Right.
Yep.
Yes.
People forget, Doesn't have to just be terrible things all the time.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Big breath. Big, deep breath.
That's because it was that New England era.
Yeah, exactly.
Little chowder.
And plus, there are multiple Make-A-Wish events, in Massachusetts, especially when Belichick's around.
Well, they say you said it was in Rhode Island.
Yeah, or Rhode Island, wherever the hell it was, because he makes wishes.
Will you
come
New
true.
England people please get your story straight?
Well, I'm still trying to figure out where it was. We know it wasn't this week, but it's kind of trying to narrow it down because in Nantucket he's got quite the property. and there are not neighbors that close. So you can kind of rule out Nantucket unless he did an away game, which, again, Belichick on the road, just as impressive at home. But,
he could be dog sitting for somebody, couldn't he? Be dog sitting or watching the house?
Someone sitting on his
Could be with his
dog.
kids. I mean,
like raw dog.
Yeah.
Think.
That's what people are saying. That's not what we're saying.
True. I never thought of that.
That's not what we're saying.
I haven't seen a man leave the house in khakis with no tarp on in quite some time.
Belt on, too. Had to do something.
Yeah.
Oh, we know what he was doing. We know what he was doing.
Yeah, he was teaching the boys.
Wine and
Actually, I think he was potentially. Don't know about that.
69.
We heard you.
Okay. Just making sure I finished it.
You know that slap thing that we saw?
Oh, yeah.
That's
the event.
That is actually what the Belichicks do whenever it's just the boys and Bill, you know? So he was actually teaching them how to do the slap, which...
He needed a little break because the boys are so young and spry and full of piss and vinegar, they were really marking him up.
That's why he was so... Because he was just getting his chest pounded.
Yeah. Those were the marks on his back. I thought they looked more like scratches to me, but...
Well, both, okay? We're not ruling out the first one.
What an invasion of privacy.
This is the worst. We are so mad that this is out. But now that it is, we would like to provide other stories potentially for Bill.
Right.
Yes.
Let's get to a break.
I like the spark plug story the best.
He's changing a car. He's fixing a car.
Yeah.
For his kid.
Might have saw someone squatting. You mentioned that too. Had to go over and, put on 315.
Yeah.
Maybe he's getting a little sun. Sorry about it. Vitamin D. I thought you were supposed to be healthy.
Yeah. He hates shirts. What's wrong with that?
What's that, AJ?
Are we going to break? Who's the next guest?
Coach Chuck McGaughan is going to be here for the final hour. Coach Monken's going to be here. We got honorable men joining us.
Is Chuck in studio or no?
Oh, yeah.
Where is he? Is he hiding in the back? What's going on?
Just got here.
Oh, okay.
Will be. I cannot wait to talk to him. What is he, 7-2?
Yeah. Balling.
Cannot wait. Let's win. Let's win.
Come on.
AJ. Tonight's
We're
game,
going to.
People need to care about. People need to care about tonight's
Take
game.
the over. Take the over.
All right. That's one.
It's going to exceed our expectations.
All right, let's go to a break. We'll be back on the other side. Lamar chit-chatting about where he is as a quarterback is awesome. And as a leader, it's nice to see him fully develop. He's getting mic'd ups now. We need to see more of that. He's awesome. There's an Eagles fan that is certainly making the rounds, who happens to be a cop who I think was in the middle of pulling somebody over.
Yeah.
And obviously he motivated the boys. And Jason Kelsey said that they actually played this caller's in the team meeting.
That's awesome.
Nick Sirianni said, I'm done motivating. Listen to this guy. We hate the Dallas Cowboys. There's so much good taking place. We'll chat about it all on the other side. Be a friend. Tell a friend something nice. Take 5.
What's up, y'all? This is Pacman Jones, and we're back with another session of Undercover Dog. He's an undercover dog. He's an undercover dog for sure. My first dog is Cam Taylor-Britt. Leads the team in interception with 3. Have 1 for a pick 6 and have a forced fumble in 8 games. Ooh, good play, my boy. Look at that. He's really good when the ball is in the air. Cam Taylor-Britt, number 29. My second undercover dog is Tank Dell. 48 catches, 454 yards, and 4 touchdowns in the first 8 games. He had 6 receptions for 114 yards, led him down the field, and caught the game-winning touchdown. My third undercover dog is Keaton Mitchell, the son of Anthony Mitchell.
Blocked again and picked off. He can run it. Look out, Anthony Mitchell. Anthony Mitchell at the 50. And Mitchell is going to go all the way for a Baltimore touchdown.
9 carries, 138 yards, and a touchdown. First game getting to touch the rock in the NFL. That's why he's my third undercover dog. Y'all make sure, use the hashtag undercover dog and help me out and pick more undercover dogs. These are for guys who don't get the recognition that some of the bigger names get. He's an undercover dog. He's an undercover dog for sure.
Let me tell you a little story about these statistics. Troy Polamalu, okay? Fucking Troy Polamalu. So we had a fake for the Pittsburgh Steelers that was a 100%er. We didn't even have a cancel the goddamn play because it was a 100%er. If we ever end up in this situation, inside the 7-yard line on the left hash,
It is a 100%er that the C gap will be wide open and we will just part the C to the left. It'll be a touchdown. 100%er. We're playing in Pittsburgh, the city I grew up in. I grew up in Pittsburgh. I won the punt, pass, and kick national championship, AJ. National championship, AJ.
Congrats.
AJ, did you ever win the national championship, punt, pass, and kick?
I think I got 3rd or 4th out of 4 at the Nationals.
I'm proud of you, man. Anyways, so we're there in that stadium, okay? A lot of McAfee's in there. A lot of McAfee's in Pittsburgh. I'm going to score my first fucking touchdown, night game, Sunday Night Football, I believe it was, right here, touchdown. We get into that situation, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is really going to happen. We're like on the 6, on the left hash. It's 4th and goal now. Field goal team's jogging on. I'm like, well, fuck, it's about to, I'm ready. I am ready for this to happen. So I get out there. I get down. Vinny's like happy for me. Vinny's like very excited. He's like, let's fucking go. Like Vinny's excited for me at this moment. I'm like, here we go. So I make the call. I forget what it was. So I start saying it, right? And everybody's looking at me like, okay, bright eyes. Here we go. Let's get after it. Offensive linemen are dead ass tired. They do not want to be in the middle of a field goal anyways. So they're just like, all right, I don't give a fuck if you die here, but this should work. Let's get some points. And all of a sudden, I go through my cadence, I call it, I get down, and Troy Polamalu's fucking ass goes ahead for however long his career was at this point. I think it was like 9 years or 8 years at this point. Not a once has he ever gone to this side of the field over here to the left and stood right in the C gap. Never. He lined up exactly where he had lined in film 100% of the time. And then as soon as I got to like the second cadence right before set, he just bounced his little ass right over to the C gap. And I like stopped everything I was doing and I literally just looked at him. And I gave him like a, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, why are you there right now? And then I stood up and said, we are kicking it. We have to kick it. We are kicking this. And then I get down, and Vinatieri kicks it, and I jog off the field, and Chuck Pagano comes running up next to me. He's like, hey, good job. What'd you see? I said, what did I see? Polamalu just fucking went right into the goddamn C gap. What did I see? What did I see? And he goes, okay, sounds good. Good call then. Good call then. And then Vinatieri's like, hey, way to go, buddy. I'm like, way to go? Are we not going to talk about how big of a fucking asshole Troy Polamalu is for what just happened right there? So that's.
I saw the angel of death waiting for me in the C gap.
It's unbelievable. What, you thought I was going to run him over? No way. He's probably going to strip me and score a touchdown the other fucking. That's Polamalu, bro. That ain't just your backyard football with your son. These are professional fucking athletes. He'd probably jump over the lineman, pick me up, and run me into the other fucking end zone if he wanted to. That's what he would have done.
The hard-hitting safety of his generation, too. I mean, Ed Reed, great cover safety. I don't know that you would have feared him, but
Ed Reed, I would have feared Ed Reed. Yeah, if I saw Ed Reed in that C gap, absolutely. E.D. Reed, boy, the best safety you ever seen, boy. I ain't doing shit to Ed Reed.
No, Ed Reed would have made the tackle. I'm saying that Polamalu would have shaved years off your life.
Oh, my God. Don't break the table, obviously.
I just break shit.
Sorry, man. Somebody came sprinting behind the barrier and tried to spear him.
I fucking dare somebody. Oh, no! I dare the next fool. Ass kicking. What? Saudi Arabia. What? Riyadh. What? Taking a jet plane. What? All the way there. What? All the way back. What? On the way back. What? WWE champion. What? Like a champion. Hell yeah! Guys destroyed our shit. Hey.
Why?
Let's go.
This show sticks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for. The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, you pig! Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Sport! Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Coach
Thursday, November 9th, 2023. Hour 3 of this program starts now.
Football
is happening tonight. Week 10 of the NFL season is here. We cannot wait to dive in. That's AJ Hawk. The Talk Show Table is here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. Oh, I see a little kitty cat on your chest.
Yeah, I actually looked up the name just because I wanted to get it right. It is the Kitty Kraken is what the shirt is called. I screwed that up last time.
Oh, like the Seattle Kitty Kraken.
Yeah, bingo. Exact same thing. Yeah, it's killing a bunch of people on this boat.
Call him Dahn, Kitty. Unless there's bad people on a boat.
Exactly.
We have no idea if there's bad people on a boat.
They probably are.
Yeah, we assume.
Pedos in there, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's
a
a
bunch of
pedo
pedophiles
boat.
on that
They're
boat.
pirates.
Yeah, thank you to that Kitty Kraken.
Yeah, it's like the
Thank you, Kitty Kraken.
Old Epstein is the captain of the ship.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. I mean, we don't know. Yeah, that's why the cat's...
from like the 40s or whatever.
One half of the Hammer down. Cowboys Turn Diggs is here. And joining us live, it's about to be a lot of this man. And the reason that we saved him for the last hour is because in the last couple weeks, we've been so loaded with guests, we don't get a chance to chat with him as much. Now, although we do have a guest, this dude's about to get peppered. 36 years as a football coach, 18 in college, 18 in the NFL. Coach Chuck Pagano.
Baby Chuck!
And joining us is a man who is the head coach of Army. And this past weekend against Air Force, let me read off these stats. It's their first win over an AP-ranked opponent since 1972.
Hell yeah.
Whoa.
They've beat Air Force 5 of the last 7. It was also Army's first win of 20-plus points versus an AP-ranked team ever. They're also moving in to a conference after this season. Ladies and gentlemen, the head football coach at Army, Coach Monken.
Yeah, Coach.
Coach, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks, gentlemen. That cat on that T-shirt is an Army cat taking down a Navy ship.
Amen, Coach.
I like that.
I think I saw the Army on the collar on that.
Yeah, the cat's a dog.
That's right.
For all intents and purposes in this particular conversation, as are you, Coach. You've been in the Army, obviously, a long time. You have a massive win over Air Force. Can you talk about the program a little bit? Obviously, we're staring down going to a conference next year. How does that change things for you? And is Army able to recruit? I don't think I fully understand how the military schools operate when it comes to finding talent.
We don't have enough time probably on this show to fully dive into that, but I think the move to the American is going to be good for us. We've valued our independence for a long time here. We've been able to play teams from all across the country, major conferences, group of 5 conferences, and our schedule really changes from year to year. And I think there's really an appeal to that. It has given us a platform to be on a national stage. We played a lot of the Power 5 teams over the 10 years I've been here. Ohio State, Michigan, Oklahoma, Duke, Notre Dame, you name it, West Virginia, Missouri, Wisconsin. And that's a great experience for our players. But it's also challenging. We played LSU 2 weeks ago. That's the most talented team I've ever seen in my life. So not that the American's going to be an easy league. They got a bunch of great teams. Those are great universities, and we're thrilled for the opportunity to join that league. But as for this season, we're limping through a little bit. We've had a lot of success here, as you mentioned. We've won a lot of football games, and we hit a stretch this year, and it's the toughest stretch that I've faced as the head coach here. UTSA, who won Conference USA 2 years in a row, Syracuse, Boston College, Troy, who won the Sun Belt last year and may win it again this year, and LSU. That's a bugger. And we had a tough stretch there, but a big win this past weekend. And those academy games are unreal. That just the intensity of those rivalries and how bad the two teams want to win. I was really proud of our team. It was a great win for us.
Hell yeah. Go ahead, AJ.
Coach, can you explain a little bit for people like I really don't have any idea. I've had friends that have played at service academies, but I know there's so many other things that your players have to deal with and they're mandatory obligations. Like, how is it kind of navigating around that and kind of finding your schedule and when you can have the guys and when you can work with them?
Well, we don't operate any different than anybody else does, really, conceptually. We get meeting time with our guys, lifting time with our guys, practice time, and we're able to maximize the hours that we're permitted. What's different is all of the other stuff that our guys have going on. Not that other football players don't go to school and have obligations outside of the football building, but our guys are up every morning at 5:30 for an inspection. They've got class all morning. There's a lunch inspection that they have to be at. the entire Corps of Cadets lines up in formation before they file into the mess hall for lunch. They typically have classes in the afternoon before they come up here. And I mean, guys are racing to get to the bus for, they got 30 minutes, which is about, I guess that's about a lifetime for these guys around here to have 30 minutes of time. But they jump on the bus or they run up the hill and they're dressed and ready to go for meetings or lift at 2:30 in the afternoon. Classes let out for them at 2. And then we hold them here for our time. And it's a challenge. We don't get those extra hours. They don't get those extra moments in the day where they can catch a nap or get treatment if they're injured and those kinds of things. So there's some unique challenges, and we got guys that not only are they getting up at 5:30 in the morning, some of them are doing survival swimmings or combatives or boxing, things like that during the course of the day before they ever make it up here for practice. So it's pretty unique. But yeah, as I said, I've been here 10 years, and you just kind of find your way and you figure out how to make it all work. And it's really, the credit goes to our players. They're tough and resilient, and they figure it out.
Hell yeah, they're signing up to represent the United States if we ever need them, and we're very grateful for that. Absolute badasses, all of them. Much more courage than I could ever have. So whenever you talk about like Stanford's trying to find like Stanford guys, and like Michigan's trying to find like Michigan guys. Now, what does that mean? I mean, Connor Stallion certainly took that to a whole nother level. But whenever you're trying to find like guys that are going to be good Army, like how do you recruit? Like how do you find Army guys? Because you got to be able to handle what 5:30 a.m. every single day. You're going to be getting checked. You got to be a military, but you also have to be a good football player. How do you find that? How do you balance the recruiting, or is it mostly the Army doing the recruiting, and then you just kind of figure out who's coming and can play football?
I think there's a perception from some people out there that we just gather these lists from people that are interested in joining the military or going to the Army, and it's completely opposite from that. We do our recruiting like everybody else. We try to identify players that we think can contribute to our team and play at this level and be competitive. That's number one. If they can't, then we're not going to recruit those guys. But once we discover a guy that we think has the ability to be able to help our football team, then we do a pretty deep dive into their academics. This is one of the most challenging academic schools in the country, and the rigors here academically are real. And so our guys are taking anywhere from 18 to 22 hours a semester, in comparison with a lot of places where the minimum is 12 and guys take 12 hours, and which is great. So our guys have a lot more on their plate. So they got to be able to handle it academically. We look for guys that are leaders in their schools, leaders in their communities, captains of their team. And then I want to find a guy that's got all those things going for him, but I want somebody that's tough, somebody that's competitive, somebody that's a winner. And so we do a lot of research with high school coaches, guidance counselors, teachers, anybody that's closely related with those prospects, and really find out if they're the right kind of guy for our program. And we feel like if they're the right kind of guy for our program, then they're going to be a good fit as a West Pointer and as an Army officer. So I think that the mission of this academy and the mission of our program, the values of our Army and what we value as a football program are right in line. And so I'm really proud of the guys we got in our program, and I'm particularly proud of seeing those guys go out and serve and seeing what they do in the Army when they're done here.
Yeah, save America.
Yep.
Hey, let's see if you can run a nice third and short, but also in about 3 years from now, we're also going to be dropping your ass in the middle of Fallujah. Need to, you know what I mean? Need to do that thing. It's I went to West Virginia, so the academics. Not necessarily there. 12 hours every semester. Let's go ahead and move that. But then you're also expecting these guys to potentially be able to run 4.4s. It's a bananas thing. You got your work cut out for you. Love the record you've been able to build down there and the teams. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Coach, with all the things you just said about the players that you get, it sounds like you just got fucking dogs across the board when it comes to your players. And obviously to go to West Point, you have to be an absolute weapon of mass destruction just to sign that line. And I'm sure because of that, adding in football just kind of reiterates the fact of how committed these kids are and how much they do want to play football. Because of that, is it easier or harder to motivate the team? Because, when you're talking about football, a lot of coaches, they used to, at least the ones that I played for, used to kind of, make the analogy of win every battle, you win the war, things like that. When you're talking to your players, they are actually gonna go to war. So is there a difference in that when you're motivating them, especially when you think about the other teams that you have coached for in the past?
Our guys are tough, and
yeah,
and that I value that in them more than anything. We don't ever claim to be more talented than the teams we're playing. And it doesn't mean we're void of talent. We got some talented players, but to out talent another football team at the FBS level, that doesn't happen very often here. And that's just being frank. Our guys got to be tougher. They got to be more fundamentally sound. They got to play together. They got to play their assignments, and they got to battle to the end. And I think this place, West Point, really it forges a toughness in people that are here. And that's good. It's good for our program. But I think in our program and what we challenge our guys to do to take on big teams like LSU and Boston College and Ohio State and Notre Dame and people like that. And our guys have battled with them. We've gone toe to toe with some really great football teams. And it's a toughness that's part of this culture in this program. And it's because of who those guys are. But the motivation really for our players comes from the bonds of brotherhood that they build when they're here. It's a shared experience. It's unlike any other college. I mean, they're going through the 5:30 a.m. inspections and the drills and wearing a uniform every day. They go out in the summers, and part of our summer training is they spend time in the field playing Army. I mean, they're out there in camo and got the stuff all over their face, and they're running around shooting at bad guys and learning to be soldiers and leading soldiers. And you sleep out in the woods for 3 weeks and you're eating MREs, which if you don't know what an MRE is,
oh, so good, so delicious.
Yeah, it's a plastic bag lunch and breakfast and dinner too, and it's not easy. And nothing about this experience is easy. But West Point wasn't designed to be easy. It's designed to be tough. Tough people, to put them out and lead other tough people, the people that we need to do the jobs that most of us aren't willing or able to do to defend the freedoms that we enjoy. So it's an incredible group of guys. They play really hard for each other. There's a genuine love and trust for each other in our locker room, and that motivates them. And they're also 20-year-old young men. Sometimes they need a little extra motivation, and that's why they got us.
Yeah, hell yeah. And it sounds like we're lucky we got them. Mm-hmm. Hey, what are we doing cardio today? War. We're doing war today.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, that's cardio.
Sweet.
Yeah, survive for the next 14 hours.
Oh.
Okay, we're running 110s. Well, we're going to war today, so let's enjoy it. What a crew, what a special bunch. Last question here from Coach Chuck Pagano.
Hey, Coach, how you doing? Massive respect for you and what you've done throughout your coaching career. You grew up in a coaching family. I did as well. I don't know if you played for your dad. I know your dad, Mike, was a football coach. Brother was a coach. Your cousin, Todd, is the offensive coordinator over at the Ravens. Shout out to him. Had beers with him, by the way, at the pool in Bellagio a couple summers ago in Vegas. Great
beer drinker.
Great dude. Great beer drinker. Yeah, he's awesome. But I was just wondering what it was like, because I had such a great experience growing up in a football family, playing for my dad, all that kind of stuff, and wonder what your experience was like. And my dad tried to talk me out of it, tried to talk my little brother out of the coaching deal, said this is no life you want to lead. But what was that like for you? And was there ever a point, before you became a coach, you wanted to consider doing anything else?
Coach, you and I grew up exactly the same. I never wanted to do anything else, never considered doing anything else. My parents tried to talk me out of it too. My dad was my high school coach, and I had a great life growing up from when I was a little boy, handing out equipment in preseason and mixing Gatorade on the sideline and traveling on the school bus to games. I had a great life, and I just never wanted to do anything else. I was fortunate that there was Division III football, and because if there was Division IV, I'd have had to play Division IV. But I had a great experience in college football, and Carl Pelker was my coach at Millikan University, and he was very encouraging and really encouraged me to follow that dream to be a coach. And so I've man, I've had a great life. And my dad was one of 5 boys in his family, all high school coaches in the state of Illinois when I was growing up. 7 of us were sons of those 5 brothers, went into the coaching profession. So we either weren't smart enough to do anything else, which is probably the case, but we just had such a great experience with our dads and love the game and love what it does for people. And so I love your stories because they're exactly the same as mine.
Hey, football families are a beautiful thing, just like the sport of football, bringing people together. And the boys that you have playing football, please send our thanks to all of them for not only what they're doing now, but obviously what they're going to do for all of us in the future. Coach, have a great rest of the way. Good luck in the conference transition.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate the opportunity. Beat Navy.
Oh, hey, Gillette Stadium.
Hell yeah.
That's a big one, right? These are big. That's a big one. Army Navy, that's a big one. Are we already preparing for it?
Heck yeah. Every day. I don't apologize for that. We try to beat those guys every day around here.
Hell yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Jeff Monken.
Yeah, Coach.
I love to hear that.
Yeah. Not fucking around.
We're like a month out.
Yeah, let's go.
I think it's like a month out.
Yeah.
We've been preparing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know when we had LSU on the schedule? Yeah, we were certainly preparing for LSU. See also some Navy plays in here. Got a big one at the end. Awesome. Football family's a real deal, though. You guys that grow up in it obviously have that sort of itch for it. That's why you never see you guys retire. I love that the sport of football can do that for a whole family, though.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Just like Coach said, I mean, there was nothing else that I ever even thought about wanting to do. I went to Wyoming, another great academic institution. You know, didn't have to take 22 hours a semester. I think we could take 6 back then, but anyway, yeah, never wanted to do anything else. Growing up the way, Coach described it, in the locker room, picking up jocks and socks and all that, riding the buses, that's all so real. And, my dad, just like his, hey, you don't want to do this. You got a degree in business. Why don't you? I got a buddy downtown Denver. He's at a big, mortgage firm or lending firm or whatever, and I can get you right in there. And I'm like, no, sir. No, that is not for me. I'm not sitting behind a desk.
It's Coach Sirianni, the winner of our first ever coach of the mid-year Midi. Mm-hmm. His dad was obviously a coach, and his dad's whole trenches mentality is the reason why the Philadelphia Eagles are built the way they are. Let's talk about coaches that don't win Middies. Let's talk about coaches that are in a bad spot. Coach Pagano, obviously 18 years in the NFL, 18 years in college. You've seen your fair share of we're fucked moments. Have you ever heard one more clear as day than this Coach Eberflus press conference talking about this Thursday night matchup that is this evening? Here's Coach Matt Eberflus of the Chicago Bears talking about the current situation with Justin Fields, quarterback, and his thumb.
Like you said, he's not medically cleared to go right now, and he's getting better, though. I mean, he's accuracy's improving, he's throwing it better, and he's starting to do more and more and more. So we'll see where it goes. And right now we're listing him as doubtful, and we'll see where it goes from there.
If he's not medically cleared, well, how come doubtful versus out?
Yeah, just to see. We got to give him one more day. But he's he's working hard, and it's getting better every day. So we'll see where it goes.
He's not playing tomorrow.
Yeah, he's not playing.
Whoa. He's doubtful, but
What are they telling you?
What's that?
What is the medical staff
Excuse me?
telling you in terms of why they haven't given him the clearance?
Yeah, it's
Another
really just
follow-up?
the clearance is just obviously he's got to be cleared to play within the medical staff.
Okay.
And so it's really about him feeling good about it and the medical staff saying that he can go in there and function. And he's just not there at this time.
Is it an issue of grip strength or?
It's everything. It's all improving. The grip strength, the accuracy, the ability to function as a quarterback. It's just it's all right there. It's getting close.
I'm having trouble understanding. He's
explain this to me like on a fifth.
Yeah,
this is journalism.
Is he out or doubtful?
Let's just plead the fifth.
Yeah, now he's listed as doubtful.
But you're saying that he's out. He's not going to play.
We'll see where it goes. The chances are doubtful, 51% that he's in.
What is happening?
That's going to be. We'll see where it is. We got a little time left, but again,
Chuck needs to
clear
translate
him out
this
when
for
he's
us.
out. Right now, we're still listing him as doubtful.
But will he go through any sort of pregame work tomorrow?
He may.
We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Never know.
I mean, that was in a minute 50. That had to feel like a 10-year span for Eberflus up there. That's part of the job they don't talk about. And that's part of the job your dad was probably telling you not to coach for. But what is Eberflus saying there, and what does that mean, you think?
As soon as he said doubtful, right? And then the guy came back and they're peppering him. As soon as he said, yeah, he's out. He's not
playing. Yeah.
all he's thinking from there on out is, God, did I just fuck this thing up? Because now it's AJ. It's like, oh, you're just the whole time he can't even, and then he's trying to buy time. What's that? I can't hear you. Can you repeat the question? He's just in his mind. He's thinking about, okay, the GM, ownership, Virginia McCaskey, the PR team that told him, okay, this is what you say. He's and that's it.
Doubtful.
Stick to your guns. And if they ask you again, is he out? I said he's doubtful. That's all you got to say. So. Yeah, I mean, that poor guy, he couldn't get out of there fast enough. And you just, if they tell you exactly, and I know he was prepared. They got a great PR team over there. Just don't say that. And once he did, you open up Pandora's box.
Because as soon as we see that, then we see these videos from practice where he's just throwing very casually and very comfortably. I mean, same color jersey as McSorley, I believe, at the end of this video. So they're not putting him in any restrictions on the field. Now, he does catch this ball here one-handed, so he doesn't put the thumb on it. So maybe medically he hasn't been cleared.
So the gamesmanship part of it got him a little bit there. Like, hey, we're going to keep him one more day just to keep,
Panthers,
Carolina thinking, maybe they're, oh goddamn, maybe he's going to play. Maybe we're going to see him. The agent, we're ready for the agent. Maybe we're going to see this dude. But it got him.
Yeah, right in the middle of it.
And it's not like he's got a bunch of other shit going on either.
AJ, what do you think? What do you think as you watch that? What do you think this means for not only Eberflus, Justin Fields, the Bears as a whole on a Thursday night football game against Panthers?
Well, I came away somewhat confused from this whole situation, but I think what Chuck hit it perfectly. The second he said, yeah, he's out, instantly he's like, uh-oh, okay. Now he couldn't stop thinking about the whole time. I think all those people were running through his head too that were telling him right before, like the second before he walked up those 2 stairs to that little stage, like, hey, just doubtful. It's all that matters. Just keep it up in the air. It's questionable.
You can literally say anything. Say accuracy, say grip strength, say functional quarterback. Say these are all trigger words. Say them all. Doubtful. And then, is he going to work out? Maybe. We'll see.
Sure.
Just keep it open and as vague as possible. That one guy got him.
Oh, yeah.
So is he playing tomorrow?
No.
He's doubtful. He's doubtful. No, he's not.
No, he's out.
I'm tired of full fucking song.
Coach Rivera voice got him.
Exactly.
I've been standing there before, and people are starting to ask you questions, and like you want to fire back.
Speak the truth.
You can't, and you look out of the corner of your eye, and Avis is sitting over there like, do not, no, hold.
And Conti's like, we prepped.
Yeah.
We prepped for this entire thing. I don't know how this whole thing ends, but I do know. What's that, Ty?
It ends with Eberflus getting shit.
Whoa.
I mean, that's how it ends for sure. But he did a pretty good job. After he says he's out, and then they ask him again, well, 51% he might play.
Maybe.
So,
yeah, doubtful means.
Yeah, what is that? Is that what doubtful supposed to mean, the percentage?
Well, if you're 51% not playing, that would be doubtful. 51% you are playing, that would be probable, just by strictly numbers, right?
Or questionable.
Yeah.
They changed that whole report, remember, a couple years back?
No, I don't.
And because there was questionable, doubtful, this, that. So doubtful was like, you're done.
Yeah.
As soon as you put that, there is no conversation. There is no, practice little period before the game. Hey, we're going to go out 90 minutes before the game. We're going to do a little pregame, see where he's at. That's pretty much out.
Yeah, doubtful means there's still a little bit of hope. Go ahead, Tom.
Like you said, doubtful 51% not playing, questionable 50-50, and probable's 51% playing.
Yeah, easy as that. And he said 51% he's playing, he's not playing.
Yeah.
You do the math, especially with the weather. It's at home, favored by 3.5. You start doing Scott Steiner math there.
Yeah.
That means there's a 110% chance he's not going to play, because if you multiply his accuracy divided by his thumb strength, this guy sucks. This is an entire...
Start getting into math. That'd be real. Yeah, I can't wait for the rest of his pressers. I'm moving forward from here.
Bro, they're favored by 3.5. They are favored. That team right there.
Oh yeah,
favored by 3.5,
and rightfully so
against that Panthers team.
Ooh.
Have you started looking into it a little bit?
Yeah.
How do you feel about Frank Reich? Okay, so Dave Tepper, he just fired his second manager for Charlotte FC in the last 18 months. He has fired 4 coaches, or let go 4 coaches since 2019 for the Panthers. Frank Reich is obviously their head coach now. This particular owner is not patient whenever it comes to who's coaching. I think there's a chance that David Tepper thinks he's a better coach than all of these humans in these sports every time he meets with them. Like Christian Latanzio, there, whenever they were doing a meeting, he would explain like whatever formation they're running in soccer. And David Tepper, that makes no sense. I'm not seeing Messi do that. We need to score more goals. And then what Miguel Angel Almirez said, he laid out this entire offensive scheme and what they were going to do. And he was like, is Cristiano Ronaldo doing that?
No.
This guy the hell out of here.
way.
And then you talk about Ron Rivera. He laid it out. You're gone. Perry Fuel, shut up. Matt Rule, it ain't working. Okay, every single day. Steve Wilkes, it is working, but not the way I want it to work. And then Frank Reich has come out now and said, I got to meet with Dave Tepper every single Monday.
Yep.
What do you think those meetings go like? And how do you think this Frank Reich, Carolina Panthers things go? You would assume that Frank Reich, whenever he went there, and you could tell me if this is true or not, or even possible, he said, I'm going to need time. If we're getting a rookie quarterback and a whole new thing, I'm going to need some patience in a couple years. David Tepper's never been like that as an owner. Is that something that Frank Reich can command? And when you see Frank Reich rocking around on the sideline, does that look like a guy that wants to not get fired or potentially wants to get fired as he's down there at the Carolina Panthers?
I think the way that they play tonight, the way they show up tonight and moving forward is going to play, a lot into this decision that Tepper more than likely is going to make at the end of this year. I mean, he is obviously not scared to move on from a guy. But if it just looks like Detroit, the brand new Lions, right? Think about last year. What'd they start? 1-6, 1-7? Well, what'd they do? They flipped the script, right? So something's got to change here. They got to start being competitive. They got to start winning some games. He got to see this quarterback start being developed. There's got to be something there, and not just this thing totally implode. Because if it just goes south like tonight, if they get beat by 2 scores or more,
and they got Frank zoom in on the tight,
and then
crying,
the energy, it just looks like there's no. If you went to check for a pulse down there right now,
what's Frank thinking? You think Frank's thinking of that meeting with Tepper? You think he's thinking about that meeting on the sideline in those fourth quarters? You think that's what it is?
Yes.
We've heard of that before. That's murder's row too. I mean, I don't think you have to come out publicly and say, "Hey, these ain't fun. This is what's going on, and these ain't fun." Well, we all know they're not fun, but don't tell everybody they're not.
Does it happen everywhere?
No.
Tepper,
no,
though.
but there's other places that had to do that, and you have to explain yourself watch every single rep, offense, defense, special team.
And we can respect that if you want to be hands-on, but let's say you don't know what the hell you're looking at. Then you're just kind of picking apart what headlines are telling you what to be mad about, and I assume that can get a little frustrating, especially with a brand new quarterback. Doesn't look like it's a lot of fun down there in Carolina, but tonight it could change everything, getting 3.5 points on some books, AJ.
You think if they go blow out the Bears, it changes everything?
The Bears, they've been in a couple games.
Yeah. They have.
Yeah. Bears been in a couple games they shouldn't be in.
Hung around. Panthers, too.
The agent's only getting more and more confident. What does that mean for Justin Fields? He's probable, doubtful, he is out. No, he's not playing. Stop asking me follow-up questions. I was not prepared for this. But 3.5 at home is a fascinating one for the Chicago Bears, just because our natural thought is the Bears suck. So what does that mean about the Panthers? These two teams are just hot garbage. Is that what you're thinking, Chuck, after watching the film?
Well, 1-7, 2-7, right? Is that what it is?
Oh yeah, we're battling for top 5.
It's a great opportunity opportunity for a team here, right? Chicago beats these guys. They have a couple picks, right?
Oh yeah.
They have theirs, right? So a lot of incentive. Try to cement,
Well, the good thing about all those coaches, the coaches that are getting those draft picks, they're going to be there for that.
Yeah, of course.
So, hey, you know what I mean, AJ? They know that those draft picks.
They're thinking, hey guys, we go do this. We take care of ourselves for next year. All right, yeah. And the players are like, Coach, you're probably not going to be here. I probably won't even be here either. Coach.
Are we going to be? We're not going to be. I'm probably going to be a Seahawk. What are you?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Eberflus would still be highly sought after on the defense side of the ball if he was to lose his job after this year, right?
He was very successful.
Colts, he was great.
Very successful. Been successful for a long time and called defense for a long time.
You coach at the Bears. You think it's a Bears problem or a coach problem? They've been bad for a long time.
Yeah.
Long time up there.
Yeah, there's other places. I mean, it's just sometimes you get in these ruts.
Where it happens.
The Lion, I mean, again, if you give a guy a chance, you have some patience, you see some growth, you see some things happening. I go back to the Lions again. They were bad for a long time, right, Foxy?
Long time.
Forever, Chuck.
Your whole entire life, you always say on the show, right? Entire life. They sucked. But now they're in a conversation.
All right, Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell.
Good work.
And old Lions teams would have fired Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell after, 2.5 seasons, but they held on to it, and now we're here.
Which they did to Jim Caldwell.
Yes, they did.
Let's chit-chat about the Las Vegas Raiders a little bit, shall we? Devontae Adams came out and spoke a little bit about, the celebration that happened after the game that a lot of people are saying, you guys are 4-5.
Come on.
You guys are 4-5. Here's Devontae Adams, who's been speaking a lot more since Josh McDaniels, although the internet calls him McDumbass, has left the building. Here's Devontae Adams speaking about the celebration after a win.
Well, I don't look at what the cigars thing as something that's not as corporate. I mean, it's definitely different in the middle of the season, but at the end of the day, we don't this building and anybody that's dealt with the type of adversity that we have this year and just the ups and downs and all the negative attention and a lot of drama and stuff, they'll never understand why we had that feeling and why it led to cigars being, lit in the locker room. Obviously, not everybody agrees with it, but you won't last in this league if you care too much about what other people think and how they feel about what you do. You're not a part of this team. It's going to be hard to understand why it was necessary to happen. We're not going to light up cigars every single week, but based off of the changes that were made and the way that this team rallied together, it was definitely warranted for something like that to happen. And now we just got to make it normal. That way we don't have to light cigars in the locker room after regular season wins.
I love that. And Devontae Adams spoke to an NBA ref, and he said, hey, it's getting better now. And the NBA ref was like, it feels that way. You hear Max Crosby talk about the Soul Train line and the vibes coming back. Can it happen for the Raiders? Can something like this galvanize the team to be great for the rest of the year? Or do we think this may be a Jeff Saturday first week as a head coach? They beat the Raiders, and then they go on to lose every single game going forward in record-breaking fashion. What do you expect?
A lot of it seemed a lot like that, right?
Yes.
He won his game, beat the Raiders, gave them Wednesday off. See you Wednesday. That all happened in there. But, no, they got talent. I mean, you got the best wide receiver, one of the best wide receivers in the league. You're a defensive player of the year, right? Mitty.
Which we have
Crosby,
gotten.
which is well deserved.
He gave
that guy.
He gave an acceptance speech. Actually.
Really?
He texted an acceptance speech. He said, "That's love," is what he said. Job isn't finished though. Okay, he's not looking at the MIDI. You should though. These matter, Max.
Yes.
Okay, the MIDIs matter.
Big deal.
Congrats him.
Did he get his NFT though? Did he take that?
Ooh.
I assume.
Yeah, I think that's how he found out that he won the MIDI. And then when it arrived, is this fungible if he prints it?
Yes.
So I know NFT means non-fungible, but we're kind of saying you need to print this NFT.
Frame it.
And hang it in the locker or whatever you're going to do. But he said, job's not finished, which would go along the lines of what Devontae said, where it's, hey, we got to continue to win this, so cigars are just not an abnormal thing.
Yeah, if they don't beat the Jets this week, and they get whacked around by them, then it's just going to be meaningless. They're going to say, this is just another one of these deals. But they have a chance. They got a chance to, go out and win for this guy. Antonio did a wonderful job. I love where he comes from, Champ Kelly, big fan of his. So they go beat the Jets. Then okay. But they got players. They got guys on both sides of the ball. Josh Jacobs. I mean, they got players. They got a rookie quarterback.
And all of them hated McDaniels, it seems like.
Yeah. Big time.
It had to be miserable. It had to be miserable. That in this celebration, everything going on, and Devontae saying, if you weren't here, you don't know, the adversity we've been facing. They were miserable, obviously. It was not a great environment, it sounds like, before.
Yeah, if you would never understand. Is what you would never, if you weren't here, you would never understand why we had to do it. It's almost like the Pete Carroll Seahawks after beating the Broncos. Whenever they beat Russ, whenever he was there, and Pete Carroll said, for the guys that have been here, they know. They know how big of a win this was. Even the guys that weren't here, that were with us before, they know how big of a win. It's like, you guys are saying a lot without saying it exactly.
Yep.
Is that something that can carry the team for the rest of the year, AJ, or is this just a 1 week thing?
We will see. I think it's something that can absolutely energize the team, and that's the tough thing now. How do you make it the norm? How do you make winning, this is what we expect to do. We went from, we got a coach fired mid-season, everyone's down the dumps, and then can we turn this thing around and actually make it run? Yeah, it's possible. It's obviously very difficult to consistently win in the NFL, though.
It is the exact situation with Gruden and Bisaccia too. Very similar times. They both lost to teams they shouldn't have lost to. That was their last game. Then they come back the next week and just kick the shit out of the next team with Rich Bisaccia. This feels like another team where, they're probably going to go, 10-7, 9-8, maybe sneak in the back door and make some noise.
Have you guys been in a locker room? Do you guys ever do in the NFL like they did in Major League, where they had the owner and they had the cutout over, and then every time they won a game, they would peel off a piece of clothing? You think they'll do that with McDaniels, and then at the end of the season, if they make the Super Bowl, his dong's out in the locker room?
Whoa.
I don't know what you're referring to.
I don't know if it has the same kind of
I don't have
reveal that the Major League had.
I don't have a clue what you're talking
Great film. Major League?
It's a great movie.
But what?
Phenomenal.
It's how they rallied around. They hated the owner. It's a great. Honestly, Diggs, it's very relevant here. They rallied around how much they hated the owner, and the owner wanted them to lose. So then they would, after each win, they would take a piece of clothing off of her model right there.
And at the end of the season,
it's disgusting.
She was naked.
What's the team
No,
name?
she wasn't.
What's
I think
the
she had
team
trunks
name?
on.
It's Cleveland Indians.
Cleveland Indians.
Whoa. And what are they doing? Whoa.
Is that Chief Wahoo?
Jeez Louise.
Charlie Sheen.
What the hell is going on in
Boys.
this movie?
It's a great film.
Great stash on that guy.
So she ends up fully nude in the locker room?
Yeah.
Manager.
In a bikini, I think.
Yeah.
And do they win?
Oh, yeah.
The title?
They won the
Spoilers.
pennant.
The piece of metal?
They won the pennant. I don't know if they won the World Series.
Charlie Sheen comes wild day.
Bingo.
He took steroids for that movie too, by the way.
I heard he
say
threw
that?
gas.
Yeah, he does.
Gas.
He's a baseball guy. Like Charlie's a big time baseball dude, so he was really throwing. Like
That's
I heard
what
he
I
threw
heard.
100. I heard he topped out 102 in that movie.
Charlie Sheen?
So, that's another one of those things where he just took it too far. He could have
Well-
said, like, he was throwing 89, and we would all believed it. Like, but
He was throwing high 80s, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he was. I honestly said it hoping that Charlie would get this in a clip and come on the program.
Charlie Sheen?
Yeah. What about him?
2023?
Big time Reds fan.
Has he settled down?
Yeah, is he still doing it? Or?
He's still.
I think he's actually sober now. I've heard him. I think he's sober now.
Nice.
Well, there you go, Charlie.
Good work, Chuck.
Congrats.
That's the way you said that.
What happened for you?
There you go.
I cannot believe he's still.
Yeah.
Still a guy. Yeah.
He was trying to kill himself there publicly.
Oh, yeah.
It appeared there for a bit.
House arrest. He had like 50 hookers over or something.
Porn stars, please.
Sorry, excuse me. Adult film movie stars.
There you go.
I apologize.
Is that illegal?
No.
No.
Excuse
Charlie
me?
Sheen. I mean, the drugs he was doing, I think, probably illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah, in some states.
I think those probably probably not great. Coach, if you happen upon a shower, a couple boys are in there on the team, and they had matching ass tats, how would you respond? How would you motivate the boys? George Kittle, C.J. Beathard, similar ass cheeks from what I've been hearing. Here's a video explaining, please.
What is one thing people should know about George?
He has an ass tattoo of 830 Miller.
So we had a house, 830 Miller. It was a party house. I don't know if you've ever seen Blue Mountain State. It was basically the goat house. It was awesome. Phenomenal. We'd have great times there.
Before we graduate, we have to get a tattoo. We're together, our address.
Yeah, the punter went, then I went. CJ went. It was like $50. It's awesome.
We went that day, the day of graduation, and all three of us got it together. And then we get drafted by the 49ers, and we're in the showers.
I think it was Brian Hoyer walks in. He goes, "Do you guys have the same ass tat?" Well, then like that got out, and so like all the vets were just like, "Why do you guys have matching ass tats?" I was like, we live together. I don't know, man. I'm a weird kid.
Hey, that house, though, was sweet.
Probably
I
won.
couldn't even imagine. Punter was in there, too. You know, it's getting crazy. So, Chuck, you find out that these cheeks are smacking the same way. How do you feel about it as a coach? Coach, what?
I mean,
Coach, how do you feel?
Jesus.
How do you address the team?
Like, how are you going to find? I mean, just because it gets out, I'm on social media and I see this on the like this.
You know, like
clip
Brian
or-
Hoyer told the boys, hey, real quick,
told
check out
Coach.
these ass cheeks.
Yeah, show us
You
your
know,
ass.
Yeah, that certainly made its way around the locker room, the coaches' office, for sure.
To each his own. I mean,
You don't have
Away
You
game.
wouldn't use
Chuck,
it as
that would be an away
those guys-
game, Chuck, right?
huh?
That'd be an away game. You know, it's always kind of awkward on away games when you shower with the coaches. I don't know about you, Pat, but some of the smaller places where
Kansas City,
the head coach, though, I know the head coach at least always had his own one. I know Big Mike was not in there, but the other coaches were always there, and you're kind of shimmying by each other in the small little locker rooms, and then you see your coordinator in there. Like, oh, geez, I'm not used to seeing you in the shower, pal.
Yeah, and then, they got 4 knee replacements, so them moving on wet surfaces, not fantastic with a lot of space.
That's where shower peel comes in handy.
A lot of guys not shower.
Exactly.
Long trip back.
Yeah.
But that's when they could have found these similar ass cheeks, though, Coach. That's when your coaching staff could have been like, you know what we got going on here? Quarterback, tight end, similar ass cheeks. Are you not going to use that as motivation?
They
We got to
still
be as tight as the
scoring.
boys.
Yeah.
At 831 Miller, is that something you can kind of motivate the boys with?
Yeah, I don't know. He's still scoring touchdowns, right?
Yeah,
Catching
George
balls.
was.
Did we know Beathard looked that cool?
I did not know his beard was like that.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Who was the punter that just got no-named?
I'll be honest, I do not remember.
The punter went first? Jesus.
Yeah.
George, that was a roommate. He's got an ass cheek.
Yeah.
Same
Long
as you.
time ago. Yeah, that is kind of weird.
Use his name.
What is the deal?
Probably boozed up when it happened, right?
What?
I'd assume, yeah.
Graduation day?
Sounds like that particular house. They had good times around there.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, the Iowa team was good whenever they were playing?
Yes, they were undefeated. They got beat in the Big Ten championship by Michigan State on like a last-second 16-13. They would have went to the playoff and played Alabama that year.
They had a lot to celebrate then. That's where everybody like at West Virginia is like, you guys burning couches? Like, we're celebrating a lot.
Yeah.
We're winning a lot of games. A basketball team winning a lot of games. Had good times back then.
Yeah, and it was coming off Jake Rudock was the starting quarterback at Iowa, and kind of the same deal. Like, everyone wanted Beathard to start, and then from the time he started, Iowa just kind of ran roughshod over the Big Ten West.
You talked about burning couches after the game. You talked about celebrating after. Winning games is hard. Why are people giving Devontae a hard time for smoking cigars after a game? They smoke them after every game.
Let them live.
Well, and just like anybody that celebrates a midi, let them live.
Yeah, they should celebrate that.
Yeah,
it's hard to win.
Joe Burrow's never going to win a midi, AJ. Just want to let you know that.
Yeah, he might. You never know. Got a long career ahead of him.
He's a closer. He is clearly a closer. The middies aren't cut out for everybody. That's why when you win one, you got to really print it out and put it on the fridge.
Exactly.
Nobody's talking about it.
Hang on to it.
All right, Chuck, let's dive into tonight, shall we? This is a big one.
Huge.
Before we do that, we need Pete Thamel.
Yeah, we do.
It's a rather large piece of news for today.
Massive.
Michigan has responded to Big Ten, the Big Ten Conference as a whole, who laid out a bunch of allegations against them that they have evidence, and they said, you need to explain this stuff before we deliver our punishment or lack of punishment. This has obviously been completely absurd. The things that have been said, the things that have been alleged are out of a movie. This will probably all be a movie someday, numerous ones, including documentaries, but it feels like we're inching closer to some potential finality of it with a Big Ten punishment that would either keep them out of the Big Ten championship, which might keep them out of the college football playoff, might be a suspension of Jim Harbaugh, might be a fine of Jim Harbaugh. We have no idea what's real. We have no clue what is coming down the pipe from the Big Ten, but we do know it's something, allegedly. With that being said, Michigan responded with a 10-page letter, and they never in there seemed to back down at all. We didn't get a chance to read the entire 10 pages, but our guy Pete Thamel did. Pete, what was it in that 10 pages that makes you believe that Michigan either didn't do it or that Michigan feels like they don't deserve to be punished at all? And how do you see it laying out right now as we speak about it, Pete?
Well, Pat, Michigan certainly doesn't think that they should be punished. And I won't bore you with kind of the legalese or the legal minutia that is involved in this, 10-page diatribe that Michigan Athletic Director Ward Manuel sent to Chad Hawley, who is the Senior Vice President of Policy and Compliance for the Big Ten. But again, there are kind of a couple bullet points that really stick out here and could be a thorn in the side to Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti when making a ruling on all this. One is that under the Big Ten bylaws that every Big Ten institution abides by, they can't give the commish unilateral control to kind of make a decision, which is basically what's happening here. All these other coaches and institutions, they want Tony Petitti to kind of fast track some sort of decision so that Michigan has a levied against them, before the end of the season. That's against the Big Ten bylaws. The commissioner does not have unilateral control to make it. So
Michigan said, what are we talking about? You can't even do this.
Exactly.
How about this? You write us a bunch of allegations. We're going to print them out. We'll wipe our ass with them.
Whoa.
You can't do anything.
Exactly. That's basically what they
said. Before we defend ourselves, this isn't even allowed to begin with.
Bingo.
Love that. That's a good start.
Because it needs to go to the chair of the Compliance and Reinstatement Committee first, you see. So there's an appeal process which always takes place in these type of things, and they actually give these schools who are being accused of these different allegations to make an oral presentation and kind of respond to the Joint Group Appeals Committee. The JPAC is what it goes by. Michigan was never afforded that right. They were not allowed to kind of get any of the evidence that the Big Ten alleges to have. They've basically been trying to fast track this from the get-go. And again, that's what Ward Manuel's saying.
That's not what the Big Ten's saying. Also, under Agreement 10 of the Big Ten bylaws, the commissioner of the Big Ten lacks the authority to even punish Jim Harbaugh. So, people are saying, hey, Jim Harbaugh is going to be suspended for the rest of the season potentially. Under Agreement 10, that is not even possible. It's the school that's going to be, receiving these sanctions. So, again, I mentioned it, week before. People want Jim Harbaugh and a pound of flesh. Tony Petitti has no authority to take that flesh. So we'll see where that winds up. One big discrepancy and issue that Michigan also has is, when it comes to levying a punishment, typically, the Big Ten has said, hey, until all of kind of the research and the facts are presented, we'll wait until the very end, and then we'll make our case then. Well, now, basically they want something done at this moment, and then they still said there's possibility, well, if new information comes forward later, we can maybe levy additional punishments at that time. And Michigan is basically saying, hey, listen, that's not how this works. You can't just have kind of a piecemeal punishment and then decide, hey, more information's coming along, so we're going to levy more sanctions as that comes. You're supposed to wait until everything's done, and then you're supposed to.
So it's a lot of, I wasn't supposed to be pulled over to begin with. You found weed in my car illegally.
Exactly, and because you found weed in my car when I wasn't supposed to be pulled over, you can't also say, hey, why are there 12 empty beer cans next to your driver's side window? You can't do that. So, and then a couple other things here, just a few more. The conference has a Rule 32 process that basically suggests that the action here is more reactionary to public pressure, and the pressure being applied from other Big Ten institutions, coaches, schools. So they're basically saying, hey, listen, you asswipes are just kind of caving to public pressure right now and doing what you think is right when you haven't even finished this investigation, okay? Like, there's still, a lot of kind of hay in the barn, if you will, and you guys are basically just saying, no, we already have all our bales of hay, okay? We don't need to go into the barn to get any more, which, as we know, there might be. And again, Michigan is basically saying, you say you have all this, proof that Connor Stallions was on the sidelines at these different places. You have all this video. They haven't presented any of that video to Michigan. And Michigan's supposed to be able to kind of take that video in and respond to it. They haven't, the Big Ten hasn't given any of that video. They haven't made any of that public. So from where Michigan stands right now, it certainly feels like it's a witch hunt. And we mentioned it earlier with Charles Woodson. Board Manual basically said, hey, okay, go ahead, open this can of worms, and then let's see where we're at, in a couple weeks now that more allegations are coming out against, the Ohio States of the world, the Rutgers of the world, the Purdue's, some of these schools who, obviously Ohio State's a blue blood, but some of these other schools who, no one really gives a fuck about Rutgers football. I mean, let's just be honest here. So that's kind of just being thrown to the wind, but so, yeah, the conference is going to have to be – Tony Petitti's going to have to be very careful about setting precedent here because first year on the job, shouldn't have unilateral control over something like this. This could come back and bite him in the ass if he does, seek that pound of flesh from Jim Harbaugh.
Thank you, Ty Pete. Joining us now, actual Pete Thamel. Pete, okay, so
why do you even have me on? I don't even understand. There's no need to have me on anymore.
Okay, well, we need to clear some things up. Although that was
spot on.
That was the takeaway from the 10-page thing from Ty Pete. They're kind of saying, hey, you're not even allowed to punish us with let alone all the evidence that you allegedly have that we haven't seen. You're not even allowed to punish us by the bylaws of the Big Ten. Is that accurate? And what do you think is the next steps of this entire thing with Michigan's response and the Big Ten kind of doing this dance publicly here?
Yeah, so that 10-page letter, Pat, can be distilled in 2 words: process and precedent, right? There is not a lot of argument of fact. So nobody said Connor Stallions didn't have an elaborate spy ring for 3 years, go to 17 stadiums and over 35 games. And, there's obviously evidence that has been passed on about electronics. So a lot of the fact was not argued. And there's an old legal saying, if you can't argue the facts, you argue the law. And so that is, I think, the process part of this is they are saying the Big Ten bylaws don't allow this. Now, someone much smarter than me or someone impersonating me would really have to dive in with and dissect the torts of whether or not I'm not gonna make a legal ruling on that. I've seen the letter, I've read the bylaws, but that is above my very limited legal purview. But that is it's a sincere argument and something that has to be vetted and taken seriously. And then the precedent is the old slippery slope, right? You do this, what happens when this happens? You do this, what happens when this happens? So those are kind of the tent poles of the Michigan letter, and from what I've heard today, it's being digested in Big Ten in Big Ten offices,
absorbed by the Big Ten Conference. And I think there was a lot of thought that maybe a punishment or a ruling would come quick from the Big Ten. Do you still feel that way after the response from Michigan?
So the timeline here, Michigan asked for an extra day. So that went from Tuesday to Wednesday. And now it's hard to say. The one certainty about this Big Ten decision, Pat, is it's likely to make everyone unhappy, right?
Okay.
People from Michigan think any type of punishment would be too much, right? That's why they are dug in. Like the letters that Jim sent and Michigan sent show they are entrenched and hint at potential legal action. Also entrenched are the 13 other schools who've had angry phone calls with the commissioner describing in resplendent detail the schematic advantage by this allegedly illicit scheme that Connor Stalions was the alleged mastermind of. So if it's X amount of games, likely that crew is going to be unhappy as well. So I thought Ty/fake me said it well earlier that there is, it's a precarious position for first-year Commissioner Tony Petitti, because it doesn't seem like there is a consensus building result. Hey, okay, you're going to admit this, meet me here. Okay, you're all angry, we're going to do this, and let's all go together. Mike Slive, God rest his soul, the old SEC commissioner, used to always preach about a unified front on the league. And if there's one thing we can say the last week or so in the Big Ten, it is not a unified front.
Yeah, that is.
I would not want that front blocking for me.
That is for sure. Yeah, 10-4. That front could potentially poke its head out tonight in this Thursday night football game with Bryce Young playing, but that is neither here nor there. Ty Pete has a question for you, Pete.
Yeah, Pete, just curious because, honestly, I can only imagine what your mentions and emails have been like, from Michigan fans over these last, couple weeks since this news with Connor Stalions initially broke. But what would you say to these weasels who are basically saying, hey, listen, we haven't been covering any of the other side of it. We've basically just been chastising Michigan and kind of, gobbling up all these facts about Michigan, but we're kind of alienating the stories that come out, about Ohio State and Purdue and Rutgers kind of colluding together in some of these other schools, and who are basically saying like, oh, well, Pete Thamel's just basically on a witch hunt against Michigan. I personally think that's bullshit. I think you do too. But how would you respond to kind of those allegations against us?
Ty, I can just see you sitting in the meeting room reading my mentions out loud in my voice and everyone on that set cracking up. How often has that happened the last week?
It's been a fun week and a half.
Good time.
It's been fun.
Yeah. So it's a very good question and a valid question, Ty. And what I would say is this: the scheme as alleged that Connor Stalions ran broke NCAA rules. Two of them allegedly, obviously, in-person scouting, which has been in place since 1994, and then use of electronics in scouting. And I remember early on, as this scandal unspooled, I remember Pat saying, once they start taping, once they find evidence of them taping, that's an extra threshold. So
Patriots, that's because the Patriots. It's almost like that's because the Patriots precedent in the football world, pretty much, is what.
Correct.
Two different leagues, though.
Yes. No, correct. I mean, look, I live in Boston. I lived through that, all the gates, but that one in particular, and that the taping. There's an intentionality behind it, and a decisive schematic advantage behind it. So luckily, I don't have to get into PSI and ball deflation like the other gate.
It's bullshit.
But to answer the question, the Big Ten and NCAA have obviously looked at what was alleged in the Purdue, Ohio State, Rutgers situation that was forwarded to the Big Ten, and there's just nothing illegal or against NCAA rules that's in there. So it's two completely different scenarios. And what I've heard essentially is that the NCAA forwarded the Connor Stallion situation to the Big Ten. The Big Ten took it seriously, released a statement, went to Michigan State and said, hey, you're playing these guys in 3 days or whatever it was. You need to change your signals. This is such a significant alleged scheme that it becomes a fairness issue, and others have portrayed it as a health issue, perhaps. What has been alleged for the 3 Big Ten schools, as it's been portrayed, is coaches on a Sunday calling other coaches and saying, hey, what did they do against, trips right? What did they do in the red zone? What did you think? Hey, what are their signals? Which is the common sharing of information. There's been, the threshold of something illegal having happened did not rise and has not been risen. And there's been no formal action taken because it's generally viewed as just commonplace information sharing.
Pete, we couldn't fathom what your mentions looked like before this conversation. And while you were giving your answer, I'm like, Michigan people aren't going to want to hear that.
Nope.
And it sounds like that's the job you signed up for. We're grateful for you. We appreciate you. And Ty Pete makes sure that everybody knows that if somebody's going to get to the bottom of it, it's going to be one man, and that's the authority. Mm-hmm. Pulitzer Pete. We appreciate you so much, brother.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Hey, you're he's gone.
Wow.
He's got to get back to the grindstone. I mean, let's be honest here. He's got a lot of shit on his plate right
Dude, I love Pete.
Mm-hmm. He's the best.
I wonder if he knew that he was just going to get in. I mean, you Ohio State people are part of the problem, obviously.
Yeah. Hey, does it matter, though? In that tweet you put up, it said how Michigan, part of their defense was they're showing like their margin of victory, and it doesn't show any no material effect on any of Michigan's games this season. Does that matter? Does that have any effect on it, whether it worked or not?
No, I love that they use that, though.
Yeah.
In their 10 pages, they're like, see also.
Didn't even work.
See also, we're killing people.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So if people are going to get upset, there might be a little bit of envy that's happening everywhere. And when I first started talking about it, and I didn't grow up in the football culture, the football world. Did grow up in the competitive world, though, where you're trying to gain an edge in everything. Like, if I can figure out what this team's going to do, when they're going to do it, that's an advantage. If these people are talking and I can hear what they're saying and I can pick up on it, that's an advantage. So, like, in every sport, people have been trying to get signals. And I think the reason why Spygate or whatever became so big is because even the most competitive humans who are trying to gain an edge all the time are like, that's too far. Like, hey, Bill, you don't have to do that. Bill, we're all trying to do this. You kind of go too far. So I think in the football world, there has been a precedent set, even in the NFL world, where you're allowed to scout ahead of time. Like, you're allowed to send somebody to games to do that. In the NCAA, you're not since 1994. You referenced that. Is that a good way to look at it, Chuck? Like, the filming, it was just ethically, everybody was like, come on. Is that kind of how it was viewed in the football world? And do you think that's probably why this is such a big deal in the Michigan sign stealing situation?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you cross the line because it's been happening forever. Pro football, college football has been happening forever. So once you go to that level of whatever, trying to figure out signals and the whole Spygate deal, then you cross the line. So
it's just like the Astros are banging on the garbage cans.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, I feel like in every sport, people are like, "Come on!" Like, we're not doing that to each other, right?
Everybody's okay to a certain point, right? Because everybody's doing it, and nobody rats anybody out. Nobody says anything. But then as soon as something like this comes out, and then if they have, obviously they've got something. They've got a smoking gun. Otherwise, it wouldn't be coming to this. Yeah, exactly. So they've got something. So whether he knew, didn't know, that whole thing falls on, because you're the head coach, you're the COO, CEO, you're everything. Whether you know or not, it still falls on you. I don't think that should be the case, but
yeah, because in college even more so than even in the NFL, because in college you are everything. You're the GM, you're the head coach, you're that entire thing. And I don't want to be, too naive about it all. And I'm a neophyte. Mm-hmm. A neophyte.
Yep.
In the college football world, I will say I am a neophyte in the What's that, AJ?
The hell is that?
What exactly? Can you define that for me?
Yeah, sorry I'm so cultured and so intelligent, okay? I didn't get to West Point, but my diction is phenomenal.
Yeah.
All right, I'm a neophyte in the college football world.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, I'm just kind of new to it.
Oh, that's what it means.
Being dropped into it and learning about everything about it. Is everybody doing what they did, though? That's what Michigan's basically saying. And if everybody was doing it, why is it such a big deal? I don't know, So it's like, I'm trying to figure out, because they say you cross the line, and it's like, well, who's drawing the line?
Yes.
In the NFL, it felt like the line was drawn like, hey, we don't record and then do the entire thing. That was kind of, in baseball, it was like, we're not banging on trash. Like there's a line. So like, how many people are doing what Michigan has done? I think I don't know that answer either in the college football world. And that's like a piece of information that would be nice to have whenever we're either harshly judging or potentially not judging the entire thing. Because if they are one of the only teams doing it, then rightfully so, everybody else is like, hey, we kind of all decided we're not doing this. But if there's pockets of teams doing this all over the place, which I think is being alluded to by a lot of Michigan supporters, it's like, maybe that's a can of worms that Michigan's saying we don't want to open up there, AJ? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm sure teams are doing what they can. It just seems like Michigan's seems, as of now, like was much more in-depth. And whatever that line is, that they could have crossed it. But how many teams have crossed that line? I have no idea.
Yeah, and how do you start judging ethics and morals?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why nothing's going to happen. That's why it's like, we're just going to keep on going about the season.
Because so they can only punish them for breaking the letter of the law, which is future scouting. But in actuality, they're punishing the moralness of the entire thing.
In my head, knowing the football world, the advanced scouting thing, you would have to assume every single team is advanced scouting in some way. Chuck kind of even said, it started in 94 or something like that you weren't allowed to advanced scout. Think about that. Like, you don't think these teams had guys going up to the ticket window with cash. Here's $30. I'd like a ticket for this game. There's not cell phone cameras or anything like that. There's no way you're getting caught. Now that there's cell phone cameras and stuff like that, and the tickets are tracked, it was easier to get caught. But I would assume every team is advanced scouting. Were they advanced scouting as much as Connor Stallions was? I don't know.
Were they filming it? Were they filming the signals? That's the biggest. That's the number one thing that matters, I think.
Yeah, like everybody's like advanced scouting. We don't want to talk about that. We just want to talk about speakers in there because I assume, to your point, everybody in big time college football has people attempting to go to games ahead of time. Not supposed to, though.
For sure.
It's against the bylaws. Not supposed to do it. So nobody's going to out themselves for doing that.
Skunk.
But it's the filming of the whole thing. Go ahead.
It's called skunk. They'd send a guy and he'd dress up like a custodian, go upstairs in the stadium and film practice and bring it back. And if they catch you doing that, that's a problem.
Yeah, big deal.
That's a big deal. But in college, there's 32 teams in the National Football League, and National Football they don't talk to each other. In college, you got so many teams and you got so many relationships and so many guys that have worked for so many guys. There's a guy, at this school that has worked with this head coach, and hey, they've got a deal. Like they talk, say, hey, do you have something on anything on the what can you share with us? We open with these guys next year. Okay, do you have their signals? Do you have this? Do you have that?
Standard operating
procedure. So there's a lot of, so whether they filmed it or not, or whether they went to a friend at another place that knows this team really well and asked for their information and they shared that information. So, yeah.
There's a lot.
It's going on.
It's crazy because we're learning a lot about football.
Because everybody's doing it. If you're not doing it, then it's like.
The big thing is they just went too far.
Yeah.
Right? That's what everybody's saying. Too far.
Yes.
Coaches are saying you went too far. Even the coaches that are benefiting from doing something that is against the rules technically. Everybody just kind of feels that isn't Michigan people, you went too far. Now, the other stuff that's coming out about like, oh, they're calling and sharing things. A lot of fans didn't know about that. They're like, that's pretty. That's going pretty far. And it's like, well, those people, that's standard operating procedure in the game. It's a little bit of gamesmanship. But the filming, decoding, breaking down, full system, a network. If that's what happened, we still don't know if that's 100% what happened. Too far. That's the entire story of this entire thing. I think that's the big takeaway. And if it's happening, a lot of people are going to be pissed. But once again, can't forget how good this football team is.
Yeah.
The ones who are executing, even if they do have all that, They are so damn good, and it's just going to hang over their head forever now.
Yeah, and at least from the sounds of it, there's no way that they're going to penalize this team. I mean, I guess they could still, but it seems like that's not going to happen. But don't you think also part of this is just the way Harbaugh is and how he kind of rubs people the wrong way? I mean, like in the NFL, same deal. Like college guys, I think he just how kind of off-putting and like aloof he is. Like he just rubs people the wrong way. So like when they weren't winning, it was whatever. But now that they're good and they're in like the national championship picture and all that kind of stuff, and something like this comes out, all these people who kind of have an axe to grind or like didn't like him from the start, it's like, all right, fuck this guy. Like, let's kind of serve him a little bit of comeuppance because we can't stand him to begin with, and now we really have an opportunity to kind of go after him.
There's certainly a lot more to be said about this entire situation. I'm sure we'll hear about it.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll hear about it. Hopefully what do you think happens, President of Ohio?
I mean, I don't know. Something after the season, I don't know.
Me neither.
I have no clue what's going to happen for real.
Good luck to the Wolverines, man.
Good luck, Jeff. Good luck, everybody.
A lot of quotes getting taken out of context, though, because it's like, if Jim knew that this was happening, the players knew that this was happening, they were filming, they're coming back, they're like kind of happy about it. It's like, that's a much different conversation than, and I know people are going to say Harbaugh has to take the blame. I agree completely. But there's a very good chance that Harbaugh's like, don't want to know. Don't tell. But he has reaped the benefits of it.
For sure.
So he's still going to have to get punished for it. But I think a lot of people are like, Jim Harbaugh is a cheat. It's like, I don't know if Harbaugh was the one directing Connor Stallions to go on the sideline with it. But maybe. I mean, we have no idea until we kind of learn everything. That's why there's different degrees of what I think people would find acceptable. Finding out what actually fucking happened would be a massive piece of that.
And I don't think that's the case because I think the more we hear about Connor Stallions and kind of figure out, like, this dude's a wacko, is just like a Michigan man, Michigan fanboy to the umpteenth degree, has wanted to be the head coach, wrote a 500 or 600-page manifesto, bought a house near the stadium and was selling refurbished vacuums so he could be close to the program and stuff like that. Like, I think it's very possible that he thought, hey, good way to ingratiate myself to Coach Harbaugh and the coaching staff and the program as a whole. If I can figure out how to do this and give us an advantage, who knows? Maybe one day I'll end up kind of ascending the ranks and be a big part of this football program.
It just sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks because somebody had to know about it. Somebody had to pay for it. They were definitely reaping the benefits of it, but did they not understand whenever he was standing on the sideline and knew everybody's signal? Did they know exactly how he was getting it? How many people knew exactly how he was knowing it? Now they're going to potentially get punished for it. But also, if they knew it all was happening, they're all going to get punished for it. And it sucks.
Yeah, it's just like we've been saying the same fucking thing about this situation for so long because nothing's coming out and nothing will. I
think they're going to release the.
Yeah,
Connor's not talking. Connor Stallions is not going to speak.
He's not going to say a fucking word. And then
we have to
Harbaugh
see
will
the
deny.
evidence. We have to. They have to show us.
It'll come out.
Do they?
Eventually.
Does the NCAA?
What's that?
To run this team's on.
So good, dude.
These players. I mean, the sacrifices, the blood, sweat, and tears that they put into this, and now the whole narrative is just
They lose in the semifinal last year. Great team.
Yeah.
Great team last year. Supposed to go on a run. So you lose some seniors, obviously, but a lot of the team's still there all off season. You're training every morning. You're up 6 a.m. You're doing this. You're puking. We want to feel that. We want to get better as a team. Blah, 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 blah. This year they come in better as a team. More conditioned as a team. More experienced as a team. Play their best ball. Boom, 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 boom. Crushing it. Not a lot of great competition. Not their fault. They're not the ones that are scheduling. Once again, the players not doing that. And then here we go. Now every other school that potentially loses to them in the big gamers is going to have excuse forever. It sucks. That's why the situation sucks. But they might have reaped the benefit from it too, which also sucks the entire.
Actually, if they don't get suspended or anything this year, it's actually kind of good for them because now, if it came out after, say they win the national championship and it came out after the season, then that would be you guys did this only because you stole signs. Now they can win the Natty, and teams can't use that excuse because
that's what they said at the end of that thing too. They said since Connor Stallion's departure, our average margin of victory has bumped a touchdown. It's just what the Patriots did after Deflategate, Spygate, everything like that. Keep on going. Excited for it to get wrapped up.
Do you really think you can put a quantifying number on what advantage?
No.
I mean, come on. Because everybody's talked about it ad nauseum about, okay, you got split seconds to make decisions. Hey, it's covered. And then they snap the ball and, okay, it's what? Come on. I know this Harbaugh family. I worked for John for 4 years and competed again. You hit the nail on the head with Stallions. You know what I
Can't
mean?
hear it any other way.
I mean,
Even when Pete's talking, it's
Yeah.
tough not to hear Ty. You know, when Pete's talking, it's tough not to hear
That's
Ty.
brilliant.
Yeah, he could do it with anybody. That's why we need Connor Stallions.
brilliant.
We need Connor Stallions to be called to a courtroom.
Yeah, we do.
We need him to talk for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and then we can have a press conference with him every single day. We can have a Pete Thamel press conference with Connor Stallions pretty much every day. We need it. But yeah, you're saying Jim Harbaugh's being labeled a cheat. You know Harbaugh family, they never do that. That's a football family.
The old man, football family. The old man down, Jack down to Jim and John. I mean, come on.
Jim sitting there at that press conference when they asked him, "You think the head coach is in charge of everything that happens underneath in the building?" He goes, "Yeah, I hear what you're saying." Yeah, that was a good question.
Yeah.
That was a good question. Yeah. So you know what's happening too. Yeah, Jim Harbaugh could have potentially got completely fucked here.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And that'll be another conversation, especially if he leaves and goes somewhere.
Right.
What could have been with the team that they had. Connor Stallions wanted to be the Michigan guy. He might have been the man that tore it all down there for a little bit. Hope you remember.
My nephew played for Jim at the University of Michigan, Carlo Kemp.
Great name.
He's part of it.
Yeah. And
so he know all the plays that were coming?
That's not the point of this.
But did he or no?
He loves that man. That man came and sat in my mom and dad's living room on the couch and recruited Carlo. And like I said, I've known the family. There's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, just because a guy, he's polarizing, he's out there. You know, Jim and John are total opposites. Both great football coaches, great football minds, great people, great men, all that stuff. But they're not that.
I've only had good conversations with Jim Harbaugh on the field before games. He's wearing his cleats, getting warmed up. I'm trying to do the same thing. And every once in a while, we just have it happen upon each other. Coach, hey, Pat, how you doing? Very nice. Keeps it moving. I don't mind him at all.
No,
not at all.
Carhartt. I mean,
he's on the
completely indifferent.
He's on Lucas Oil Stadium. He's on the he's on the stadium.
He is.
Just a football
weirdo. I hope he gets canned
just
up.
loves football.
Want him to coach the Packers next year.
Yeah, there is a lot of that narrative happening too out there. People are wondering where he's going to go next. Speaking of going next, our next conversation is going to be the NFL Football Operations Twitter account, X account. Sorry, I guess they put out a video basically.
Oh, here we go.
Reminding the whole NFL about roughing the passer, and then they put on a full thread. Let's run that video real quick, can we? Roughing the passer. Let's put sound on this thing too. We're hearing this for the first time. It just got tweeted. Troy Vincent will probably talk over this.
Roughing the passer is any physical
Rich
act
Eisen.
against
Oh,
a
no.
passer before, during, or after a pass, which the referee judges to be unwarranted based on the circumstances of the play.
Okay.
Roughing the passer occurs when a defender makes late or unnecessary direct contact with the passer after the
Third
passer
player.
releases the football.
We understand
Defenders
that.
may
Yeah,
initiate
no
contact
shit,
no more
Rich.
than one step after the throw in certain situations.
That's roughing.
A defender may not perform unnecessary or punishing acts like driving a passer into the ground after the pass. The rule applies even if the hit is not late.
That's a terrible call.
That's in their highlight, dude.
It is a foul to forcibly
That
contact
we
the
see.
passer's head
Sure.
or neck
Yeah.
area, or to
Could have been
lead
a lot
with a
worse.
helmet when contacting any part of the passer's body.
A lot of that's
terrible.
incidental.
That should be
Or
running
to
into
hit the
kicker.
knee area or below on a passer, even if the initial
knee.
contact
What?
is
The
above
waist.
the knee.
Even if the initial contact is above the knee.
A passer who runs outside the pocket area loses the one-step and low-hit protections.
Kill him.
But if the passer stops behind the line and resumes a passing posture, he will be covered by all the special protections for passers.
That's not a penalty.
Oh my God! They're putting that in the video. They're sending that to all the
They
teams.
thought this was going to help them?
No, this was.
They said that was roughing. Was that last one roughing the passer or not? That's very confusing.
All of those in that video were roughing the passer. That was sent to the teams. That's a classic video that is shown each week from the refs that say, hey, here's either the thing we're spotlighting or point of emphasis or a reminder. So that was sent to the teams right there to watch. And I assume what we just did during that video was the exact reaction of every team meeting room. Every single one of them.
30, all 32. Especially the last one. AJ, can you imagine, guys, you're running full speed and you know, hey, he's outside the pocket. He's on the run. He has no protection. Low, high, it doesn't matter. You can't hit him in the head and neck. But then all of a sudden he's going to pull up and get in the passing posture, and now you can't hit him.
Yeah, stop.
Well, and like, look at these quarterbacks that are pump faking 9 yards down the field too. Does that count? Like, how does that work?
AJ,
Impossible.
They're screwing you guys on the defensive side of the ball.
They are.
I mean, getting to the quarterback is a big part of it. And I bet you, Aaron was the first person on that video with the TJ Watt. Definitely late hit, and TJ was going to get a hit on Aaron.
Yeah.
Hey, let's make sure he feels.
Let him know we're here today.
Yeah, let's end up near his feet a little bit. Let's do that. That's a part of strategy. I think we all said, okay, a little late there, especially nowadays. Back in the day,
2 steps.
Hey, back
but
in the day,
what he did a good job, 2 steps, and then he fell off of him. He didn't fall on top of him, so he's definitely thinking though.
Back in the day, that's standard right there, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day, that is standard.
Soft hits.
But you heard all of us say, yeah, that's probably one because it's a little late.
Yeah.
So I think we have evolved as a judgmental group as we're watching those videos. There's like 3 in there that
at least
they're spotlighting as definite passing, roughing the passers that we all said that's bullshit for common football. Why are they doing this, Ty? It's all to protect the quarterback.
Like the Baker one where he jumps off his feet. It's like, how is a guy not supposed to, like, what was he supposed to? He's going to land on top of him. Like, you're giving up your feet. Like, that's going to be that type of hit no matter what. Like, if a guy is off platform and does that, like, it's almost impossible for a guy not to, quote unquote, have his body weight go on top of him.
Well, and look, he had his shoulder in the strike zone. Like, he was trying his absolute best. Go back to that previous. That's definitely one.
Yeah, that one
TJ. We all agree that is one. This one, though, like, in the strike zone, going to hit, but he finished it because
didn't drive him into the ground, though.
But his body. So if you're not putting 2 arms down to try to start to catch yourself, and it's just that look right there, they're going to throw.
And you're going to dislocate your elbow, though, putting your arms down.
I'm with you. So it brings up the point of the conversation that's going to happen at the end of this year. Charles Woodson, you guys had him on, dog. I mean, he brought up the replay. They have to go back and allow these things to go back to replay because there's too many times when you slow it down, and the guys can talk it over and say, "Look, this guy, this is
third
not,
and 8, third and 8, third and 9.
Yeah, no,
fourth down.
They're game changers. They're keeping guys, from making playoffs, getting guys fined, getting coaches fired, families moving, packing up. I mean, the whole thing. So
you talk about the 4th down ones for sure, but like there's been numerous ones that I've been watching on Sundays. It's like the first quarter, 3rd and 9, roughing the passer, first down. If that's a punt, you start terribly. You're giving the other team. I mean, that's like that's a whole momentum for the entire game. Changer kind of happening when it's like they show the replay and I'm looking at one of those little squares, obviously on the 4 box, and I'm like, that looks like bullshit. And then you go right to X and it's like, he didn't land properly. It's like, he's 330 pounds.
Yeah.
We want him to land properly. Is he a WWE wrestler? I don't think we fully understand this.
Well, and it didn't happen, but if the Cowboys won that game, Eagles fans and the entire, you look at that last drive, the only reason they got down there was because of some of the flags. And granted, Dak Prescott was touched after he threw the ball for sure, but that would have been a huge conversation if the Cowboys could have got it done.
It's wild. Hey, these refs are only making it worse. I do like that it's no longer Troy Vincent. Remember, he used to voice over all the points of emphasis videos that would come to every single team. Now they got Rich Eisen doing it. Rich is doing NFL icons, doing the Germany game, NFL game day, all the rules spotlights, and his daily show. Keep going, Rich. Keep going, Rich. Inspiring, pal. There's a lot of players, though, while you're talking over that video, said, Rich, shut the fuck up. Not your fault, Rich. You're just reading what obviously the rules tell you, but Rich is a genius. I really appreciate the way he operates, but that's not a good message he's delivering to any team right there.
what was your guys' take on the hit on Pittman last week?
Which one?
Over the middle. Didn't they throw a flag on it? He dropped a ball and got hit over the middle by Carolina.
I don't think I remember. Was it a hit or no? Was it a penalty or no?
He was coming over the middle, and it was a perfect shoulder to the midsection. No head and neck.
Oh, ball drop.
Ball drop.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Flag down.
First down, we needed it.
But once you look at it.
Yeah, 3rd and 7. Here it is, second quarter, yeah. Yeah, they said illegal shot.
When you slow
defenseless or what?
Yeah, when you slow this down, and there's nothing else, and it was perfect technique by the D-back. And it just looked in real time.
What should he do?
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing else. But that's to my point of where replay's got to get involved, and they've got to be able to say, okay, whether it's roughing passer, these unnecessary roughness calls, this extended this drive, right?
Oh, yeah, 3rd and 7, yeah. And it keeps us moving. We're in field goal territory, but gives another opportunity. It's like, and this is second quarter, nobody's talking about that whenever they get upset about it.
No, absolutely not. You go to the TV copy, and it's perfect. The guy's got his shoulder, his head is out of the play. Totally
doesn't land on him.
He's in the midsection. He's in the strike zone.
And Michael Pittman goes up and gets it, by the way. I like that. Yeah, it's a perfect dislodging of the ball. 15 first
And
down.
there's
Thank
nothing
you.
else. It's like, as a coach, you say, "What do you want me to tell this guy, AJ?"
That's what I'm wondering.
What do you want me to tell this guy next to do better? What can he do better? What can he do different?
Are you not allowed to hit him? Does he have to catch it, take 3 steps, and then I can try to hit him? Like, how does that work?
Yeah.
What have they told you? Anybody ever given you an answer?
Yeah, Chuck.
Say
No
that
one
again.
ever.
Say that again, AJ.
What if he does he have to like get a foot down before I'm allowed to hit him, or what? Like, what is?
No, you
if
can't.
you're-
You're not supposed to launch or whatever, but it's a perfect hit.
Oh no!
Am I gonna? Do I need to absorb him? He's got his. He's going pretty fast.
Those are
I'm
all
gonna
the
have to
same.
just catch this guy.
Those are all the same questions. Every single coach on every single staff is asking the officials. Is exactly what you're asking me. What am I supposed to tell this guy? What is he supposed to do? Because we all know that that's football. That's how
Oh
it's gonna happen.
no! Oh no! I don't want to pivot away from something, but Tone just brought something to my attention.
Oh, yeah.
Latavius Murray, 10 years in the NFL as running back, said he led a players-only meeting.
All right.
First year with the Bills. First year with the Bills. Don't forget that. First year with the Bills.
Please call JJ.
Bet on the Bills.
It's week 10.
I think I might like players-only meetings now.
Bet you do.
Plan the vacation. First year on the team. Says, you know what? Von Mueller's here. Jordan Poyer's here. Josh Allen's here.
Bud.
Boys are here. This
Diggs.
team's been around a long time. Stephon Diggs, 3-year captain.
What do you think he's going to say? What do you think the message was?
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is a man who's in the Houston Texans Ring of Honor, one of only 3 people. Big proponent of these types of things. Excited to hear his take. Ladies and gentlemen, JJ Watt.
Yeah,
JJ, don't know if you've heard or not, Latavius Murray, first year with the Buffalo Bills. He led a players-only meeting for the Buffalo Bills today. Your thoughts? Your thoughts on how that went and how it's going?
Oh, do we know? Was it like a called players only meeting?
Oh,
like, hey,
yeah.
at the end of the day, we're going to have a players only meeting, or was it like impromptu on the field?
Hey,
Coaches go in.
This is from Andy Young TV. Shout out to Andy. This is about him talking about, this is Latavius Murray answering.
Like, I'm coming from a sincere place of, of us just, trying to communicate, trying to figure out what we can do to be better, what we can control, right, as players. And so it's just important to have that open communication. That's for us to talk about it as opposed to point fingers or, just let, things go on and not maybe address things that, we can kind of communicate or things we want to be better at. Those guys know, like, I'm coming.
Okay. So we've got 2 possibilities here because there are multiple different kinds.
Come on.
You guys know this. So if it's a full team one, that's certainly a different situation. We've had defensive players only meetings where you call it because you're like, hey, we all want to make sure that we're communicating, we're on the same page. Let's watch today's practice film together so we can hear what the DBs are calling, so the D line can hear what the linebackers are calling. That I like. I like those ones because you're like, all right, yeah, let's talk through what everybody's seeing. Now, if you're calling a full team meeting, those are the tougher ones because now you're getting like, all right, who's got something to say? And then this guy's got something to say, and that guy, but this guy over here might not agree with that guy. And then you leave the room, and guess what happens there? Now everybody goes in their little groups, and they're like, man, that was bullshit, wasn't it? Or this guy's like, yeah, that guy was right.
Why is that guy talking? A lot of that.
Of course.
Did you hear what he said? That's fast.
You ever had that? You got the guy that's got like 17 snaps on the whole season, and he's like, yeah, guys, like, we got to be tough for these people paying money to see us. And you're like, buddy, you haven't done anything. Shut up.
Yeah. There's a lot of that. I think that's the big issue with players only meeting. Latavius Murray calling in his first year is fascinating. And if you look back, Josh Allen before that game, remember his motivational speech?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
His motivational speech to the team in the tunnel was, anything you guys got going on in your homes or in your life, that stays right here, man. We just go play football. And Latavius Murray's like, we got some elephants in the room when you talk. What the hell is going on?
Not good.
Up there in Buffalo.
They're a good football team, man. Like, they're a good football team. So maybe I'm fascinated to watch now. Guess what a players only meeting does? That makes me watch you a lot closer next week.
You're right.
So I'm very excited to see the Bills this week.
Hey,
maybe they crush it.
Players only meetings are needle movers. You know what I mean? We need to see how they're doing.
Yeah.
How many
How are the Bulls doing? How are the Bulls?
Oh, we beat the Jazz.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing
I saw Caruso did something sweet, though. Caruso did something
Bulls
sweet.
are,
threes, baby.
Bulls are 3-6.
So players only mean didn't help, but, you know.
They won.
It had a good purpose.
They're 0-3 when
We
they
got
call.
to have a running tally of players only meetings and see what the records are post meeting.
Jesus, oh my God, I almost broke the stick. Has Burnley had any players only meetings?
No, that's how you know we're on the right track. We're struggling, and we're not having any players only meetings.
Gump, one day closer to this Burnley Arsenal match before the international break. How do you feel?
Very excited. Up to Clarence, as I said yesterday. Big win coming. At least get a point. Just need a point. Move up the board.
I don't know you well enough yet to fully know when you're just a bullshitting son of a gun and when you're like serious. And you've been on both sides of our train this year so far. And I'm inclined to say that you're just a bullshitter.
I think I think I've been on your side the whole time. You asked me what you guys did good. I didn't have an answer. I was still on your side. I just didn't have an answer on what the team did good that game.
The boys stink, but defense is okay.
I've been up the Clarence all year, JJ.
All right, I'm not at the point right now where I can push people off the bandwagon. So you're welcome on board the bandwagon.
All the way
I
back.
appreciate it very much.
I'm on
there too.
Look, graphics guy, thank you very much for the little logos at the bottom. Nice job. I appreciate that very much.
Dang, it's a new addition, bud. Look at the Burnley thing on there,
Sweet.
too. Look at that. Look at you.
Yeah, no, I noticed when they put my logo on there, my personal logo, that we chop off the top and the bottom. So that might be something to work on for the future. But the Burnley logo looks great.
We got to get the right dims.
Sorry.
We got to get the right dims of that thing. We appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. JJ Watt. Bills players only meeting. Get the coaches the fuck out of here, Chuck.
Whoa. Here we go. Like I said, must watch.
Yeah.
Who they got? Are they on a bye or what?
Monday? Denver?
Yeah, they're Monday Night Football against the Broncos at home.
Latavius Murray.
I don't know why we do this with the Bills. Like, I know we like Buffalo and everything, and we're big fans of everything they got in their building and their players and shit, but we dance around when the Bills do something negatively so nice, and I'm glad that now I can just say, I know that there aren't a certain type of player meeting like JJ is wheeling that could possibly been spin in a good way, and I know JJ feels this, or AJ, feels the same way. And also, like, they're not fucking good. Like, they're not a good football team. Good football teams win the games they're supposed to win. They lost to the fucking Patriots, okay? And the Patriots lost to the Saints 34-0 at home. So I know that the Bills aren't a good football team. Love all the players. Vaughn is great. Josh is great. Hoyer's great. Gabe's great. McDermott's great. Bean's great.
Yeah. Kincaid,
great. Everybody's great. We love everybody. Everyone's awesome.
Tyler Bass, great.
Mitch
Sam
Morse.
Martin,
We love Mitch Morse.
Great.
We love all those guys, but they fucking aren't good. In like McDermott, the team is not good. McDermott, like I like McDermott too. And McDermott
can be good though. They can be.
No, they were. Be good. They were good with this same fucking team. Okay, they went to the AFC Championship, and it's just been a slow downward slope ever since. But for some reason, we'd love to just be like the Bills will figure it out, and they're gonna be just fine. They're not. Like, they're never gonna win a Super Bowl. I'm sorry. Like McDermott, what does McDermott do? Okay,
whoa.
He went to the AFC Championship in 2019.
Right.
And then if you slowly get worse after that, do you get extensions or do you usually get fired?
We like McDermott, too.
He was in the list, but he also lost at home in the playoffs, in the snow, which is supposed to be Buffalo's fucking thing.
No, well, they actually said if it wasn't snow, we'd probably win this game.
Yeah, which makes me think that they're even softer.
They were at home.
Saying that shit.
There has to be something that has happened in that locker room. You know, and Latavius Murray being a new guy, thinking like he's like, if nobody else is going to say it,
I'm going to save this place.
I'll say it.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate him doing it. Maybe it works.
Yeah.
Maybe it works.
It might.
Speaking of works, let's see what it works this evening whenever it comes to Chuck Pagano in his prophetic beautifulness this entire Thursday Night Football slate this season. Now, he is 7-2 on the year. Atta baby. Wow. Baby Chuck.
Good work, Chuck.
Had it, baby Chuck. Look how cool and clean you look right there. Had the Steelers. Obviously, they do their thing. 7-2 is nothing to sneeze at. We appreciate you. This evening, Panthers, Bears, 3.5-point spread you can find on some books, 3-point spread you can find on others. So we'll give the best odds, Bears -3, Panthers +3.5. How do you see the Bajent and Bryce Young battle going, Chuck Pagano?
Yeah, interesting matchup for sure. I just think, Carolina comes in. They've got their best pass rusher. Well, let's go back. Tony, you started today. Something that Chicago does really well. Let me start over.
Yep.
So they run the ball and they stop the run.
Yep.
Okay. When you talk about the ball, the program, they both give it away. Nobody gives it away more than the Bears. -9, which is dead last, right?
Bad.
Carolina's -4. So you look at that. Run the ball, stop the run. That goes check mark to the Bears, right? Injury-wise, neither of the team protects the quarterback. One gives up 29 sacks, the other gives up 30 sacks. Not good.
Jeez.
We saw what happened to Colts last week, sacked the shit out of, BY, Bryce Young, and 4 sacks, 3 turnovers, 3 interceptions, 2 for touchdowns by Kenny Moore III.
First ever in Colts history.
First ever in Colts history. So they both give the ball up. They got injuries. Their best pass rusher, they don't get many sacks. They only got 17 sacks on the year. Carolina does. Bears have 10. That's not very good. But here's the caveat. The best pass rusher for Carolina's out.
Burns.
Brian Burns is out. C.J. Henderson, starting corner, out. J.C. Horn, really good corner, been on IR. He's not coming back anytime soon.
It's still out.
Xavier Woods, questionable.
Potentially
Not doubtful, but questionable.
55%.
Von Bell might not play. The best not the best wide receiver, but DJ Chark, out.
Jesus Christ.
Out. And so who do they got?
Frank Reich playing?
So who's got the most receptions on Carolina?
Thielen.
Adam Thielen, right? He's got 65 receptions. Targeted more. The next closest guy is Jonathan Mingo. He's got 20. Wow. So where does Thielen get most of his work? Where does he line up most time? In the slot. Okay, so Kenny Moore, he had 5 catches for 40 yards, whatever, insignificant, taken out of the game. So they've got this guy, Kyler Gordon, slot corner for the Bears. Right now on PFF, one of the highest graded slot corners. He gives up 1.01 yards per coverage.
Zito's clapping back there. Okay. Hey, you're scratching him where he itches right now.
So he's got nowhere else to go with the ball, and they can't protect him. Who did Chicago? Zeke? Who did Chicago? Okay.
There it is.
So we got home opener for Montez Sweat. Coming out party for Montez. They just gave him a bag, right?
Big one.
This guy can rush the passer. So I got to say, the line seems crazy to me. I would say it should be double digits, but.
Wow.
Chuck.
You think the Bears should be favored by 10?
With Bajent?
Bajent.
So this guy, if you look at Agent Bajent, right, the dude can run. He is athletic, and he's got a hose.
Yeah,
now, he throws it to the other team sometimes.
A lot
so we got to work on that.
He's a rookie. He's a rookie.
Tom Hanks and, League of Our Own. Maybe try throwing it to our guys.
Nice. Jimmy
Let's work on that. So but he can run. See, he ran all over New Orleans, right? They should have beat New Orleans last week.
New Orleans beat the Patriots 34-zip.
I believe New Orleans is the only team with 5 turnovers that didn't cover in the history of the NFL.
Love
right,
that.
so they can't. They got a pedestrian run game. Hubbard and Sanders are good run, but they can't run the ball. They can't protect Bryce. They've got no weapons other than Thielen. The defense is salty. Ezra Evero's done a nice job down there with the defense. They're ranked, top 10 in defense, total defense, but they're missing some dudes. I just don't see it. And you got Bajent throwing to who?
DJ Moore.
Revenge game, maybe?
Oh.
You think more. You're traded from Carolina for that number 1 pick, right? And who did he went off in week 5 against the Commanders. You remember that, what he did to those guys?
Welcome back, DJ.
3 tuds.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. 200 yards receiving. So Cole Kmet.
Yeah, him and
he's a dog.
Holy shit. Cole Kmet.
Yeah. Both teams stink defensively in the red area. They're tied. They're 31st, tied for 31st in the red area. So they can't. So if they get down there, somebody's going to score. Let's just assume that there's going to be 7 on the board. So I like the Bears tonight.
Minus 10, it sounds like.
19-9 final is what I'm calling.
There it is.
Let's go. That's a barn burner.
Okay, going to be a big one. Under also he likes
28
this evening,
points.
it sounds like.
22-7.
AJ, does that change the way you were thinking or legitimize your thoughts on this evening's pick?
Going in, I wasn't sure where Chuck was leaning, but I am definitely going with Chuck here. Give me the Bears -3 at home. I was leaning Carolina early, but I do not like all those injuries on the defense and the way Chuck lays it out. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a tough night for Bryce Young.
I didn't know all of the stats that he had about that Chicago slot corner.
Yeah.
But if you lock down Thielen, that is a problem for Bryce Young.
Game, set, match.
Because he's never going to have enough time to look to his next one.
Yeah.
And that's when Sweat's doing his dance. Zito, I don't know if this is good news or bad news for you, pal, but give me the Bears -3 as well.
Let's go, guys.
Just the Bears favorite is hilarious to even take them.
Yeah.
So that's fun. I don't know how often you get.
Brister's back too, right?
Yes.
Safety. He's a dog.
Dude.
Justin Fields might be back too. We don't know.
Well,
That's true.
He's not playing.
It's awful.
What if Eberflus wins a game after that press conference?
You might hit him with the Gatorade bath tonight.
Boy, he needs
If they win.
He does. That would feel good.
Both these dudes, you don't wish it on anybody, but they both need a win bad.
So what we're all predicting is there's going to be a Frank Reich moment of this tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe even a
couple of them.
I would pay-per-view. Maybe like $20 just for a Frank Reich cam on Amazon all night.
They had
Solo.
35 seconds of him.
It's nuts.
He didn't even blink.
No headset.
And all he's thinking about is Tepper's going to fucking chew my ass tomorrow. Tepper's going to kill me. Fuck. We have nobody. We lost by 50. Maybe he'll fire me tomorrow. It does look like he's lost his love.
Oh.
You know, and we talked about Saleh this a couple years back. Whenever he went to the Jets, he lost all his energy, all his juice. That can happen, I assume, right? I assume you can get a beat out of you, beat down out of you.
Yeah.
It's on Tepper for
Make
hire.
you question a lot of things real fast.
He needs juice.
Well, in Indy, the last year was not good, not fun, miserable, fired. Then he goes right into this one. Every Monday, he's got to hear about how bad he is, miserable. But then it's like,
He looks like he's aged 20 years in the last 9 weeks.
come on, Frank.
Good luck.
Have a fun night tonight, Frank. Chuck, we appreciate you so much. Tone, great work today, pal.
Thank you, pal.
Hammer Dahn is in 15 minutes at youtube.com/Hammer Dahn. Can't wait to hear the bets that you guys make. Talks the table, great work today. How about that cat being an Army?
Yeah, I respect it. I mean, I didn't even realize that he had. Oh, you know what? There it is. There is the West Point pin.
Yeah, Monken wouldn't lie to us. Shout out to him for joining us, Coach Saban for joining us, Charles Woodson for joining us, the boys in the back. And tonight, we get Thursday Night Football. Let's enjoy this. Remember, the game's going to suck, but we enjoy it. This game means nothing for playoff potential, but let's enjoy it. This game has a lot more to do with the draft in April than it does now, but let's enjoy it.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, we get to watch this.
Yes.
Amen.
We get to.
Hell yeah. Hey, Chuck, you want to throw some balls here? You want to win somebody?
Love to.
Didn't get a chance to warm up.
Yep.
Nope. No.
But that might be better.
Yeah, because he's normally
Wasted the
That
throws.
might be better.
Let it eat.
Yep.
That wasn't a step away.
What's that, bud?
Wait, what?
What's that?
Couldn't hear you. Your mic was muted.
Chuck, which hoop are you going to throw to? That one. It's a further throw that way. So for that, we will do 25.
Okay.
$500. All Chuck Pagano will have to do is bury a football into that hoop right over yonder. Chuck, we got nothing but faith. You look incredibly cool today. The hair is phenomenal.
On point.
Next level.
Great hair today. Yeah, got it cut. All of them. Got
Great
cut.
cut.
Looks good.
Yes.
Here we go.
Sport clips.
Shout out.
Tighten
Nice.
that up.
MVP treatment,
MVP
or was it the
treatment,
MVP treatment?
Did you get the towel?
Did you get a hot towel and a
hot
massage?
towel
or-
and the thing?
Hot towel.
No chatter.
No chatter.
They need to do an app like they do in Uber. You want a convo or no convo?
Well,
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
You just tell him, hey, shut up and cut my hair.
that's part of the job.
Here we go.
I hate
Get on back there.
Just get me the F out of here, right?
Yeah, that's part of it. That's part of it. But you look good.
You do.
You look very good. 25 people could win $500 with that fresh new Sports Clips cut on your head if you bury this ball. Go ahead, Chuck. Set hut.
No laces.
Oh!
Stay in it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that first throw was a beautiful one. 25 people could win $500 as we enter the holiday season. That ball was a little soft.
Right in.
A little soft, a little
that was
deflating.
your best
Chuck Pagano throwing. Oh!
You're on
on
the
it.
left.
Last
You're on it.
ball here.
Here you go, Chuck.
It's a little softer. Chuck Pagano! 25 people, $500.
Go, Chuck.
All you got to do is retweet this post, say something nice to somebody, and in the same reply, put the easiest way to pay you so we can get 25 people $500 because the beautiful Chuck Pagano just buried a ball into that hoop over there to end this glorious Coach Thursday, November 9th. Store.patmcafeeshow.com, 15% off everything still, brand new store. We appreciate you all so much for allowing us to do this every single day. From AJ Hawk, myself, and everybody, be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. We'll see you tomorrow from Athens, Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia. Come join us. Goodbye.